You can measure the size of an elephant. You can clock the speed of a cheetah, but you can't quantify the heart of a kings, queens, and in-betweens. Welcome to Dr. Boxing Talk. Stream starts now.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. If I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
I'm coming. Oh, Lord. What the heck? I was being pulled like that, man. Bad, y'all. Had the cords tangled all up, man. Trying to mess me up this morning, man. Ain't gonna mess me up this morning. You feel me? We are here, man. Good, great, grand morning to y'all wonderful, beautiful people. You feel me? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brethren and sistren, hermanos mi hermanas, ladies and lads, kings and queens, and everything in between. Y'all know what time it is. Doctor's in the house. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. We are in the building, man. We are in the building. We have some things to talk about today, man. But I know before we get to it, y'all better smack that like button for your boy. You feel me? Well, let's get right, man. So, couple new things that transpired since yesterday, you know, some things that we called, some things that we didn't see coming, you know. We're going to talk about all those things right after we thank the Most High and say our prayers. So let's go ahead and bow our heads and be thankful to our Creator and our Protector and our Guardian. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for your blessings. We thank you for waking us up on this wonderful Thursday. We ask you for your continuous mercies. We ask you for the strength and the courage to keep going, and also the ability and the wisdom to have faith. You know, faith is belief in what is not seen. And because a lot of us in the circumstances that we are in or have been through or we're going to be in, If we just see our circumstances, then we will get lost in despair and depression and all the other things that are secular that that impact us in a negative way, Lord. So we want to be influenced in as much positive with as much positive energy and optimism as possible, you know. And the best way to do that is to look up instead of looking down. The best consultation that we can seek is yours, you know. It's through prayer as opposed to other people who are in negative situations that have a negative and pessimistic outlook, you know, that could negatively impact us as well. So we want to be strong enough to know when to be quiet and when to listen and when to seek your direction. That's all the time. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's get right to it, man. So today we have a couple of announcements, man. We have a couple of announcements and a lot of announcements, actually. You know, first off, we're going to start off with a small one, and that's Gary Allen Russell Jr. You know, Gary Russell Jr. is supposed to return for a long hiatus. I want to say he's been gone since, what, 3 or 4 years, something like that. And he's going to be returning on the Pacquiao Barrios card against Hugo Castaneda. So that should be a good little return for him, man. I'm looking forward to that. You know, his brother, Gary Antoine Russell, is the current 140-pound WBA champion after beating Jose Rayo Valenzuela. So, you know, it's good to see the Russell family. You know, I always looked at the Russell family as whether you like them or not, I don't know, that's your personal business. But as far as them being the fighters, man, I've always liked them. You know, it's a fighting family. You know, it reminds me of the Smiths of England. You know what I'm saying? The Russells are the American Smiths, and the Smiths are the American Russells. Of course, the Russells are better, you know, because the only Smith that's really good is Callum Smith. Well, I say Liam Smith too, but the other ones are trash, you know. I ain't gonna lie to you, the other brothers are garbage.
Know your fucking place, trash.
But they think they're good because, you know, shout out to England, they have a great, UK has a great boxing fan base. So, you know, I've seen how a couple of them speak on Twitter and stuff like that. Like they're I don't know if they think there's some dynastic fighters or something like that. But Callum Smith, you know, I rock with Callum Smith, man. I picked Callum Smith to upset Joshua Buatsi and stuff like that. So, you know, I rock with Callum Smith. He's a beast. He only lost to Cinnamon and Beterbiev. And Liam Smith, you know, he just lost to the young guy, what's his name, Aaron McKenna. You know, and Liam Smith been in the ring with Cinnamon. You know, Liam Smith is decent. But the other one, Paul Smith, a generic behind name, man, that dude is trash. I ain't gonna lie to you. But yeah, so we got the Russells coming back. I'd love to see them come back to prominence, and hopefully he wins. You know, having such a long time off is not gonna be good. You know, as far as ring rust and stuff like that. But I'm hoping that he returns to form, and I think that he will. So we'll see that coming forward on the Manny Pacquiao card and Mario Barrios. Now moving on to another announcement, man. We got David Benavidez, man. We got to salute David Benavidez, man. David Benavidez, Monster Benavidez, Bandana Rojo, man. He's a beast, bro. And he's coming back with another fight that is fire. And it's been announced that he's fighting Anthony Yarde. And I think that's a great fight. You know, speaking of Callum Smith, you know, the talks were that he was going to fight Callum Smith. And I saw an interview with Callum Smith the other day. I believe it was compliments of pro boxing fans or something, a UK based media. And Callum Smith just, you know, people were saying, oh yeah, man, Callum Smith is a beast because he wants to fight David Benavidez. And that's not what I picked up from the interview at all. I do think that Callum Smith is a beast. I agree with that, but I didn't. His body language and the way he spoke of the David Benavidez fight is like he was willing to do it, but it wasn't something that he was seeking, you know. And I don't blame him, because I said that I don't think Callum Smith should fight Benavidez, you know, not at this moment. I feel like if you fight Benavidez, if you're Callum Smith, you know, with the loss to Beterbiev, with the loss of Canelo first and then Beterbiev, and then you contemplated retirement, and then you come back because you like, you know, you get galvanized and stuff like that, and then you come back, and I don't think you can go and fight David Benavidez unless it's for a title, which it would have been for a title, obviously. But I think Callum Smith believes he has a better chance against Bivol, and if he's going to fight somebody in the interim, or if Bivol beats Beterbiev, I don't think Callum Smith should fight Beterbiev again. But assuming that Bivol is the winner, I think that he wants to pursue that Bivol fight, you know. And I don't blame him. I think that's stylistically speaking, I think Bivol is better than Benavidez, but stylistically for Callum Smith, I think Bivol will pose a different threat that is different and not similar to the guys he already lost to, right? You know, I think Benavidez is like a combination of Canelo and Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? Like stylistically speaking. So I don't think that Callum Smith would do good against Benavidez, in my personal opinion. So I think that his better chance would be against Bivol, even though I think he loses against him too. But it's just like, okay, bet, you know, I could go and try to maybe get a fight in the interim, a light touch, and then fight the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol. But, you know, Benavidez would have been a good little challenge. I like that fight as well, but I think Callum Smith would have got smoked by Benavidez. And now Anthony Yarde stepped up. You know, they're talking about Anthony Yarde and Callum Smith potentially fighting. And that fight would make sense because Anthony Yarde was supposed to fight Joshua Buatsi for the longest, right? And Joshua Buatsi lost to Callum Smith, and we called that upset. And so you would think that would go to Callum Smith, from Anthony Yarde to versus Joshua Buatsi to Anthony Yarde versus Callum Smith. And I'm glad that I would have liked that fight, but I'm glad that they skipped it for the Benavidez fight, because the Benavidez fight is even better. You know, Anthony Yarde, you know, obviously Benavidez is undefeated and he goes for all the smoke, man. You got to shout out to Benavidez, man. That's why I like him. I don't understand how people don't like him. And I'm a Cinnamon fan. I think Cinnamon beats Benavidez, but I wish we would have got that fight. Now I think that ship is long gone, you know, with Benavidez he is a big dude too, so I don't blame Cinnamon for not fighting him. But, you know, now that he's that light heavyweight champion, talking about potentially going to cruiserweight, I think that ship is sailed. And I would have loved to see it. I still would like to see it if we could get surprised. However, I think that this is a good replacement fight, you know, especially not being able to see Benavidez versus Beterbiev or Bivol winner, because they're having their trilogy that's well deserved and it makes sense. One of the few that makes sense. We're gonna get to that later. But I think Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde is a great fight, man. You know, Benavidez obviously being undefeated, fighting David Morrell when he didn't have to, fighting who else did he fight before that? Alexander Vazdik, which was a great fight for a debut at a new weight class. You know, Vazdik being a former champion, you know, beating the likes of having a tough fight with Beterbiev and beating Adonis Stevenson. Shout out to Adonis Stevenson. Superman Stevenson suffered brain damage. But yeah, Vazdik was a good test, you know. So shout out to David Benavidez. And next, David Benavidez fighting Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde's a guy who's been in there with Sergey Kovalev, you know, the Crusher. He lost, but it was a good fight, you know. And if he would have probably managed it a little differently, he could have won, you know, in a lot of people's eyes. You know, I think what happens is going to happen, and that's what transpired is that he lost. So, you know, but that was a good fight. And then he also been in there with Beterbiev. Had a good fight with Beterbiev as well. So Anthony Yarde versus David Benavidez, that fight is fire, man. I think that fight is great, and we're gonna get that. And for David Benavidez debut in RIYADH season, man. So I love it, man. I love it. It'll be in November. We have another fight that's a big fight too. In November is Brian Norman Jr., his WBO welterweight champion, defending against Devin Haney. You know, so the youngest undisputed male champion in the 4-belt era. So these are some great fights, man. Salute to them for getting it done. And this is one of the times where Turkey is making fights that we want to see. You know what I'm saying? And he always makes fights. He makes fights that we want to see a lot of times. Let me rephrase that. But he's making fights that we want to see that also make sense. And you could argue is based off of merit too, because Anthony Yarde deserves every fight. You know, he's a good fighter. So, and you just never know how things might unfold and play out, man. So he's getting a Benavidez fight. I could argue as much as I want to see Buatsi and Yarde, I like Benavidez a yard more. As much as I wanted to see Yarde and Callum Smith, I like Benavidez a yard more. So I love this fight, man. This is probably going to land on Haney versus Norman Jr. co-main. Shout out to my guy Ryan Frazier, Boxing Talk Up North. What's good? Big North in the building. He said Jerron Ennis better make an excuse so he's not the co-main on Norman Jr. card. Better make an excuse so he's not the co-main. I mean, I'm not mad at that being the co-main, man. I think, you know, I think with boxing fans, man, I know fighters also Anubis was good. I know that fighters also have egos and stuff, but I think a lot of times, man, people that worry about the it don't be the fighters that be worried about the co-main. And if it is, it's because we influence them to think like that. Like, I don't think they care about, as long as they get paid. I don't think they care if they're at the bottom of the bill or the top of the bill. It's just when the talks come, you know, for the stupid behind fans who are insecure in their own lives and unaccomplished in their own lives and never achieved anything. They want to nitpick and critique everything. You know, it's like I just saw shout out to Keith David. You know, he just got a Hollywood star. You know, 70-year-old actor, awesome actor on screen and great for his narrations, right? And somebody he just received his star around his 70th birthday, And then in the comments, somebody said, "Oh yeah, well, the guy who's known for his narration, you're not gonna have his celebration when he's talking." Bro, the man's just happy, bro. You're hating on the man. You want him to celebrate how you want him to celebrate. The man was crying and hugging his wife, and you're mad that he didn't give you a narration breakdown like he does on Animal Planet. Go watch one of his old works. You know what Jay-Z say? You want to hear about old flows? Buy my old albums. You know what I'm saying? You go watch him talk and celebrate how you want to celebrate. The man was just you're hating on the celebratory action and his response to being on the wall, get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, whatever it's called. And then somebody else was like, oh, I don't know why he's acting surprised. We all know that they pay for it. Well, why don't you pay for your star? Oh, you can't do it because you broke. That's why you mad right now on Twitter about somebody getting a receiving an award. So you gotta, like, it's so funny, like, you know. I just think what people always have something to say. The people that are talking about other people constantly, consistently, and in any negative way is because they haven't accomplished anything in their life and they're unhappy, bro. So, you know, and a lot of times, like, you know, I like to work out and stuff, and you know, I just laugh at people, man. It's sad, but at least it's hilariously sad, and I'm gonna laugh at them. You know, and it's just funny that you gotta look and you just gotta put it in your head what people look like. You know what I'm saying? The people that are talking about everybody, you gotta imagine them for what they are: a bunch of fat, sloppy, bad body, poor, broke, unhappy, angry, nasty individuals. You know what I'm saying? Ignorant, uneducated individuals, man. So once you remember that it makes it easier to laugh at these people. You know what I'm saying? So back to what I'm saying and bringing it full circle is that I agree with Ryan. Jerron Boots in his better hope he's not as a co-main to Brian Norman, because you know their history. And shout out to Ryan Boxer Talk up north. You know, that's my guy, man. Hit him with a follow. Big North in the building. It's gonna look like Norman now is taking the mantle and you guys are supposed to fight, and now he's like, oh no, you know, this is my fight. I mean, now you're on his undercard. It's gonna look like he's sunning you. You know what I'm saying? But the people that will focus on that and not the fact that Boots is on a RIYADH season card and getting his name out there and probably gonna be in RIYADH, you know, and building his profile, and not focus, and people that are focused on the negative as opposed to positive and who he could potentially fight, then I think it's more of a testament and more indicative of them being unhappy with themselves, more so than it is that Jerron Boots Ennis is somehow going backwards because he'll be on the co-main or the undercard of a guy who was supposed to be his rival. You know, who cares? Like, if they're not fighting each other, who cares who's at the top of the bill, who's at the bottom of the bill? You know, I'm more happy that I could see Brian Norman and Devin Haney and Jerron Boots Ennis and whoever else on the David Benavidez all on the same card. That'd be fantastic. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but you're definitely gonna hear that. So Ryan, I'm not disagreeing with Ryan. He's definitely right. I'm just saying it shouldn't be right, but he's definitely right. That's how it's gonna be. People gonna say, oh yeah, man, this guy, you're on this undercard. You know, first you ran from him. First you ran from him to a whole other division. And then now you on this undercard. Oh yeah, they definitely going to talk trash. He said people just wake up hating. I'm telling you, bro. People just wake up hating, bro. Just wake up hating, bro. It's just sad, man. They have no love. They have no social life. Their life is lived via Twitter and X. You know. That's exactly what they go say, Ryan. You know it. That's a fact. So but yeah, man. So I think Benavidez versus Yarde is great, man. I'm just happy that this fight happened. And it's gonna be a tough fight. I have Benavidez winning. I mean, I have no reason to go against Benavidez. I have no reason to pick against David Benavidez. So for that reason, I would go with him. But Anthony Yarde is definitely, he's an athletic light heavyweight, a big guy. He's a serious, solid light heavyweight. He's not a guy that could be potentially a super middleweight 168. He's not a guy that's needs to move to cruiserweight. He's a guy that's a solid, solidified, bona fide light heavyweight, and he's strong, and he's athletic, and he's young, and he's in his prime despite his 2 losses that he has. Man, it's gonna be a great fight, man. It's gonna be a challenge, and I want to salute David Benavidez, because David Benavidez, like I said, he's a WBC light heavyweight champion. And I know some people, once again, hating, will try to diminish it and not like it's the fighter's fault because of what he inherited. So he didn't win it in the ring, and people are gonna say, oh, yo, he's an elevated champ. He's not really a champ. He's a faux champ. No, he's a real champ. It's not his fault that WBC and President Mauricio Suleiman are greedy and they want to throw him in that position. It's not his fault. What's he supposed to do? Turn it down? You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure no fighter goes to sleep and dreams about winning a title outside of the ring. So let's give the fighters their credit. You know, Jerome Boutinis didn't want to win his like that. Brian Norman didn't want to win his like that. Neither did David Benavidez. So essentially what we could do, having common sense and applying that logic, you know, if you could show a minuscule amount of intelligence, is that you could take their fight before that, which David Benavidez was David Morrell, Brian Norman was Giovanni Santillan. You could take their fights before that and recognize that as essentially their title fight. You see what I'm saying? Same with Daniel Dubois versus when he beat who did he beat? Philip Hergovich, and then he was elevated to the IBF champ. It's not their faults that the sanctioning bodies want to pussyfoot around and drag their feet, and then, you know, strip the guys later and then retroactively elevate them and give them a title. So stop blaming the fighters for boxing politics. Like, we got to normalize that, in my personal opinion. That's what we're gonna do over here. But anyway, shout out to Benavidez. Like I say, the point I was getting to is that Benavidez doesn't have to fight Anthony Yarde. He could get a light touch, or he could chill and wait to see who the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol is, that trilogy. But instead of doing that, he's going to run to the smoke and fight Anthony Yarde, man. A nice challenger, bro. So, man, I gotta salute Benavidez, bro. I gotta salute Benavidez for that, man. Big salute to Benavidez, and yeah, he's not disappointing, man. And he's undefeated too, so he definitely doesn't have to take the risk, because he could lose to Anthony Yarde. It's a live dog, man. So we'll see how it goes, man. Salute to Benavidez, and salute to Anthony Yarde too, because Anthony Yarde could have went. I'm sure he could have tried to go the Callum Smith route, which is an easier fight. Clearly, I'm not saying he beats Callum Smith, but that's definitely an easier fight. Or he could have tried to still pursue the Joshua Buatsi match, even though that's less attractive since Joshua Buatsi lost. And the reason why I'm saying that too is because it's still a UK fight, and like I said, England has some of the best boxing fans. They would have loved that fight, you know, still with Joshua Buatsi, because that's just one loss, you know. Joshua Buatsi has one loss. Anthony Yarde has 2 losses. Only in America, with American boxers, do we think they would have a loss that fighters are just garbage now. We just throw them away, toss them in the trash.
Know your fucking place, trash.
We got B-Dog in the building. Good morning, bro. Nuba says Brian Norman Jr. will kill Devin Haney. Not gonna lie. Hey, we got to see it. We'll see, man. We'll see. I had Brian Norman winning as well, but I don't think anything's guaranteed. I wouldn't want to be on my rival's undercard either, to be honest. He said I wouldn't want to be in. Nah, I don't think that matters, man. It's like, I don't think it matters, man. To be honest, the reason why I don't think it matters to me, yeah, that sounds like I don't want to be on my rival's undercard, but they're not even rivals, right? They're not in the same division anymore. So, you know, I never looked at them as rivals, to be honest. I just looked at that as a hot fight, you know. Would people say that if he was on the undercard of Barrios? They're rivals too, right? You know, it's just like, you know, like I said, man, it's just American style of boxing, man. I don't feel like people would say that as much if he was on the Barrios and Pacquiao undercard. So why Norman and Haney? You know, I think that with Norman, to be honest with you, bro, I feel like we will say that. Yeah, of course, that's what we all agree on that people will say that. But at the end of the day, when you look at undercards, why do we say that, B-Dog? You know what I'm saying? We say that because the undercard's not making as much money, right? Well, this is where the game has changed. This is a RIYADH season card. Daniel Dubois versus what's the name? Joseph Parker was going to be on the undercard. Shakur Stevenson, which could headline anywhere with Floyd Kid Schofield, was going to be on the undercard. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes look at Shakur Stevenson as a Zapata. That's considered an undercard to Edgar Berlanga and Hamza Shiraz. So yes, in the traditional confines of the sport, you know, being on the undercard, being a co-main, even, you know, any part of the undercard is seen as a bad thing. But on RIYADH season, they give stacked cards. So sometimes the main event is not even indicative of the more popular guys. Beterbiev and Bivol weren't necessarily more popular or bigger fights as far as it's a bigger fight for boxing purists and for us, but for the casuals and for the attractiveness, nah. And as far as their profile, that wasn't the biggest fight on that card as far as popularity goes. So, you know, it's different with RIYADH. I mean, look at the Terrence Crawford card versus Israel Madrimov. He had so many fights on that card that could have been a headline. So when RIYADH is different, you know. Now I agree with you. If it was like a typical top rank card or a typical I don't know, matchroom card during tea time in England, and you're on the undercard, then yeah. But you're on the RIYADH season card, no, you're getting compensated. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care if you're on if I'm on the undercard, the middle card, the top of the card, the above card, the preliminary card, and shoot, you're getting paid. So it doesn't matter, man. My guy Clone in the building, big member in the building. He got pugilism. What's good? He said, gonna add RIYADH seasoning for Thanksgiving turkey this year. Turkey needs a Survivor Series for the fan base. Oh man, that'd be crazy. I think he's a stage where he doesn't need to be on anyone's undercard. I disagree. Like I said, RIYADH season is different. This is not typical. This is not typical boxing business. It's not a PBC card. It's not a Matchroom card. It's not a Queensberry card, Top Rank card, Golden Boy card. This is RIYADH season. So no, I don't think placement matters, to be honest. That's just me, you know. Everybody begs to differ. People could beg to differ, but you know, I don't think that diminishes your value as a fighter, you know. In certain circumstances, anybody could be on the undercard in RIYADH season. You know, I don't think it's devaluing the fighters. You know, that's just my personal opinion. You know, I don't think Bam Rodriguez was devalued, and that's not even a RIYADH season card. I don't think Bam Rodriguez versus Pedro Guevara was undervalued because he was on the undercard of Jerome Boots Ennis and Karen Chukazan. I disagree with that notion. You know. But hey, you know, to each his own, to each his own. Hey, shout out to my guy Clone, man, dropping some love on the Cash App. Give me a second, let me open it up. Shout out to my guy Clone, man. Always showing love and support, man. I appreciate the love and support we receive, man. It's definitely love. It's definitely appreciated, man. Give me a second while it loads up. This thing tripping. My Cash App's not loading up, but I see it, Clone. Thank you. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I see it, bro, but it's not loaded up. So if you set the message, it's not gonna show me the message, cause this thing is stupid, bro. I don't know why. I see it there, but I cannot open it to see a message. So if you let off a message like you usually do, hey, drop it in the chat, man, cause I know you said something slick. So, but shout out to my guy Chloe, man. Drop it. Oh, let me see if it loads up now. There you go. I got it now. I had to close it to reopen. Shout out to my guy Chloe dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. He said, Chloe says, use this moolah when you start the show on time. I knew he was going to say something crazy, bro. He said, use this moolah when... He said, this is moolah for when you start the show on time. Well, hey, well, you owe me some money then, brother, because I always start the show on time. No, sometimes I don't, you know what I'm saying? But majority, I started on time more times than I don't. So you owe me some paper, bro. You feel me? So yeah, man, I'm doing good this morning, man. Appreciate you pulling up. He said, I love these stat cards because I pay for them. Talk to him, Ryan. Talk to him, Ryan. What my boy say? He said, I love these stat cards because I pay for them. Facts. Like, you know, I feel like, man, that's just... I don't know, man. I think it's petty stuff, you know. That's my personal opinion. You know, I'm not knocking anybody who feels that way, but in my opinion, man, anybody, if your main gripe is the placement of fighters on a card, and I'm not saying B-Dog, I'm just saying, you know, because anybody, you know, if that's the main gripe, then that's a pretty good card. If you're not complaining about who's fighting on the card, you're complaining about where it's at on the bill. That's a great card. Even on the what's the card that's coming up with Pacquiao Barrios? Puello and Mutias could be a headliner. You see what I'm saying? So, man, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just different. He said, I know he doesn't have to worry about the compensation, at least for this particular card, but it seems as if he's being relegated to some degree. I don't see that. I don't see it at all. Like I said, if I remove now, I agree with you, B-Dog, if we're talking about looking at the response of people who are petty, you know, that's how it's going to be on content creators. Yes, you know. But as far as just looking at it objectively and blocking out the noise, you know, like some people say that they watch a fight with the commentary muted. Well, imagine this card with the outside noise muted. You know what I'm saying? The goofy behind, snot nose, fat belly, bug eyed content creators that'll be out there knocking anybody at any moment they can, but wouldn't bust a grape in a food fight. You know, take them away. What's the bad thing about having stat cards? I thought we complained about that. You know, it's like when PBC has stat cards, we complain because they don't have it frequently enough. When Matchroom has a card and they have it often, we complain because they're not stacked enough. Now RIYADH season is giving us both stacked cards and doing it with a heightened frequency, and we still complain. Now the complaint is that, oh well, this guy should be the top of the bill and this guy should be at the lower. It's like, bro, that's you got to please yourself in this world because people gonna always complain no matter what, man. You can't do anything right. So yeah, I think it's I think that's a nonsensical outlook. Like, it don't matter to me. I can care less. He was on the undercard of the prelim show. As long as everybody else fighting and we good fights, I'm good. He said, I can't stand the Buffett or lagging. Hell no. I'm telling you, but yeah, man, nah, but I get, like I said, I get what you're saying though, B Dog. You're not wrong, because a lot of people will look at it like that. You know, we got pugilism in the building. Anubis says Usyk would or 3-0 Tyson Fury. He said, I don't know. I know he does have, yeah, he does have to worry about the compensation. So that's a good thing, I think, you know. Shout out to Tay in the building. But yeah, so I just think that, you know, it's just people just nitpicking, you know, and just try to do whatever they can to be negative. You know, you have those type of people in the world, and a lot of them, unfortunately, on the internet, you know, not only do you get to thrive, you get to, you get like good feedback from being a butthole. The internet is beautiful, because you could be good and be good, you know, and celebrated, and you could be bad and be a loser and be celebrated as well. You know, it is what it is. But it's up to us not to get lost in the sauce. You feel me? It's up to us not to get lost in the sauce. I don't think there's anything wrong with being on. I don't think there's anything, as long as you're fighting, I don't think there's anything wrong with being on the undercard, man. I don't think so. You know, but I get what you're saying though. You know, Gerard Boots said this is big enough to headline, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, man. As much as I like Boots, I don't think that he headlines everywhere. I think, you know, I mean, let's be honest. Is he proven as a headliner? Now you have to take that leap, right, and see. But I mean, he's been headlining, but on the East Coast where he's from. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's in Jersey or in Atlantic City or Philly, you know what I'm saying? He hasn't really been like, you know, in Vegas or Cali or New York, or, you know, even New York I would count as his area, or even like abroad, you know what I'm saying, and headlining. So yeah, I don't think it's a given that he'll be headlining anyway. Now if he's fighting, if it's a big fight like him versus Virgil Ortiz, hell, it don't even have to be Virgil Ortiz. If it's him versus Bakram, that's a headliner. If it's him versus Anders Zayas, that's a headliner. But if it's him versus Jonas Tellis, to me that's a headliner. But is it really for everybody else? I don't know. I might be an undercard fight for your ass. You know what I'm talking about? So, and it depends on perspective, you know. But like, I do agree with you. I think that Boots is a star. But, you know, sometimes we got to remember that we are ingrained in this boxing thing. You know what I'm saying? So we might know Boots, and Boots might be one of the biggest fighters as far as skill set, potential, accolades, and who we want to see, you know. But as far as popularity goes, that's a whole nother monster, you know what I'm saying? If it was based on merit, then yeah, he'd be doing Jake Paul numbers. But it's not. It's based on numbers, and that's why Jake Paul does Jake Paul numbers, you know. Based off of popularity. So it is what it is, man. But yeah, let's move on, man. Shout out to David Benavidez, man. Big salute to David Benavidez. Him versus Anthony Yarde. Shout out to Anthony Yarde as well. Great fight. I had Benavidez, but man, I can't wait to see it. Hopefully it happens on the same card as Benavidez Yarde happens on the same card as Haney and Norman, and hopefully Beterbiev and Bivol, you know what I'm saying? And I think all those fights would be undercards to Beterbiev and Bivol. So we'll see how it goes, man. Now, Tyson Fury, bro. Tyson Fury. Oh, before we move on, Clone has a question. He said, you think we will ever get Boots versus Norman? Not anytime soon. Maybe if Norman moves up to 154. But hey, who's to say that Norman would even make it to Boots? You know, like, there's some good fights for him at 147. You know, it may not be Boots, but there's some good fights at 147 for Norman. So do I think we will get it? Yeah, I think if they stay on their current trajectory of winning and being undefeated, and, you know, I think that we would get that fight eventually. But not anytime soon, because I don't think that Norman is struggling to make weight at 147. So I think he's going to stay. And according to interviews, he's good at 147, you know. So yeah, I don't think it will happen anytime soon, and I'm cool with that, you know. But then again, like I said, you know, I'm different as far as the way I look at boxing. Like, boxing is never just relegated, like my guy B Dog said. It's never just relegated to one or two big fights for me. I want Tank and Shakur. I want Canelo and Benavidez. But I'm still excited for Canelo and Crawford. I'm still excited for Benavidez and Yarde. I'm still excited for Tank and Roach rematch. I'm still excited for Shakur versus, who's he fighting again? Williams Zepeda. Like, there's other fights for those guys that don't include each other. Like, in some people's minds, they have exclusivity fighters have exclusivity to each other. Like if Tank's not fighting Shakur, every fight that Tank fight is trash. If Canelo's not fighting Benavidez, every fight he's involved in is trash. If I don't know who else, if Boots is not fighting Norman, every fight is trash. Like, bro, you just heard about Norman last year. Like, you know, all of a sudden now Norman and Boots is the biggest fight you ever wanted to see, and you can't. No, that to me that just shows that you just want you're just what's the thing? What's it called? The new hotness. You just want to throw whatever's hot in the pot. You see what I'm saying? It's not about, oh, you really want to see boxing. No, you just want to see the two big names, and you want to see drama. And the drama, the climax of the drama is the fight. But you don't really care about the fight. It's like you have these people that claim they want to see Boots and Norman. That's the biggest fight in boxing. They couldn't name you 3 people that Norman fought. Why do you want to see Norman versus Boots more than you want to see Barrios versus Boots? Barrios has been the longest reigning champion at 147. Isn't that a bigger fight? So it's not about knowing him. It's about just, in my personal opinion, it's a form of gatekeeping. To be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's a form of, I think it's a deeper rooted issue socially, you know, and I think it's a form of gatekeeping, and we even do it to each other. We get caught up and lost in the sauce. You know, we make a big deal out of every American fighting each other, but then you have 2 guys like Tyson Fury about to come out of retirement. He was brought up in the same division in the same country as Anthony Joshua, and they haven't fought each other yet. This has been over a decade, literally over a decade plus. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua has never fought. Tyson Fury had a good career without Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's having a good career without Tyson Fury. Oh, but Gervonta Tate Davis and Shakur Stevenson, if they don't fight each other, oh, the boxing's gonna end as we know it. Brian Norman and Jerron Boots said, oh, boxing's gonna end as we know it. But Bivol and Beterbiev, they're both Russian or some derivative of Russia. You see what I'm saying? Of course, Beterbiev was in Canada, and of course, Bivol is more related to what, Kazakhstan and stuff like that. But they were in the Russian national team together, right? They didn't fight until last year. That was what, another fight that was 8 years in the making. Nobody was gangbanging on them not fighting or saying that, oh, but Beterbiev doesn't fight Bivol doesn't fight Beterbiev, boxing's over. You see what I'm saying? Oh, but when it's American fighters, okay, yeah. Yeah, the world's gonna end if Boots and Norman don't fight each other. And Norman, who just got off the scene, and everybody highlights the fact that he struggled with Boca Chica. No, because that's the only fight that you know, and you want to be negative towards him. So that's the fight that you highlight. The man's 24 years old. He's literally the youngest world champion in boxing right now. Literally, I'm not even speaking to hyperbole. I'm not exaggerating. He's literally the youngest champion in boxing right now. So I mean, he's still developing, man. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It's crazy that we don't put that same pressure on Bear Rodriguez to fight Puma Martinez, or that same pressure on Bear Rodriguez to fight. You know, he's fighting Fumaledi Cafu now, which is good. But it's just crazy how we put sort of pressure on fighters to fight each other, fight unifications, and other guys could go decades without fighting each other from the same country in the same division their whole entire life, and no one says nothing. But yeah, we'll see, man. Shout out to my guy Dub, big member in the building. Yeah, fair. Yeah, look, all of a sudden Morrell has 1 loss and he's trash. Shout out to George the Last Patriot in the building. But yeah, I just for me, it's never been like, oh yeah, this guy has to fight this guy or else boxing is over for me. Brian Norman could fight Barrios. I'd be just as excited as Boots fighting Barrios as I am for Boots fighting Norman, or Norman fighting Barrios as I am for you saw me. I was excited for Boots and Stanionis. You know, a lot of people don't know the Lithuanian champion. They try to downplay him. He's the undefeated champion. I was excited for that. I like unifications because I respect champions. A lot of people don't. They respect. You know, it's so funny that they say, oh, this fighter's dad talks too much. But then those are the people that you gravitate to because they're talking, because that's the part that you like. You see what I'm saying? And you like to argue with Bill Haney more than you like to see Devin Haney fight. You like to argue with Brian Norman Sr. more than you want to see Brian Norman Jr. fight. You know what I'm saying? You like to call up and be disrespectful, that act like these people are somehow your peers. Like, no disrespect. I'm not saying that everybody's human, but if you wouldn't talk to Eddie Hearn like that, you shouldn't talk to Bill Haney like that. If you wouldn't talk to Oscar De La Hoya like that, you shouldn't talk to Brian Norman Jr. Senior like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we should have some type of I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I think you should have some type of respect. You know, it's like the people that make themselves available to us to speak with, we often treat them the worst. Bill Haney doesn't say anything crazier than what Eddie Hearn says. Eddie Hearn doesn't say anything crazier than what Oscar De La Hoya says. Brian Norman Sr. doesn't say anything crazier than what Frank Warren says about his fighters. But Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya, they're not popping up on a podcast for you to have open dialogue with. But Bill Haney is, and I'm not even a Bill Haney fan like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, shout out to Trill Bill. You know, he makes himself available. Brian Norman Sr. makes himself available, and a lot of people dog him for that instead of being appreciative. I'm not saying don't ask him hard questions. I'm not saying don't interrogate them. But what I'm saying is, like, you should also, to me, it's a bad representation on yourself as well, on the individual. It's like, you can ask tough questions, but it's about your presentation. You know what I'm saying? If you're coming at it like a petty asshole, then shout out to Bill Haney. I'd have been gave you the dial tone. I'd have been hung up on your ass. Boy, I ain't got no faith in Tate making that rematch official. He know he finna get smoked. Hey, watch him out, man. Chill out. Burrell next fight is tough. He on suspension. It's no truth. I'm telling you, bro. Imam Katayev. Shout out to Burrell and Imam Katayev. I think that fight is great as well, but I got Burrell beating him in 5. I got Morrell beating him. You know what I'm saying? It could be excuse me. Katayev, Jukabayev, Morrell in 5. I got Morrell, man. I think shout out to Imam Katayev, but he's an undefeated fighter, a good fighter, but he's one-dimensional, you know, and his manager, Jim Kambosos, who's George Kambosos' pops, you know, he wants a smaller ring because he thinks that's going to save him. So anybody focused on the ring size and the dimensions of the ring and where you're competing and not focused on your opponent's skills or your fighter's skills, I think that already spells disaster. I think he's going to get smoked. Not to mention, if you haven't watched it before, Ryan Frazier, I'm sure you probably have, but if you don't believe me, go and every fight is different, you know, and guys could develop, you know, people could develop, but go watch Imam Katayev versus Ben Whitaker in the amateurs, and they had no helmets too. They had no head guard, so go watch that and tell me if you think that David Morrell's in trouble. David Morrell's gonna make that man look like cake, look like a cakewalk, unless he gets caught. You know what I'm saying? Which is always a chance. And plus, David Morrell's coming off of a loss, right? So that's always adds some extra sauce, you know, extra ingredients to the recipe. So there's always some areas of unknown right there to see how he'll bounce back after a tough fight with David Benavidez and suffering his first loss. But nah, stylistically, David Morrell's gonna kick his ass, man. Because, you know, they want to make the ring small so their one-dimensional fighter cannot feel handicapped. You know what I'm saying? Instead of working on your fighter's weaknesses and developing a full-fledged, well-rounded fighter, you know, you want to try to do things like manipulate the ring size and go with the current casual ignorant boxing consensus that we should make the ring smaller and make it more advantageous for one fighter while handicapping another. No, how about you just go in there and do your job and be a great athlete? That's what it is. Dunking the basketball. No matter how easy Giannis makes it look, no matter how easy LeBron makes it look, dunking the basketball is hard. You can't do it. But we're not going to lower the rims to 8 feet so Steph Curry can dunk more easily. No, Steph Curry has to develop another portion of his game to make him great, and that's the 3-point shot. Oh, but in boxing, you know, we want to make sure that, oh, this fighter can't, he's not very agile, he doesn't know how to cut off the ring. Bet let's change the ring size. Let's lower the rim and make it easier for him. Freak out of here, bro. That's why he's gonna get clapped. He's gonna get clapped. Bet money. Hey, Brian, you want to put money on it? I bet you. How much money you want to bet? How much you want to bet? Anybody who wants to bet Imam Katayev, anybody who has been Imam Katayev, I'll take that bet. Whatever you want to bet. I ain't Elon Musk now, you know what I'm saying? I ain't Denzel with it, you know what I'm saying? But whatever you want to bet is reasonable. Let's do it. I bet Boots never beat. That's a lie. You're wrong. He did beat him. Boots beat Gary Anton Russell one time. Gary Anton Russell beat him more times, but Boots did beat him. I believe that the record in the amateurs between Boots and Gary Anton Russell is 3-1 in favor of Russell, you know. But Morrell never fought Imam Katayev. I'm not talking about the fighters. I'm talking about the styles. You see what I'm saying? I'm not talking about, oh, Sean Porter beat Alexander Usyk so in the amateurs, so Alexander Usyk will lose to Sean Porter in the pros. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying stylistically, which is not going to change. I don't care if you're amateurs or you're pros. Like I said, go watch Ben Whitaker versus Imam Katayev in the amateurs, and go watch how how much Katayev struggled with a slick boxer. That's the correlation that I'm making. The stylistically speaking, and my David Morrell and Ben Whitaker, whoever you want to say is more elusive or evasive or slicker, I don't even care. It's inconsequential. They're both slick enough to handle Imam Katayev style. I promise you that. So anybody wants to bet, if you have Imam Katayev, please bet me. That's easy money. Please bet me against David Morrell and Imam Katayev. I'll take it. I'm taking all bets. All bets. So stylistically speaking, you know, yeah, Imam Katayev did not develop. That's why Jim Kambosos came out and said, "Oh, I want a smaller ring." He wants a smaller ring because he knows Imam Katayev is gonna get smoked otherwise. But yeah, man, let's keep it going, man. So moving on, Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk has been announced. You know, Turkey has confirmed it. Now, last night, it was funny because I was gonna make a post about. I mean, I did make a post about Tyson Fury. You know, coming back, and people were unsure. People were saying, like, let me pull up the post. People were unsure, like, oh, who is he fighting? I don't know who he's fighting. I wonder if he's gonna fight is he gonna fight Anthony Joshua? Is he gonna come back and fight Ajit Kabayel? Is he gonna come back and fight? I saw all these guys, Daniel Dubois. Like, bro, he's fighting Usyk, and people they were unsure, which I don't mind people being unsure, of course, you know. But if you go and look at it, what's his name? Turki Al-Sheikh told us who he's fighting. Turki Al-Sheikh literally told us who. I'm trying to pull up the thing. He literally told us who the Alexander Usyk is gonna fight, and so did Usyk. Usyk was like, "Yeah, I'll come back and I'll fight Usyk immediately." That's what Tyson Fury said. He said, "We'll come back. I'll fight Usyk immediately. I want that fight now." And then Turki Al-Sheikh announced, when he announced that Tyson Fury was coming back in 2026, you know, this is what he said right here. I want to show y'all. He told us, I mean, now it's a hint, right? But it's not definitive. But he said Tyson Fury is set to come out of retirement and return to boxing in 2026. Turki Al-Sheikh has confirmed. Al-Sheikh said, "I talked with him, and I have his word to have him in Riyadh season in 2026. We have a rabbit to hunt." So then after this post, people were asking, oh, there's plenty of options for Tyson Fury. He could fight Ajit Kabayel, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, Alexander Usyk. I saw Derek Chisora, some other people, right? It's like, no, bro. He told us right here. If Turkey spoke with him and he said we have a rabbit to hunt, if you paid attention to boxing like we do over here, you got to be very observant, right? That's a hell of a breadcrumb right there. That's a hell of a blues clue right there, depending on how old you are. That's a hell of a evidence. He's saying that they're going for Usyk because if you remember, Tyson Fury always called Usyk a rabbit. He always called him a rabbit. So when they reference a rabbit, they're talking about Usyk. Remember, he was talking about he looks like a little rabbit because his teeth and all, and all that stuff. So basically, he said we have a rabbit to hunt. You know, Usyk is the rabbit. You know, unfortunately for Tyson Fury's Elmer Fudd, and Alexander Usyk is Bugs Bunny. And you know how that story goes with Bugs Bunny always on top because the rabbit is kicking your ass. You know what I'm saying? And you coming up with excuses saying, oh, yeah, well, we want to fight in England because in Riyadh season they robbed us. I mean, they robbed you in Riyadh season. Yeah, you're going to go back? Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Why would you even be affiliated? Well, he said they're going to fight in Wembley, according to the announcement. But I don't care if you fight in Antarctica. I don't care if you fight in Ukraine. I don't care if you fight in Jamaica. I don't care if you fight in the ocean or on Mars. Usyk is gonna win, you know. That's what it seems like, you know. And you know, I like Tyson Fury, you know, Gypsy King of obesity. That's my guy. But Tyson Fury, you know, that's one of my favorite heavyweights. I love the way he talks trash. However, with Tyson Fury, though, he gave one of the worst excuses in boxing history. You know, we let him slide with it, but I'm not. I heard it. You know, he said that, you know, he lost the fight because of the Ukrainian war. He said he lost the fight, the first one, because of war in Ukraine. What? So basically he's saying that they tried to galvanize Ukrainian people by giving him, the Ukrainian fighter, Usyk, the win over him because they're going through some tough times and they want to boost the morale of the people. No, brother, he gave him the victory because you almost got knocked out in the 9th round. Now, I will be very clear. I thought Tyson Fury won the first fight. The second fight, which Tyson Fury thinks he won by 5 rounds, he thought that was closer. I actually thought that was more of a clear win. That was clearer of a win for Usyk the second time. The first time I thought was closer. Could have went either way. I'm cool with Usyk winning. I had Tyson Fury edging it out the first time, but I wasn't mad. It was a close fight. Could have went either way. The second fight, I don't know how the heck you could have Tyson Fury winning. I had Usyk winning, but of course, according to Tyson Fury, he was robbed again. So people are mad at this trilogy, bro. I don't know about this, right? Let me hit some of this comment. He said, Doc, is there a rematch clause for Norman versus Dev? I heard that the rematch clause is one way. I heard that it's only for Norman. Yeah, I heard that the rematch clause is only for Norman. I don't know if that's true though. You know what I'm saying? I saw, you know, things change, but from what I've seen so far, that Norman Jr. is a guy that has a rematch, but not Devin Haney. Yo, Slime in the building was good. But that's just what I heard. So with Tyson Fury, right? This trilogy, to me, I think this trilogy is straight garbage, basura, and any word that's synonymous with trash.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Shout out to my guy B-Dog. I agree with you 1000%. My boy B-Dog says we do not need a third fight. And that's a fact. We don't need a third fight, you know. And you know, I'm glad that I'm not the only person that shares this sentiment, you know. However, you know, I gotta have a little gripe, B-Dog. You know, people are mad at the Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk trilogy. And we should be, because it's nonsensical. It doesn't make sense, right? It's like, he already lost twice. Are we going to keep fighting until he wins? Oh, doesn't that sound familiar? That's what I've always said about Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. That trilogy, you know? Damn. Excuse me. Piece of hair went in my mouth. All right. So it's just so funny that, you know, I've been saying that we don't need the Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk trilogy because he's 0-2, right? You're 0-2. I don't care how close the fights are. Usyk won, you know? But I've also shared the same sentiment, the same exact sentiment for the Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor trilogy. Because Katie Taylor is 2-0. Amanda Serrano is 0-2. What, are they going to keep fighting until Serrano wins? That's what it feels like. So if you aren't mad at Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, then I don't need you to say nothing about Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, because it's the same exact thing. From the top to the bottom, it's the same exact thing. I don't care how close the fights are. It starts to become redundant, you know. And it's just so funny too, also, that the same people will say, oh, I want to see Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor fight again. I want to see Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. I don't want to see them fight again. But then you're also mad at Bivol and Beterbiev. That trilogy actually makes sense. They're 1-1, right? With Beterbiev winning the first one and Bivol winning the second one. That's the trilogy that we need, and those are great fights. You see what I'm saying? But you'll be cool with Tyson Fury having a trilogy with Derek Chisora. That was cool though, right? Where Derek Chisora lost all 3 times, you know? And when Katie Taylor beats Amanda Serrano, well, I don't know how it's gonna go because that's a good fight. Amanda Serrano could win, but I'm going with Katie Taylor. But we're gonna keep running it back until what, they could fight 20 times as long as Tyson Fury or Amanda Serrano get 1 victory out of the 20. So they'll end up being 1-19. Then I guess that they're the best fighters, right? They were robbed all the other times. Like, stop it, bro. Like, I don't want to see these trilogies, bro. Let's get over it, you know? But it's funny because, you know, we do see a lot of crazy people asking for rematches. It's like Tank and Pitbull. People want to see Tank and Pitbull rematch. Why? Because Pitbull wasn't knocked out. So not getting knocked out is justification for having a rematch. Pitbull won. If I'm not mistaken, Gervonta Tank Davis beat Pitbull on 2 scorecards, 7-5, which reflects a scorecard of 115-113. And I think that the third scorecard was 116-112, which reflects 8 rounds to 4. That's not really close. I mean, it's not a beat down, but it's not really close. It doesn't justify a rematch, you know. And so people also want to see a rematch with Rolly and Ryan. I hope Rolly never fights Ryan again. Hopefully he has enough money and hopefully he has enough financial stability that he doesn't need to fight Ryan again if they try to put him in a corner and force him to fight that fight. Why do we want to see Ryan versus Rolly? That fight wasn't close. But people want to see that rematch because they want to see Ryan get it back because they like Ryan. People want to see that rematch with Gervonta Tank Davis and Pitbull because they don't like Tank and they think that Pitbull was somehow has a potential to beat Tank, or because he didn't get knocked out. I don't understand. And then if you're an Amanda Serrano fan, you want to see the Katie Taylor trilogy because you think that she was just robbed unceremoniously. No, I mean, I had Amanda Serrano winning the second fight as well, but it was a very close fight that could have went either way. It's not some type of robbery, you know. But the trilogy that we should want to see is Chantel Cameron versus Katie Taylor. That's a trilogy that we should want to see because they're 1-1, with Katie Taylor losing the first one and then her winning the second one, you know. That's a trilogy that we need to see in the women. We need to see Amanda Serrano versus Alicia Bumgarner. You know what I'm saying? That's a good fight. You know, people that have been calling out Amanda Serrano that she's been ducking and dodging and dipping, trying to hide behind this facade that, oh, it's because the Katie Taylor fight's the only fight that's good for me. No, you could have also fought Sky Nicholson. She was calling you out. That would have been a good fight. Now she lost to Tiara Brown. Shout out to Tiara Brown. But you could also fight Tierra Brown now. You know what I'm saying? What about Carolyn Dubois? She's another female fighter that's out there looking for the smoke. But Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano are literally holding up multiple divisions in the women's boxing because they're having a nonsensical, inconsequential, meaningless trilogy that people claim they want to see. You don't want to see it. You know what I'm saying? If you're an Amanda Serrano fan, you want to see her win. That's what it is. You don't want to see the trilogy. You just want to see Amanda Serrano get it back because you know that she's in jeopardy of not being one of the best women boxers ever if she keeps losing to Katie Taylor. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But sorry to tell you that the truth is she's already not the GOAT. She'll never be the GOAT because the GOAT is Clarissa Shields. It is what it is. Shout out to B-Dog. B-Dog said 7-5 was generous in his opinion in regards to the Tank and Eastside Pitbull Cruz fight. Facts. That fight was not that close. And, you know what I'm saying? Let's normalize having trilogies and rematches based off of merit and fights actually being close, not because you just want to see a certain outcome. I definitely wanted a Tank Pitbull rematch. I believe Pitbull won the first fight. Yeah, you're tripping. We already know you don't like Tank though. Yeah, people crazy, bro. Shout out to my guy Slide, man. You know, I already know, bro. You're not fond of my boy Javante. Where my GTD chains at? There's no way that you can look at that Pitbull fight and think that Pitbull won that first fight. Getting knocked out is not enough to win. I mean, sorry, not getting knocked out is not that win. You know, they said I want to see Arroyo versus William Cepeda. Ooh, that's a good one. I heard that Rayo said he's coming back down to 135. I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, you know, I think that's a good fight. If Shakur beats Cepeda, which I think Shakur will beat Cepeda, that's a good fight. Yeah, man, we have never seen Marshall versus Greed. It's definitely a more intriguing matchup because we have never seen it before. Yeah, or I'm more excited for Marshall versus bro. To me, Savannah Marshall versus Shadeja Green. I think that's the best fight on the card. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to my guy Ryan Fraser. My boy really watched boxing, man. A lot of people don't know that July 11th. As much as I'm being somewhat facetious, right? Or not really. I don't like the Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor trilogy. I think let me be very clear. Is it a good fight? Yes, of course. They fight 10 times out of 10. It's going to be a good fight. But it doesn't feel like they're fighting because it's a good fight. They're fighting because we're trying to get Amanda Serrano a victory. Because we feel like she's owed that. You're not owed nothing. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know, we've seen worse robberies. We've seen legit robberies that don't get rematches. You know, I think Natasha Jonas and Michaela Mayer was a robbery. Michaela Mayer didn't get her rematch. But my point is that Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, it's a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. But it just doesn't make sense for them to have a trilogy because it's not justified in my personal opinion, you know. But that card is fire from top to bottom. You have Amanda Serrano fighting You have Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano trilogy. You have Alicia Baumgartner fighting Miranda, right? Jessica Miranda. You have Sharetta Metcalf fighting Shreneka Johnson, the American champion, and Sharetta Metcalf fighting against the Australian contender Shreneka Johnson. It was supposed to be Dina Thorslin, but Dina Thorslin popped up pregnant, which is, I think that's so funny, bro. The fight got called off because she pregnant. She ain't know she was pregnant, you know. Shout out to them, man. That's beautiful, you know. But that was funny. That would have been a unification. That would have been for Undisputed, I think. I think they both had 2 of the belts, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. It definitely would have been a unification. And then you got Shadeja Green versus Savannah Marshall. That's a great fight. And then you got there's another fight too that I'm looking forward to. Chantel Cameron's also on that card. I can't remember who her opponent is, but Chantel Cameron's also on that card, so that's another fight too. That's good. And there's somebody else too, I can't remember. But anyway, I agree with Ryan. I think Shadeja Green versus Savannah Marshall is definitely going to be the fight of the night. And hopefully the winner of that gets Clarissa Shields. That'd be good. Whether it's a rematch with Savannah Marshall or a first fight with Marshall and the GOAT. You know, I think that either way, that's going to be a great fight. You know, I'm leaning towards Savannah Marshall, but Shadeja Green definitely has a good chance. George Ice Page says Sandy Sandler and Willie Pep was 3-1. Sugar Ray Robinson with Jake LaMotta was 5-1. Pacquiao Marquez was 2-1-1. If there's odds for it, seemingly unnecessary rematches will happen. Yeah, see, but Pacquiao Marquez felt different because they had a draw. Like you said, they're 2-1-1. Now, if we talk about Willie Pep and Sandy Sandler, I'm going to let you have that because that's way before my time. You know what I'm saying? Have I heard about it? Yes. But did I watch it? Did I anticipate it? Did I feel the emotion around it for the boxing landscape? No. Sugar Ray Robinson, that's before my time as well, Jake LaMotta. But Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez is different. They had a draw, and they had a draw early on. You know what I'm saying? Show me another trilogy that's 2-0 besides Tyson Fury and USYK that's potentially happening, and Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? People don't like Bivol and Beterbiev, they're 1-1. You know, that's the point that I'm making. Like, it's one thing to have a draw with Marquez and Pacquiao, then you have another fight, and stuff like that. But it's another thing to have a trilogy where one person has both the victories. You know, those are different things, you know. But you're right. If there's an audience for it, it's audience. Ain't about not liking Tank. I'm not a fan of none of these fighters. I don't like Tank because he beat everybody, so he doesn't need to fight them. I don't like Tank because he beat everybody, because he could beat everybody, so he doesn't need to fight them. So you could be the best. You just don't have to prove it. What? He literally beat Isaac Pitbull Cruz. We're talking about Isaac Pitbull Cruz. What are you talking about? I'm confused, Lon. What you just said doesn't make sense. You said that in response to me saying that you don't like Tank. He already beat Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Number one. So you're wrong on three counts. The first count is we're talking about a guy he fought before, not somebody he hasn't fought before. I don't understand if you said that in regards to Shakur, but we're talking about Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Number two, Isaac Pitbull Cruz is the best. So you're wrong there. And number three, it's so funny. Isaac Pitbull Cruz is one of the best when we want the rematch. But when we talk about him beating Isaac Pitbull Cruz, he doesn't count as one of the best on his resume, but he counts as one of the best if you want to justify the rematch. And number three, he already proved it. He beat him already. We're not talking about a guy he hasn't beaten. So I don't understand that response. That response didn't really make sense. Not in regards to Isaac Pitbull Cruz. You know what I'm saying? Tank, shout out to Tank. I like Tank, but I don't think he needs to fight Isaac Pitbull Cruz again simply because he didn't knock him out. That not getting knocked out, it doesn't mean that you won the fight. Yeah, I don't care if it's against a knockout artist or not. That fight wasn't close, and Gervonta Tank Davis was injured. So I want Tank and Shakur to fight. I love that fight. I want Tank to fight all the unifications, but fighting Pitbull Cruz doesn't do anything for Tank at all. Because if he beats Pitbull Cruz again, people are just gonna say, oh, he beat him again, and he's supposed to beat him. If he doesn't beat him, well, he already beat him before, and then people are gonna say, oh, well, you know, he got robbed the first time. No, he didn't get robbed. He just didn't win, and he, you know, so I guess Tank has to rematch the other guy he didn't knock out. What was the other guy he didn't knock out earlier in his career? I can't remember the other dude that he didn't knock out. So he needs to rematch him too, because apparently Tank has to knock out everybody because he knocks people out. That doesn't make sense. I'm not interested in Isaac Pitbull Cruz fight, not because I don't want Tank to fight good fights. Of course, I want him to fight Shakur. In fact, I think that Shakur's the only person to beat him. I love that Keyshawn Davis called out Tank. I want to see that fight too. When Keyshawn was a champion, you know what I'm saying? I want to see. I love the fact that Schofield's calling out Tank. I want to see Tank. I like fighters because they're good fighters. You know what I'm saying? I don't even relate to that. So in fact, you know what's crazy? I didn't like Tank at first. I didn't like Canelo. I thought they were both hype jobs, and those two guys are my favorite fighters because they proved it. You know what I'm saying? So once somebody proves it, you know, I like people that prove it. I don't care for fighters that are hype jobs. But I mean, I don't know. I don't see the point of fighting Pitbull. I like Pitbull though. You know, Pitbull's one of my favorite fighters to watch. But as far as that fight being close, I think that's an exaggeration. You know, it's kind of like what people say Oscar and Floyd was close. Oscar and Floyd was closer than Pitbull and Tank. But I'm saying that like it's like people exaggerate how close it was because it was a close fight, and they probably don't like Floyd. You know, I don't know. Maidana and Floyd was close. That's why they had the rematch. But Oscar and Floyd wasn't that close. Floyd and Castillo wasn't that close. He said, like this channel, only support Juju Nakatani. Like your shot to Lloyd. What's good? What's good, Lloyd? Kendrick in the building. He said, I only support. George, she planned the pregnancy to duck that fight. Bro, people will say crazy stuff. Bro, people are going to say Dina Thorne's planned the pregnancy to duck the fight. Come on, man. He said, you got it. You're right. Yeah, I'm just a take hater. Your narrative is correct. But apparently, they just watched the fight and score. I said people won because I'm just a take hater. Take is the best. Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to hear. That's on you. Maybe you, like I said, what you just said is that you said that Take hasn't proved it against Isaac Pitbull Cruz. So, I mean, you could be sarcastic or you could just say what it is, you know what I'm saying? I didn't say that. That's not the reason why I said you're a Tank hater, because you also said other stuff that's indicative of you not liking Tank. And that's cool. You don't have to like Tank, but don't make up stuff. Say, oh yeah, he has to fight Pitbull Cruz because that'll prove if he's good. No one ever said. The only time people say Pitbull Cruz is good is if they want to have see a Tank versus Pitbull rematch. And that's cool, but Tank will just smoke him again. So it's not about Tank being the best. That's what you want to hear. I can't help what you perceive. And once again, you're hearing me say that Tank is the best because that's how much your emotions run for Tank. You see what I'm saying? I clearly said that I want to see Tank and Shakur fight because I want to know who determines the best. to see who's the best. But what you heard is that, oh, I'm saying Tank is the best, and you can't say anything bad about Tank. I never said that. So I don't know what you're talking about. I even said that I want Tank to have the Lamont Roach rematch because that fight is close and he could lose. But however you interpret it, that's your business. But that's indicative of you not liking Tank, and you're proving my point. The man just told me that Tank has to prove he's the best, and by way of proving that is to fight Aesop Pitbull Cruz again, a guy that he beat. That does nothing for Tank. Because if he beats Pitbull Cruz again, you're just gonna say, oh yeah, well he should have beat Pitbull. What? Come on, man. He said Oscar and Floyd was not close at all. Come on, clone. I mean, people will say whatever, just to prove whatever their point is. I don't know. And if he did struggle against Pitbull, a lot of people struggle against certain fighters. Is that justification to have a rematch? Now, I would like the rematch if Pitbull is a champion at 140. If like I thought that rematch would be cool if Tank. If Pitbull was a champion at 140 and then he was going up to fight him, yeah, make it interesting. You know what I'm saying? But just to have a rematch, I mean, I guess Shakur should fight De Los Santos again. I guess because that was a close fight. I guess Puello should fight Gary Anton Russell. That one actually makes sense. Gary Anton Russell and Puello makes sense because that was a split decision, you know. But a unanimous decision victory, and it's not even. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it was a close fight. You know, I guess Gustavo Lemos and Richard Hitchens should have a rematch too. You know, and if you don't think that they should have a rematch, then I guess you're in love with Richard Hitchens. I guess I don't know because he won. He said, "I just got my hair done 2 days ago." I just got my hair done. Hold on, I got you, bro. I just got my hair done. Fury vs. Wilder 3, Fury vs. Chisora 3 were both unnecessary. Okay, but once again, George, that's different. And this is my opinion now. Once again, that's different. Fury vs. Wilder 3, once again, there was a draw, George. Remember, there was a draw. So it wasn't just like, oh, Fury won twice and they had a trilogy. You see what I'm saying? There was a draw, there was a gap, and then there, you know what I'm saying? And then they continued with their trilogy, you know? Fury versus Chisora was unnecessary because Chisora lost 3 times. Tyson Fury's the king of trilogies, though. You know, like you said, Deontay Wilder trilogy, Derek Chisora trilogy, and then good Lord willing, we all make it to 2026. You know, Tyson Fury and Usyk. He said, Oliver McCall, mental breakdown, fan, man. Wait, what happened with Oliver McCall? Something happened to Oliver McCall recently? Shout out to Oliver McCall, man. Jamaican Bodman. Let me see. Wait, is Oliver McCall Jamaican? I know he just had a fight, though. Oh, no, you're just speaking of... I don't see anything happen to Oliver McCall. Off the chain. I think... Doesn't Oliver McCall have a Jamaican parents or something like that? I could be tripping. Sometimes I'd be confusing people. We mix them up. Oliver McCall. I know he just had a fight. He just had a fight with who did he just fight? 59 years old, still fighting. Crazy. Shout out to Oliver McCall. No, Oliver, I'm thinking of Mike McCallum. Mike McCallum's Jamaican. Excuse me. Shout out to Jamaican Bodman Mike McCallum. Excuse me. I'm thinking of Mike McCallum. I knew I was, but Oliver McCall, he just fought somebody though. 59 years old, still fighting. God bless him.
Me blood clot.
He just mentioned as well. Okay, he said I didn't say they should fight again because it was close. I said I scored for Pitbull, or at the very best, it was a draw. So I wouldn't buy the rematch. But the moral of the story, Take is the best. I mean, I don't care if you think he's the best or not, bro. I don't really understand what point you're trying to prove, bro. I don't know. He said I want to ride the rematch. No, you said that they should have a rematch because you said Pitbull won. You said Pitbull won. I named unnecessary rematches, and you said that you thought Pitbull won, and I don't know how you have Pitbull winning, but hey, I mean, to each his own, man. Hey, it is what it is, man. Like I said, everybody should have a rematch in close fights. I guess. It is what it is, bro. It has nothing to do with somebody being the best. Once again, you're being emotional, so it has nothing to do with Tank being the best. I think that Tank is the best. Absolutely, I think Tank is the best at 135. Yep, yes, sir. But that doesn't mean that because whether you think Shakur is the best or not, does that mean Shakur should have a rematch with De Los Santos. I wouldn't mind De Los Santos, but I wouldn't say that he needs to have it because De Los Santos lost or because he beat De Los Santos or anybody else that was a close fight. You know, I don't think I don't think every close fight justifies a rematch. You know, and I think that sometimes people see things because who they like and don't like. Somebody, yeah, bro, B-Dog, thank you, B-Dog. Somebody, yeah, I'm tripping because I apparently I like Tank because Tank is the best because he beat Pitbull and Pitbull lost, I guess, you know. And if you think Tank won, that you think that Tank is the best, that he shouldn't have to fight anybody, but then you're saying that he should have a rematch with the guy that you also say hasn't fought anybody. Doesn't make any sense, you know. I would, if the rematch is cool, you know, hey, but I would rather see him fight a Shakur. I would rather see him fight unifications. You know, it's so funny that we claim that this guy, some people don't have to fight anybody, but then we'll say that, oh, they need to fight somebody that they already beat to prove that they're good. But then the person that say that, oh, well, we don't want to see that fight again because we want to see him fight other challengers that are better, more proven fighters like a Shakur, like a Keyshawn, like a Murataya, like a Lomachenko, other champions that would prove something. You say, oh, it's because we're protecting Tank because we don't want him to fight anybody. How does that make sense? How is it more challenging to fight somebody you already beat than it is to fight other champions? But yeah, I guess it's because we think he's the best. I'm telling you, bro, people just be, hey, when they don't like somebody, you can tell. When you don't like somebody, you can tell, bro. It's easy. That's why when I said that, it hurt so much. You feel me? Taking the best yet because he ain't proved it yet. Let's see it before we claim it. He is one of the best. Oh no. According to he's the best. That's what Slime said. Slime said Tank is the best, and in order to prove that he's the best, further he can fight Pitbull again. Not Shakur. You don't need to prove. All he has to do is fight Pitbull again. That means he's the best, Kendrick. Yeah. Yep. So they don't have to fight each other. Shakur has to fight De Los Santos again. Teofimo has to fight Jermaine Ortiz again. Who else? Devin Haney should probably fight, I don't know, get Lomachenko out of retirement, fight him again. That'll prove that they're not fighting each other, but fighting guys that they didn't knock out. It means that they're the best. I mean, hey, to each his own, you know? We just have different ways that we think about it, you know? Maybe Devin Haney should go fight George Kambosos instead of fighting Brian Norman. That'll prove he's the best. Because he didn't knock him out. I guess, yeah. Okay, him and Shakur, hey, bro, I don't think Shakur and Tank's happening, unfortunately, though. I hope it happens. Well, let me rephrase that. No. I don't think it's happening. I hope it happens. I don't think it's happening because unless RIYADH season is involved, you know. But that's a good thing because Tank has said he's open, which we already knew, right? People are going to money talks, man. Money talks, and you know, PBC already has fighters on RIYADH. So if they fight, it would be on RIYADH. And I would love it, man. So I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen, but if someone was willing to bet me right now, I would bet that it's not gonna happen. I agree with you, Kendrick. I mean, Clone. He said all I know is Tank is ducking Nakatani at the end of the day. He might be, man. You know, he might be, man. I don't know. It might be ducking everybody. I don't know. I will say this though. I don't want to see no Tank and Jake Paul. I definitely don't want to see that. So, you know, I think he beats Schofield, but I'd rather see Schofield. And Schofield is the #1 guy, right? So that'd be good. That'd be all right, I guess. I know I've been saying that. That's why he will always be one of the best. One of the best. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but I don't hold unifications too high because some promotions hold belts hostage. So being unified may be impossible. So for me, as long as you face in comp, I'm okay with it not unifying. I agree with that sentiment. I mean, I disagree with that, but I understand that sentiment, you know, because you're right. There's a lot of politics in boxing, right? And sometimes it's harder to make unifications than others. Like we're seeing a unification that seems like it's unnecessarily difficult right now with Ja Pataya and Zerto Ramirez, right? And then we're getting a unification now with Bam Rodriguez and Fumile Cafu. I feel like that probably should have happened back when it was, you know, even before Fumile Cafu upset Kosei Tanaka. And I think we should probably have a unification between Puma Martinez and Bam Rodriguez a little while ago. But I like unifications, but I understand that sentiment. I understand people don't really care for the accolades and the belts and unifications. But to me, it's cool to feel like that, in my personal opinion, Clone. But we shouldn't disregard champions because we haven't heard of them. I feel like people who the belts do get watered down. Let me just say that, because you got Rolly Romero, who's a champion right now, because him versus Ryan Garcia was suddenly made a title fight for whatever reason, which I disagree with. But still, Rolly Romero won and he got a title. Now it's a regular title or interim title, whatever. I think it's regular. So I could understand it being watered down, but I still respect the champions because somebody has to win. And not only that, when you're undefeated, I feel like it's more. Like, for example, like a lot of people don't really give Boots the credit for beating Stanionis. Why? He's the undefeated Lithuanian champion. To me, that put him on the pound for pound list. Well, not definitively, but I have him on mine because, like, well, I have number 10, but he's a unified champion and a Ring Magazine champion. People won't like it because they don't know who Stanionis is. That's not Stanionis' fault. Doesn't mean he's not good. Same with William Skull. People didn't care for William Skull. Now that performance was terrible, but against Canelo, but people will say, oh yeah, William Skull's a nobody. Well, no, he's an IBF champion and he's undefeated while doing it. You got to give people their credit. And, you know, it's so funny that the same thing we said about Bivol when Canelo was fighting Bivol. Like, oh, who's Bivol? Bivol's nobody. And now we think that Bivol is one of the best fighters in the game. So sometimes these nobodies that are champions, they just need a big high profile fight to put them on the map. You know, so a lack of familiarity is not necessarily synonymous with not being good. So that's why I think that the champions get watered down a lot of times. And like I said, I'm not talking about the interim belts or the elevated belts or the regular belts that you win just off a popularity contest, but like if you fight Ryan Garcia. I'm talking about the guys that are like undefeated champions, like a Fumaleli Cafu, the South African champion that's fighting the undefeated American champion Bear Rodriguez. Put some respect on Fumaleli Cafu because he did beat a multi-division champion in Kosei Tanaka in order to grab that WBO belt at 115. You see what I'm saying? You may not know him, but that doesn't mean that he didn't get it off of merit. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's what we get to water down belts, is because we don't give people credit for achieving the belt. So it somehow, some way, and I like Bam Rodriguez, but somehow, some way, Bam Rodriguez will get more credit for beating older former champions than Jaron Boots Ennis will get for beating a current undefeated champion in his prime, and Stanionis. It just doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? It's like backwards thinking to me, you know? And it's just so funny because when I seen the Anthony Yarde fight announced, and I like Anthony Yarde, and I respect the hell out of Anthony Yarde. He's a beast. He only has 2 losses, right? 2 or 3 losses. He might have 3. I don't know. I know he has Beterbiev and Kovalev. He might have 3, though. I mean, he might have lost early in his career because, you know, he didn't really have an amateur background. He might have 3 losses. Yeah, he has 3 losses. Who was the other person he lost to? He lost a split. Yeah, Lyndon Arthur, but then he avenged that loss to Lyndon Arthur, right? So he lost to Lyndon Arthur, and he avenged that loss to Lyndon Arthur, beating him twice, right? So, but anyway, I just saw somebody tell me that Anthony Yarde lost to Sergey Kovalev, so there's no shame in that. And I agree, there's no shame in that. Sergey Kovalev is a beast, in my personal opinion. But then you would tell me that that's a good loss for Yarde, but then you tell me when Canelo beat Kovalev, Kovalev was washed up. Well, Kovalev was coming off of his victory over Yarde that you just told me was a good loss. You just told me Anthony Yarde losing to Kovalev wasn't a bad loss because he's a champion. But then when Kovalev fights Canelo in the very next fight and loses, oh, it's because Kovalev is washed up. But that's what I'm talking about. It's the inconsistencies of boxing fans. I was saying, but boxing fans are the worst, bro. They're the worst. Like, it's just a whole bunch of feelings and emotions, bro. It's like, bro, just call it for what it is, bro. There's no way Kovalev could be good against Anthony Yarde to where you could say, oh, Anthony Yarde is justified for losing to him. But then when Canelo beats Kovalev the very next fight, you tell me that Kovalev is washed. Which one is it? It just doesn't seem like it could be both. It's just like with Deontay Wilder, right? Deontay Wilder hasn't fought anybody until he fought Tyson Fury. Okay, cool. And then he goes on and loses to Joseph Parker. And all of a sudden, Joseph Parker is good because he beat Deontay Wilder. But then you also told me that Deontay Wilder is trash. So if Deontay Wilder is trash, how could he suddenly make Tyson Fury, by losing to Tyson Fury, that fight was to determine who's the best heavyweight in this current era. So the winner would be the best. So how could the loser be trash if he's elevated the winner to the best? I think Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight, not now because Usyk. I'm talking about at the time. I thought he was the best one. I thought that was to determine who's the best. And, you know, and Tyson Fury won. But then you tell me, okay, bet Tyson Fury is the best and Deontay Wilder's trash. Cool. Then he fights Joseph Parker, a guy who no one ever said was good in life. No one ever said Joseph Parker was good because he lost to Anthony Joshua, lost to Dylan White, and got knocked out by Joe Joyce. No one in life ever said Joseph Parker was good.
But then he beats Deontay Wilder, who's trash, and now he's elevated to good because Deontay Wilder loses to everybody that he fights that's good. But Joseph Parker became good after he beat a washed Deontay Wilder, who was also trash. So it's just funny that you could be so trash, but you can elevate so many people to be good while being trash. It's crazy to me. I don't understand boxing. If somebody beats somebody that's trash, how are they good? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying I think Joseph Parker is good, but I just don't think that Deontay Wilder's trash, and I don't think that Sergey Kovalev was washed. Was Sergey Kovalev the crusher when he lost to Canelo? Probably not. He wasn't at the top of his game, but he wasn't trash. He beat Anthony Yarde. And let me make sure I'm not tripping though, Chad. Let me make sure I'm not tripping. I believe that Kovalev fought Yarde and it was a good fight too. Don't get me wrong. That was a war. It was a good fight between Kovalev and Yarde. I'm not tripping. Yeah, Yarde. Kovalev beat, I forgot he beat Alvarez too. After he lost to him, he revenged that loss. I forgot about that. That was right before. I didn't forget about that, but I forgot that it was right before. And then he fought Anthony Yarde. And then, what's this? Later on that year, 3 months later, he fought Alvarez. That might have been very close. You know, he may not have fought him in such a short time span. He probably regrets that. But less than 3 months later, because he fought him at the end of August. And then he fought him at the beginning of November. So, yeah, and then he lost Alvarez. So, then maybe that time span was too short, you know, but I don't know, man. But yeah, so I just think it's funny how if you don't like a fighter, their win is diminished. But if you like a fighter, then it's elevated. It's like Kambosos, right? Kambosos was a great win for Lomachenko, but he was a bad loss for Teofimo and a mediocre win for Devin Haney. How is Kambosos years later after Teofimo? I don't even like Teofimo. I'm not defending him. I'm just being objective and being what it is. I've always said that I didn't think that Kambosos beating Teofimo was that bad. You know, he's a champion. Unless you don't respect champions, and I get it. Did I think Teofimo was going to beat Kambosos? Absolutely, I thought he was, and I was wrong. Upset, you know. But it can't be that bad of a loss. He can't be a bum. He lost to Kambozo, like people called him. But then, you know, years later, Lomachenko beats him, and it's a great win for Lomachenko because he stopped him in the 11th round. Well, he stopped trash, right? That's what y'all said. He stopped a bum. He stopped a clown. Why does it matter? He stopped a bozo. Oh, but Lomachenko, it's a good win. But then Devin Haney beats him twice, a younger, stronger, more ferocious Kambosos, and it's a mediocre win. But Lomachenko beats him years later, and it's a great win. Why? How can the same person be a terrible loss for Teofimo, a mediocre win for Devin Haney, but be a great win for Lomachenko? That's what I'll be talking about, bro. You see what I'm saying? It's just crazy. It's nonsensical, man. He said, so Parker got to catch a stray after you prove your point. Don't say nothing when you run. I'm just saying, bro. It's just, you know, and it's like, you know, you go back to Eastside Pitbull Cruz. Eastside Pitbull Cruz was a late replacement, and Gervonta Tate Davis' hand was hurt, right? But then, so that's an okay win, and people want to see a rematch. Okay, cool, whatever. I'm not even talking about that point, but that's an okay win, even though Eastside Pitbull Cruz went on and became a champion afterwards. But then Joseph Parker beating Bacoli in 1 day notice, it's a good win because he was the boogeyman. He had 1 day notice, 24 hours, well, 48 hours. He had 2 days notice. But then that's a good win for Joseph Parker, but then Shakur Stevenson beating Padley. Oh, he should have beat him because he's an electrician. But it was short notice too. And in fact, he had a longer notice than Martin Bacoli. He had 9 days notice. Bacoli only had 2 days. But it's a good win for Joseph Parker, but for Shakur Stevenson, he's supposed to do that. And he stopped him. It's just funny, you know what I'm saying? It's just funny. But then but then their panties get wet when Naya Inoue beats Yi Jun Kim, a guy who hasn't been heard of, who's unheard of, you know, unless you only know him for his losses. That was a late notice, it's 10 days notice, and he gets credit for beating Yi Jun Kim because that's what Naya Inoue does. He dominates his competition. It's just crazy, bro. The inconsistencies. Man, shout out to my guy Ty in the building. He said, Mr. Atrocious Kambosos. Nah, man, don't do my boy like that. Ferocious Kambosos. And we can say Kambosos was a weight drain because he moved up right after, just like how people make excuses for other fighters. Come on now. Come on now. I mean, yeah. I mean, he moved up to 140 afterwards when he fought Jake Wiley. Kendrick is right.
You know, it is what it is, man. You know, it's just crazy, bro. How the same fighter could be a good win or a bad, you know, it doesn't make any sense. One fighter could be a cherry pick for the same for one fight. A fighter could be a cherry pick for another fighter, but that same fighter could be a great win for somebody else. Or a tough fight. It doesn't make sense, you know. And I don't understand. He said I picked him over Hitchens. I'm not mad. Hey, don't be mad. I'm not mad at that, man. You know, I'm not mad at that. You was tripping. I'm not mad at that. Yep. So it's just crazy, man. But I mean, even Jose Pedraza, right? Let's go to Jose Pedraza. Jose Pedraza is like what, 0-4-1 in his last 5 fights, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody fact check me. Is he 0-5 or 0-4-1? He might be 0-5. Anyway, he's losing significantly and badly, right? He lost to Keyshawn Davis, which was a good win for Keyshawn Davis. That's what people said, right? Because Keyshawn Davis up and coming. I get it, cool. He lost to Ernesto Mercado back-to-back consecutively. A good win for Ernesto Tino Mercado. But I thought you said that Tank ain't fight nobody. But Pedraza was the first person that Tank lost to. I mean, Tank was the first person that Pedraza lost to. In fact, he was an undefeated champion. But Gervonta ain't fight nobody. But the same guy that was on a loser streak is a good win for other guys years later. And Keyshawn Davis and Ernesto Mercado. That's what I be talking about, bro. It's just be inconsistencies, man. Pedraza has a draw in there. Okay, so he might be 0-4-1 then. Yeah, he might be 0-4-1 then. Yeah, he might be 0-5 or 0-4-1. And shout out to Jose Pedraza. I still think Jose Pedraza is a good fighter. You know, but you know, shout out to Pedraza, man. It's just I think that he should retire. I think Deontay Wilder should retire. I think those guys are in a similar boat, you know, like they were good, but now they're just on a significant decline, you know. But you can't tell me that Jose Pedraza is a good win for Ernesto Mercado and Keyshawn Davis and Arnold Barboza, but then tell me that Gervonta ain't fight nobody. He was the first person to beat him. In fact, he beat him before Lomachenko. You know, yeah, he is 0-4-1. Yep, here it is right here. So these are all consecutive. He lost to Jose Carlos Ramirez, had a draw with Richard Kami, lost to Arnold Barboza, lost to Keyshawn, lost to Ernesto Mercado. But these are good wins for these 3 guys. Pedraza is a good win for Barboza. He's a good win for Keyshawn. He's a good win for Ernesto Mercado. But the same undefeated Pedraza is not a good win for Tank. But he's a good win for Lomachenko, though. Right? So he's not a good win for this guy, the first person to beat him. But he's a good win for Vasily Lomachenko, who beat him after. And he's a good win for Keyshawn and Tito and Barboza, but he's not a good win for Tank. Because Tank ain't fight nobody. Just saying, bro. It's inconsistent, man. Thought he was 0-5-1, even if we put extras on, he ain't seen a win in years. No, but I'm not saying that on Sniper, because I think Sniper is good. You know, he's a sniper with no bullets. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm just saying that I think that he's I'm not gonna say I think a great is a little bit too far, but he's a very good fighter. And you know, same with Deontay Wilder. Same with Roy Jones. I'm not saying that they're on the same level. I'm not saying they're the same caliber of fighters. I'm just saying that they have a similarity. The comparison that I'm making is that, forget the contrast of their skill levels. The comparison that I'm making is that, or the correlation that I'm making is the fact that they are fighters that are just fighting too long. I think Pacquiao's in that bunch. Roy Jones, James Lights Out Tony, Jose Pedraza, Vladimir Klitschko if he tries to come back, Deontay Wilder. You know, I think these guys are just fighting past their, even Oscar De La Hoya when he fought Manny Pacquiao. You know, that wasn't the same Oscar De La Hoya that Floyd Mayweather fought, or Felix Trinidad fought, or Mayorga fought. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same guy. So, you know, sometimes fighters fight. A lot of times fighters fight way past not just their prime, but when they're actually formidable, serviceable, and can put up a good competition. Did Loma win a belt off Pedraza? Because I can't remember. I don't remember either. That's a good question. Let's look. I think he did, but I don't remember either. Let's look it up. I think it was for a belt. Yeah, Tank definitely did. For sure, that was his first belt, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he won the WBO light world title. Yep. He won the light title, 135 title. He said, so he like you and He said trash win for Tito in my book. I'm not gonna say it's trash. I'm not. But okay, look. But I don't think it's okay. I think it's trash. Yeah, it's not a win that you brag about, but it's a win that's a recognizable name. So I get it. It's just like with Joseph Parker and Deontay Wilder. But I'm the correlation that I'm making is like I'm saying that. Shout out to you, Kendrick. You said that's not a good win for Tito Mercado. I agree. But then why is Joseph Parker, Deontay? Why is that a good win for Joseph Parker over Deontay Wilder? You see what I'm saying? Like they're in the same boat, you know. But it's funny because let's say, and I'm not even trying to be funny. Like Shakur and Tank, that's too easy. Well, number one, Tank already beat Pedraza, but in Shakur, that's too easy. Obviously, that's not going to be a good win. But if Murataya fights Pedraza, oh, it's cool. Let Shakur fight Pedraza. Let's see what people are going to say. Like I said, Tank is not a good example because Tank already beat him. But let Lomachenko, well, Lomachenko already beat him too. Murataya fight Pedraza. It's a good win. If the winner of Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes fight Pedraza, it's probably be a decent win. A good win for some people. And I just don't think like if a guy's a good win for one person, then it can't be a bad fight. Like it could be acceptable, it could be okay, but it can't be a bad win. You know what I'm saying? If it's a good win for somebody else. That's the point I'm making. That's all I'm saying. How can you tell me one person's a good win for one person, but then another person, let me open up these blinds. Tell me one person's a good win for one person, but then it's a cherry pick for another. That's the point I'm making. My guy Oster in the building. What's good, brethren? Big member in the building. He said, all right, I'll give Lobo credit. Yeah, I mean, that was only a second. I give Lobo credit because that was a second loss. Give me a second. Let me run this. Hold on, blow my nose real quick. Don't forget to become a member, man. I appreciate it. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I just think people are crazy, man. You know, it's just the inconsistencies, you know, like I don't know. Like I said, you got to give people like, and that's why I think people question the belts because it's like, you know, and I do put value in that. I put value in fighters that be the guy that goes on and become a champion. You know what I'm saying? I think that shows that the fighter was still good. It wasn't that they were just shot, you know. So, shit, Parker gets credit for Wilder just for resume's sake by being the third person to get a win off him. Yeah, exactly. I'm not mad at Parker getting credit, but what I'm saying is that, like I said, Zane gets credit too. Bro, you still in there fighting. Zane gets credit, Parker gets credit, and everybody who beats Wilder afterwards gets credit. But what I'm saying is that how can a guy that's trash elevate so many other people to greatness themselves? That's the part that I don't understand. But anyway, man, it is what it is, man. The lines are open, man. Anybody want to call in? Not too long though. But the lines have been open, and you know, you can always call in on the show. Anybody, man. Anybody can call in. Get your thoughts off. He said, somebody at 140 needs to give Wu Albright a shot. Bro, Wu Albright just fought. Yo, shout out to Nahir Albright, bro. He just fought on the Team Combat League. I don't know if y'all peeped it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw the highlights. I ain't gonna lie. I don't really watch Team Combat League like that. I probably should watch more because that boy Abel Mendoza got folded up on the Team Combat League. It doesn't count towards your record, though. It's something else, you know. It's kind of like amateurs. When I say it's like amateurs, it's like in the sense that it doesn't count towards your professional record, is what I'm saying. And I like that. It shouldn't, in my opinion. But if it did, it was cool too, whatever. But I think it shouldn't. But yeah, Nahir Albright just fought on behalf of what's the Philly team called? Ty? I know Ty probably. Philly Smoke or something like that. He just won on behalf of the Philly Smoke, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't really pay attention to Team Combat League that much. I should though. I need to pay more attention to it. But yeah, Nahir Albright, he just fought. He just fought on the gosh dang. I think it was like earlier this week. What's today? Thursday? It was probably like, yeah, it was earlier this week or this past weekend. Yeah, man. Like Tio says, Tio, shout out to Tio. My uncle says it's because the bitch always got something to say, always bitching, demoted, and complaining. Come on now, facts. It's a fact, bro. Like, I don't know. You know, the other day we were talking about Shakur Stevenson and De Los Santos rematching. And the Patrick Bamundele was saying that. I'm for one, and Ty was like against it, right? I'm against it because I don't want to see that fight again. But I don't think, like, sometimes, and this is my personal opinion, it wasn't like, to me it was a terrible fight, but Shakur won. I wouldn't want to revisit that again, and I don't think that's anything to hold over Shakur's head, even though some people would. But it's like, bro, I don't think you have to fight. Let's say it was a hard fight, it was a close fight. You have to rematch him? Even if it was a hard, close fight. To me, if there's a winner and it's not clear that, especially if the winner is a champion, and it's not clear that they lost, does that justify a rematch? So you have to rematch every hard fight or any questionable fight? I don't think so. I think that rematches need to be justified, in my personal opinion. So if it was a very close fight, okay, have a rematch, justified. If it's a very close fight, rematch. If somebody was robbed, clearly, rematch. If it's a big money fight, rematch. But if it's just because you don't really care for the winner, that's not, I don't see it. That's not justification enough, man. Because like I said, people don't want to see Beterbiev and Bivol fight for a trilogy, and they're literally 1-1. They're literally 1-1, man. So shout out, I'm opening up the calls now. If anybody wants to call in, it is open. Shout out to my guy Kendrick, said he's pulling up. Let's get it. Yeah. Shout out to my guy Kendrick, man. Once again, man, consider becoming a member. Members get more time on the calls. You feel me? Before I put that bell on. I ain't gonna lie. I love when people be talking over the top because I love putting that sound on. I ain't gonna lie. That just be funny to me, man. I be having to entertain myself. De Los Santos earn a manager position via the WBC, then I say let them fight. Exactly. You gotta earn it. Thank you. Earn it. Earn it. Earn it is not losing the fight, bro. I'm sorry. That's not earning a rematch. You gotta earn it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, unification, or you're a champion in another division, or you become a champion somewhere else. Like Super Batista, people say, oh yeah, Super Batista. It's not even a rematch. This is a little different, but people say, oh yeah, Richard Sanchez has to fight Super Batista. Why? He lost to Liam Paro, and he beat the guy that beat him. Why does he have to fight? I would love for that fight to happen, but he doesn't have to. Yo, shout out to my guy Oscar Perez dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. Mi hermano in the building, man. Always showing me love, man. Hello, yellow on a fellow. Yes, sir, with the graffiti on the chat walls. He said, yes, sir, ski. Let's hit this goal, chat. Man, we far from the goal, but I appreciate you contributing. Shout out to you and Clone for showing love, man. Extra love. Shout out to all the members as well. Shout out to all the members that also renewal. I can't speak. Shout out to all the members that also renew their membership, and those that do it off the show, man. And I don't get to give them their alert. Shout out to you. He said, smack that like button like Charles did plant. Facts. Smack the like button like Charlo smack plant. Appreciate that, bro. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you, Oscar. You know what I'm saying? Let me pull up my guy Kendrick real quick. Yes, sir. Kendrick in the building. What's good, brethren?
What's going on, y'all?
Man, chilling, man. How are you?
I'm chilling, bro. I'm chilling.
Talk to me, bro.
I'm hearing a lot of craziness this morning, but
what you heard, bro? Speak on it, man. Ain't no but. Talk about it, man. Talk about it. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think that Pitbull won that fight, but yeah, it was no really. I mean, I never was in the camp of he should rematch Pitbull.
Okay.
So he could if he wanted to, because you know what I mean, to save face, I guess, as if you want to be seen as the knockout king and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Given your hair was hurt, you want to have a better performance, something like that. But that's the same thing with Shakur, right? I mean, he could if he wanted to. or if it made sense. But
If it made sense.
to me, I don't think neither one of those fights really made sense.
Me either.
I think the Pitbull fight makes a little bit more sense now that what he did afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in the moment, it didn't really make sense. Nobody was calling for a rematch.
Bro, they fought on a
let's
Sunday.
be real
Bro.
about it.
They fought on a Sunday. Bro. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Like, and I'm not saying
Wasn't that shit like after Christmas or some shit?
Come
like,
on, dog. I don't even remember, bro. Shout out to you, because, like I said, everybody has their opinion and their perspective. Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna look it up right now. Actually, I don't remember the date. So this was. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody got their perspectives, and if you think that it was justifiable, but to me, like, I think you said it right there on the head. It's like, and now when Pitbull beat Rolly and he was a champion, boom, rematch makes sense now. You see what I'm saying? Because you could go up there and fight him for a belt at 140. But it's like, I don't think that, how can you say or insinuate that somebody is protecting Tank or Shakur from rematches against guys that they already beat? And then if they beat them again, we'll say, oh yeah, he just wasted his time because he's not fighting any competition. Because we also want them to want to see them against other guys that are proven, and they already proved that De Los Santos or Pitbull or whoever's not on their level. You know what I'm saying? Now if De Los Santos becomes a champion or he becomes a mandatory, boom, have the rematch. If Pitbull becomes a mandatory, he becomes a champion in another division or in another sanctioned body, boom, have the rematch. But just a close fight, and it's not like, okay, it's a close fight and it's two big names. You see what I'm saying? It's like, bro, like what part is, I mean, I don't know. And then now if he fights Pitbull, okay, he just got smoked by Jose Rayo Valenzuela. And I know it says split decision, but was it really a split decision? I mean, that's what it says. I mean, I didn't think it was that close, and I was going for Pitbull. You know, 'cause I like Pitbull. So I don't want to get it twisted. I don't not want to see Pitbull and Gervonta fight because I think Gervonta's gonna lose. No, I just think that there's better opposition out there. If I thought that Gervonta was gonna lose, I'm trying to protect him. Why would I want him to fight the Roach rematch? like I was telling people, like, you know, that I want to see the Roach rematch, and I think that if Gervonta doesn't fight him, then I think that's weak. I think that's weak if he did, because the only reason for him not to fight Roach is because he's worried about losing, and that's not a good enough reason. You know what I'm saying? Either fight Roach again, or fight Shakur, or fight somebody that, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but they fought in December. Yep, you're right. Yep, your memory is right. December. Yep.
Okay.
You're right.
So the thing with that is too, I don't like if De Los Santos becomes a champion at 135 right now. Yes, I'll call for the Shakur rematch.
Facts, because
that makes sense, and there's some value in that.
Come on now,
and that's easy work in my opinion. But
of course, I think so too.
To me, that's an easy unification. So, but the thing with Tank is, I think where people have their misguided, I guess you could say, hate or disdain towards Tank is the attitude of, I don't have to fight these people if I don't want to. I think instead of like fighting them because he knows that they are his top competition, right? For example, with Shakur.
I agree.
It's not that he's scared of Shakur. It's that he's like, man, I don't want to fight him. I don't gotta fight him.
Right, and I don't like that either.
That's what's holding that up, to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And based off of what he's saying and his camp is saying.
Yep.
So I think that's where, if anybody should, like, you know what I mean, critique him, that's where the critique lies. I still don't believe in this Roach fight. I won't believe it until they actually announce something.
Oh, as far as I agree with you on that. Yeah, as far as
motherfucking July. I've been saying this shit since May.
Yeah. It's not gonna happen. Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced at all.
I think it's gonna happen.
I mean,
I'm not mad at that.
We got less than we about to have a month in what, 14 days.
Yep.
Before the fight.
Yep.
And no announcement?
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Doc. Is this normal?
No, hell no. Normal for Tank. You know, well, it's becoming normal for Tank, I should say. I wouldn't say normal. It's becoming normal for Tank. Becoming a pattern, man. But yeah, no, this is not normal, bro. Not a month and a half out.
Because even the last Roach fight, it got announced, it got fake canceled.
Right, and that's what I was saying. It's becoming a pattern. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was referencing. Yeah.
But then it got re-announced it back in January, right?
Yeah, yeah. Wait, when did they fight though? When did they fight?
March.
It was March. Okay. Yeah, I want to say it got announced in January because that was who fought on the undercard? Was that when was that the Vosdick? No. Yeah, Benavidez and Vosdick fought, right? On the undercard of. No, that was a Frank. No, I'm tripping. That was Tank and Frank. That was Tank and Frank. Yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm tripping.
Yeah, because Benavidez had just fought in early February against Morel.
Morel, yep, exactly. I'm tripping.
They had some good fights on that undercard. I think that was that Antoine Russell's win for the championship?
I guess Rayo. I guess Rayo. I think so.
Yeah.
I think
that might have been that fight.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the problem that I'm having right now with Tank. It's like, bro, come on. Like, either you in this or you not. Like, which one is it?
I agree, man. And I will say,
and then what's gonna piss me off?
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's gonna piss me off is that, God forbid he does lose to Roach. What's gonna be the consensus point of view? He wasn't focused anymore.
Oh no,
he just didn't have the passion anymore.
Right, I agree.
That's what they're gonna say, bro.
That's what they're gonna say. I'm not gonna say that. I agree. I'm not going with that. I do give him that excuse. Well, no, I don't really even say the passion. Once you're in there, you're in there. I mostly say that it was. I think that he has more that he could do for the rematch than Roach. You know, and as far as I credit that towards a dysfunction in his camp, you know, that's different. But nah, if you say passion, I can't go with that passion. You in it. But that's why I say that I think he should retire though, because if you're not passionate about it, and these other guys are like a Shakur, like a Roach, like your contemporaries, then you're gonna be in trouble. You're not gonna beat Shakur one foot out, 1 foot in. But if he does fight him with 1 foot out, 1 foot in, I'm not gonna give him that excuse. No, he lost to the better person. It is what it is, you know. So that's why you gotta perform. But I will say this too, you know, for the Tank's part, and as far as Shakur, I agree with what you said about them holding it up, like you said, your opinion and my opinion as well, that to me that's what it looks like too. But it's just Eddie Hearn is there. I don't know, because let's be fair too, you know, whether you believe him or not, that's different. But Kenny Ellis, Coach Kenny Ellis, and on his podcast they claim that they sent Shakur an offer about but it was a 1-fight deal or something like that. Then there was another offer that was like 8 million flat, or however much it was. I can't remember the exact numbers. You know, that goes in one ear, out the other. But I just remember that they said that they sent them something, and then, you know, remember Shakur and Kenny Ellis had that back and forth or whatever. Whether it's legit or not, I'm not blaming Shakur, but I don't know if it's just Tank, is what I'm saying. So I don't know. We'll see. But I definitely don't think that he's. I definitely will say I think that he would fight them. I'm not sure that he is. And of course, who is Canelo pursuing? You know, these are big guys, so they're not really pursuing anything. But I definitely don't think that he's pursuing anybody as far as like Shakur or Keyshawn, somebody like that. You know, or Muratai or whoever else is a guy. You know, I think the only person he was pursuing as far as unification goes was Lomachenko. I don't know if he was pursuing the other guy, so I do agree with that part. I can't say that. I definitely feel like Shakur is pursuing him. Say it again. I'm
calling cap on Kenny Ellis because he was just in the interview 3 months ago talking about, Shakur, nah, he ain't nothing. He ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing that makes us want him. Stuff like that.
No, this is recent. This is before 3 months ago. This is last year when he was talking about the Kenny Ellis and the 1-fight deal. This is around the time. This is old. I'm referencing something old. I'm talking about before. This is around the time when he either just signed with Eddie or was about to sign with Eddie or something like that. It was back then. I
was gonna mention that time too, because at that time, Shakur and Tank both said that they spoke on the phone and they just said they was gonna fight eventually.
Right. Yep. And that's the time when Shakur was saying that, it's gonna happen eventually. You know, he got to handle his business and all that stuff. It was a little bit more. I guess he felt on his side that it was a little more believable that was gonna happen. I guess his faith has been dwindling now because he's becoming more.
He thought so.
Yeah. So I want that fight to happen, man. I think it has to happen, but I'm with you though. I think you said that you don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah, I'm with you, but I do. I think that I think there's a chance because the RIYADH, you know, Turkey. But at the same time, I made a video about it, man. Like, yeah, Gervonta might have said that he's worked with Turkey, but that doesn't make it definitive that he will go. That Turkey will pursue the Shakur fight. I mean, look at Canelo. It was not Canelo and Benavidez. Right, and look at Terrence Crawford. It's not Terrence Crawford in boots. And then look who else. Even Tyson Fury. He's talking about Tyson Fury and USYK, not Tyson Fury and AJ. So, Turk does give us a lot of fights that we want, but you still negotiate with Turk, and he seems like he's giving the fighters what they want, you know, and that, which is good too. I'm not mad at that. I think that's dope. But at the same time, I don't want people to think that, oh, because he's going with Turk is automatically going to be the fight that we want. That's not. Yeah, that's
because it could end up being freaking Tank versus Tio.
Tank versus Tio, Tank versus Inoue, Tank versus Keyshawn, Tank versus, you know what I'm saying? It could be Tank versus Devin. Hell, it could be, there's so many. You know what I'm saying? That's not Shakur. And I'd be happy with it, don't get me wrong, but the one I want to see the most is Shakur.
Exactly.
Yeah, that shit could be, but hell yeah, man. Yeah, man, I thought you made good points, bro. Yeah, I thank you for thank you for vocalizing your opinion too. You know, I want to hear it, man, because sometimes I'd be like, maybe I'm tripping, you know. Maybe I'm tripping. And I think that's nonsense, you know. I know we ain't always gonna agree, but gosh dang, bro, we gotta give some people some credit now, man. Gosh dang.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And by the way, I think the Parker win against Wilder was way better than friggin' Moratala versus what's his name versus Draza, because Wilder at least was coming off a win.
I agree with that. You talking about Mercado versus Pedraza?
Mercado.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was just making a general correlation, but you're right. Deontay Wilder was at least coming off of a win. No, was he?
Yeah, he beat
Helenius. Yeah, Helenius. You're right.
Damn, they killed the man.
Yeah,
so I don't want to hear that shit.
You're right. You're right. That's true. You're right about that. Robert Helenius.
Shit, that's something like that.
But shoot, I appreciate you, bro. I think I got somebody else in the back. Yeah, appreciate you, bro. Shout out to my guy Kendrick, man. Hey, shout out to Ty Morissette, man, dropping some hello yellow on the fellow with the graffiti on the chat walls. I appreciate it, bro. Dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. He said, homie was sounding like DJ Yapidemics claiming Edwin deserved to run it back. Then I asked him about USYK, and I wasn't going. I had to crash out. Everybody be crashing. Yeah, right. But hey, but like I said, shout out to Slime. This is no hate on Slime. Slime said he thinks that Pitbull and Tank should run it back. You know what I'm saying? I wish you was here the other day when y'all were talking, when Patrick was talking about that and you were talking about it, Ty, in the Discord, you know. He said that he thought Pitbull won, or it was a draw. Or no, he said he thought it was one. He won, but he thought it was at best in Tank's favor a draw. I don't understand how you see that at all. And you know me, I'm like, okay, this fight could go either way. Beterbiev Bivol could have went either way. You know, I had Bivol winning, could went either way. Lomachenko Haney could have went either way. I think that I'm pretty not pretty. I am very objective. We already know that. That's why so many people rock with me. You don't really see it's a congregation, a Tank of Tank fans or Canelo fans or whoever else did you say I like, Junto fans. Everybody being here, you know, Shakur fans, guys that like Davey Benavidez, Canelo, because I know I'm very objective. That's nothing I have questioned, you know. But you know, maybe I could miss something, you know. But I don't think I missed anything. In that's a fight that I watched multiple times, you know. And that doesn't mean that everybody can't have a different opinion, but to say that, yeah, that was a clear winner. There was nothing close about that, in my personal opinion. It was an entertaining fight, and it was close from the notion that it was back and forth, but not close like we don't know who won. Shout out to Patrick Bandero in the building. Big member in the building. Shout out to my guy Oscar Perez dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. Yes, sir. We're going to hit some of these super chats, man. I appreciate y'all showing me love. Oscar with the $5 said De Los Santos or Pitbull could be used as Christmas Halloween special filler. Yeah. Like, come on, bro. I don't know. I don't want to see that again. And it has nothing to do with protection. It's just that fight wasn't that good. It wasn't good enough to justify, you know, competitive enough to see it again. Like, if it makes sense, like mandatories, champions, okay, unifications, whatever. Shout out to my guy Clone dropping that hello yellow on a fellow coming through, man. Hey, my boy showing some love. Look at Clone with the yellow again. Hey. That's me ducking the Clone hate. I know he about to hate, bro. That's me ducking the Clone hate like Berlanga. You know what I'm saying? That's me ducking Clone's hate. He's just throwing hate, and I'm ducking it. Hey. I'm ducking it like Berlanga, man. He said at some point, Doc, you have to admit you hate Puerto Ricans. Whoa, what? He said at some point, Doc, you have to admit you hate Puerto Ricans and Canadians. I hate Puerto Ricans and Canadians.
What?
He said Mansa, Serrano, and Parker ain't do nothing to you. You see, I knew he was gonna come with some hateful stuff, bro. Shout out to my guy Chloe, man, dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. Hey, bro, don't you put that out there, man. I love me a Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? I love my Boricuas. You know what I'm saying? Especially the mommies, you know what I'm talking about? But you sleep, bro. Oh, Amanda Serrano's Puerto Rican. Yeah. I like Edgar Belanga. You see how God works, clone? You just said I don't like Puerto Ricans. And I just played a clip of Edgar Belanga, who's also Puerto Rican. You see? Look at God. I like Xander Zayas. You know what I'm saying? But there's nobody that I like, whether you're black, brown, or white, you know, male or female. I'm not just gonna like you just because of that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta like you. And I don't know who's a Canadian I don't like. I'm trying to think. Who's a Canadian? Joseph Parker's not even Canadian. Joseph Parker's from New Zealand or something. Who's a Canadian, bro? Who's this Canadian that you're making this obviously erroneous assessment with? Who's a Canadian, bro? If anything, I like Beterbiev. Beterbiev not Canadian, but he fights out of Canada. Who's my guy? The Haitian-born Canadian. Adonis Superman Stevenson. Come on, bro. You hating, bro. And you lying and snitching is crazy.
All right, I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
Patrick Badero says, yeah, USYK trilogy real? Yes, bro. It's unfortunately, bro. Yes, it's real, bro. He said takes a little bit. He holding belts, hiding like a hoe. Man, it's enough to uptake shit, man, for real. Tank don't care about his gang. It's a dumb Tank. Is a made up champ. And I like the little dude, man. And this man said he called him a bitch. He said he's a hoe. He said he's hiding. He said he's a fake champ. And then he says, I like the little dude. You sure? He said he called him a bitch, a hoe, said he's hiding, he's a fake champ, and then he says, but I like the little dude.
Bullshit!
Huh? How does that don't sound like you like him, bro?
What?
That definitely doesn't sound. I might be confused and mistaken, but that don't sound like you like him. Now they're gonna say he was a hype job. Facts, B-Dog. Facts. Yo, this man said all types of negative stuff. They said, I like him. That's crazy. Shout out to my guy, Oster, man. Oster's funny as hell. That's my brother, man. He said, yo, shout out to my guy, Ty, man, dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. He said, Tank announces his fights like Beyonce does her album tour dates, bro. Y'all gotta chill out, man. My boy be out there like Beyonce now, you know. Saying that look good. Hey, yo. Come on, bro. You see? He said Tank announces his fights. Tank announces his fights like Beyonce's tour and album dates. They don't say shit last minute and they're just still gonna put up for a 10. They gonna pop out on the last second notice, man. That's what it is, bro. The man say, hey, man, I could drop it on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I could drop it on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I could drop it on your birthday.
Yeah.
On your worst day.
Yeah.
It don't matter. You still gonna be there. Believe that.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's how they feel. You know, I don't like it though, because I don't, you know, people want to plan and stuff like that. But at the same time, if you're not going to fights, why does it matter? If you don't go to the fights, I don't need to hear people complaining, bro. Some people, now the people that go to the fights and you want to plan, get your hotels, I understand the complaints. Like my guy Ty, he goes to the fights. If you don't go to the fights, you're kind of falling on deaf ears there. But yeah, definitely it does. You wish you would plan it sooner because, hey man, even if you don't go to the fights, you might want to plan a fight party. So you know, I just love, you know, I get accused of being a Tank fan. I get accused of being a Shakur fan. I get accused of being a Devin Haney fan, Anthony Joshua fan, Deontay Wilder fan, Japatai fan, Zerto fan, Canelo fan, Ryan fan. I get accused of being all types of fans, a fan of everybody, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a fan of the sport, you know? I'm just a fan of the sport, bro. And that's what it is, you know? And I might be wrong about some things, but I'm usually not wrong about calling it down the middle, bro. You feel me? Yeah, it's crazy, you know. It's so funny. Some people I've been called Of course, this is part of it. That's part of it. You know, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's just stuff that makes me chuckle. You know, people will say I hate on I hate on what's his name? People tell me if I don't I'm racist. I've been told I was racist against Canelo. And I got Canelo beating Terrence Bud Crawford. That's literally one of my favorite fighters. You know, I've been told. I wonder what was I racist? You know, and I got Canelo beating Terrence Bud Crawford. But even if I didn't, though, was I racist when I picked Liam Paro to beat Super Matias? It's because I don't like my Hispanic brothers and sisters. Was I racist when I picked Callum Smith to beat Joshua Buatsi? Is it because I don't like my Ghanaian brothers and sisters? Because a Ghanaian Englishman, because I believe Joshua Buatsi is from Ghana and England, right? Ghana by way of England. You know, was I racist when I picked Zhang to beat Deontay Wilder? Oh, but if I picked Devin Haney to beat Jose Carlos Ramirez, I'm racist. But I wasn't racist when I picked Ryan Garcia to beat Devin Haney. But I'm racist when I pick Gervonta Tank Davis to beat whoever he fights. Whoever he's fighting. I don't know. It's crazy, bro. Oh, man, people are funny. It's just funny, man. Shout out to my guy. I got my guy Oscar in the back, man. I'm about to pull up my guy Oscar. When my brother Oster was preaching about Tank, I didn't hear you put that yep after every point. Because he wasn't preaching. Because man, he was confused. My boy Oster was confusing himself. He called him. That's what he said about Tank. He said Tank be hiding. So let's play all the alerts for Oster real quick before I bring up my brother Oscar. He said Tank be hiding. He said Tank is scared of competition. He's a bitch.
Nigga, you's a bitch.
And he said that Tank be operating like a dummy.
You dumbass.
So basically, he said he's a B word. He's a dummy. He be ducking. All that together, he a stupid hoe. There you go. That's it right there for Oster. Those are Oster's animations right there, Oscar. I mean Ty. So he don't get the yup. He gets all those because he called him a dummy. He called him a duck, and he called him a hoe. Those are the animations I should have played for Oster's. My bad. You right. Those are the animations I should have played for Oster, not the yup. I should have played those. Shout out to my guy Pat Bendero. He said, "Nah, Doctor, you objective. I appreciate you for that." Shout out to you, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. That's why I have no problem telling people, "Hey, man, my favorite fighters are Cinnamon, Tank, and Junto." Because I know I'm not biased to them. I'm not partial to them. I'm very impartial. So I expect a lot of the fighters I like. You know, in fact, I didn't even be honest with you, truth be told, and those of you that been rocking, you know it. I will tell you from the jump. I didn't like Canelo immediately. He earned my respect from his fights. Same with Gervonta Tank Davis. I was going for Leo Santa Cruz against Tank. Facts. Because I like Leo Santa Cruz more, but I don't like guys that come out as hype jobs. You know, no disrespect to Gervonta Tank Davis. He proved that he wasn't, and that's why I like him. Because he proved he wasn't a hype job. Same, even go to another genre sport. I wasn't a big LeBron fan, but LeBron proved that he wasn't a hype job. Canelo proved he wasn't a hype job. I don't really like the guys or the girls that come out and it's like, oh yeah, these girls. I feel like you're trying to force feed me something. And you know who I like? I like Emiliano Vargas, but he's starting to feel that way too. It's starting to feel like they're trying to force feed me Emiliano Vargas, and that makes me back up a little bit. You see what I'm saying? Same with Lomachenko. I like Lomachenko. I still like Lomachenko. I like him, but the way the media handles him and portrays him, I can't rock with Lomachenko because they act like he's the best thing since sliced bread, and it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? He's 18-3. That means he loses a fight every 7 fights. Any other fighter does that, then they're trash. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of fighters out there that lost one time and they're trash. You know, so as far as being a great fighter, yeah, Lomachenko is a good fighter. You know, the Matrix. You know, but it is what it is. Shout out to my guy Oscar in the building, man. What's good, Brandon?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My guy in the building, man. I got to put on the timer because we got some people in the back, you know what I'm saying? But no rush, don't take your time. You already know you get the extra, you know what I'm saying? You get the extra time. Man. You remember, hey, you my brother, man. Shout out to you. Talk to me, bro. What's good? Yeah, call in, Osa.
I only got a bit of time.
No. Do your thing, man. Bless us with your presence, man.
You calling Shakur an atheist was disrespectful, man.
Wait, what I call Shakur? What I call him?
An atheist.
When did I call him that?
Because you said he was a believer for the Tank fight, and then he stopped believing.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Hey, shout out to y'all, man.
What?
Therefore, he lost his faith.
He lost his faith. Okay. I see what you did there. Okay. That's crazy. Bars. Yeah, facts. Bars. I know I be talking fast. So you really had me thinking. I'm like, what? Go ahead, bro. Talk to me, man. My guy Oscar, man. Shout out to my guy Oscar.
Fuck
Thank you for
you.
the love.
Like I said, Del Santos, Pitbull. Nah, it's all good, bro. You know, appreciate you. I think you already know. You already know what it is.
Yes, sir.
Also, spoiler: don't get drunk outside of a church because people think that's wrong.
You was
I'm
drunk.
I'm hungover.
You was drunk at the church.
Okay. Outside of the church, in the parking lot.
Okay, you wasn't still in the communion. You wasn't getting extra sips. I don't. Okay, so you just I got you. Yeah, people. Shout out to Oscar, man. God bless you, bro. God bless your fella. Yeah, people. I don't know, man. You know that's. Well, are you gonna tell the story?
Well, no, it was like a funeral thing for like my grandma, you know. So my
exactly.
But I waited for everybody to leave, except for a little bit of family. But you know that family is really, 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 really religious. So it makes them kind of crazy. And it's like, you know, too much of everything is not this, because you know they always talk about a balance, but they don't think an extremist
right
part of a balance.
Oh yeah.
But
I know I got some of them. Yeah, I know some of them in my family.
Yeah, you know, and they're Christian. It's not like we're Catholics. We're CC, Cartel of Christ, New Generation. But it's like so I was drinking and I got fucked up. I ain't gonna lie. I got fucked up. I was thinking about leaving church like at 2:12 at night. I left like at 3 because I knew that shit would go down.
Oh man! Hey, shout out to you for being at least you were sober enough or wise enough, I should say, to know not to push the whip. Shout out to you.
Well, you know, you might think that after this. So I went inside the church. I had to go pee, and my aunt was passing by. She was like, "You smell like cologne. Did you put cologne on?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Were you drinking?" I was like, "Yeah." Outside of the church, in the house of God.
Yeah.
I was like, in my head, I was just like, "Shut up, bitch." I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
I'm about to say, come on, man. Not to Sutia, man. Not me, Tia, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I wasn't kind of being that mean.
Right.
My uncle's another story. But like my aunt, I was like, So instead of saying that, I just kept walking in front of her. She was ignoring her and she was yelling. And everybody was asleep at the church. I was like, damn.
Oh man, this man here is crazy. Shout out to Oscar.
Now my uncle, you know, he's like I think everybody knows at least one guy like this. They're like every Sunday they're like, yeah, God, woo, Jesus, woo. But then as soon as they leave, it like, man, this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
Where the bitch is at?
Yeah.
And we all know people like that. Yep. On Sunday, bro, it's one person. On Monday, Tuesday, Monday through Saturday, though, oh man, they different. Yes,
well, he was cussing at the church, and I was like, bro, shut up, bro. You cussing at the inside the church. And he was like, stop making a big scene. People don't know it was me. Like, motherfucker, your voice is the loudest motherfucker. You're the loudest motherfucker. What the hell do you mean? And people were looking at him weird. He was like, shut up. Don't bring it up no more. I'm like, you motherfucker.
That's funny.
Man,
That's funny, man.
No, I was going to say,
yeah,
Pitbull de los Santos, Christmas/Halloween special filler.
Yeah, bro. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know, but
Tyson Fury against USYK, basura. AJ versus USYK, basura. Daniel, after he beats him again, versus USYK, basura. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor 3. Shit. That's great shit. We didn't even want that shit no more. There's more women fighting. There's better women fighting right now than men.
Facts. And not even if they're not better, let's mix it up, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's see, bro. Stop gatekeeping. Like, come on, dog.
You don't think Sky Nicholson right now is better than Katie Taylor?
I don't know. Man.
I mean, not better than Katie Taylor performance, but like, you know, it'll be a
better fight. Yes. I'll be intrigued. Yes, I'd rather see Amanda Serrano and Sky Nicholson. Yes, even with Sky Nicholson losing to Tierra Brown, I'd still rather see that than the Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano trilogy. Now, will it be better? Will it be a better fight? I don't know, but I'm willing to see.
It was like this year. It's been the year of unification. The year of people not ducking smoke. Well, there's some that have, you know.
Yep.
And it turned out the year of the unnecessary rematches.
Yep.
Since when the 2-0s earns you another rematch. I don't care if it was a tough fight.
Exactly.
2-0s to the same guy in a matter of like back to back.
Right.
Bro, get the hell out of there. You got no business. You can go in there with the Uzi, and he's gonna have a body shield.
I agree.
Simple as that.
I agree 1,000%.
And like you said, earn it. Don't just
earn it. That part.
There was a tough matchup, so I need to rematch. Man, shut up. Earn it,
bro. Earn it. Yes, earn it, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. That's just.
But yeah,
I'm tripping. Apparently,
that's all I gotta say, dog. I gotta go.
I appreciate you, bro.
To do still.
Shout out to you.
But tomorrow, if you go live, I should be good.
Let's get right.
Like regular schedule hours.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. Shout out to my guy Oscar, man. Yes, sir. And serious condolences to the Perez family, man. You and your family, man. Yeah, boy.
That's all good.
Peace. Yes,
it was
sir.
Yep. Like I said, to me, she suffered a little bit more, too much for my liking.
Yeah.
Because her body was shutting down, and like the last 3 days, she went 10 days without eating, 10 days without drinking water. She had tough cookie. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, my grandma was like the real one. But
soldier, man. It's facts, man.
It is what it is.
Yep. They passed that straight on to us, man. Facts.
It was one of them that my grandpa would come up drunk and hit her twice and be like,
right. Yeah.
He said,
I feel that, man.
But all right, man.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to you, man. Before we get to the other callers, man, I want to say shout out to Oscar, man. Good dude right there, man. Definitely one of the staples of Boxing Talk family. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot. I'm not gonna go through everybody, but you know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, day ones and the news. You know, but I do want to pick up on something he said. You know, I think, and I'm not judging his family, of course. You know, I'm just speaking from my perspective in generalities here. You know, all of us have some people that are, very, very religious, and who am I to tell you how to praise your God? You know, definitely do it. I'm sure that he appreciates it. You know, but I do think that sometimes, in everything, moderation, discretion, right? I think discretion should be shown because, like he just said, he had a funeral, man, and some people grieve in different ways. Some people grieve with anger, some people grieve with sadness, some people grieve and they seek a bottle. You know what I'm saying? And I like I said, I'm not saying obviously you don't want to do certain things on church premises and stuff like that, but I think that there's a time and place for everything as well, so God knows your heart is what I'm saying. So even when sometimes you're in a setting or around people or at a church and they're judging you and stuff like that, know that God is the one that judges, has a final judgment. So as long as your intentions aren't, your actions mean a lot too. If you have good intentions and your actions are bad, they don't match, and then that's bad too. What I'm saying is that if you're doing something and your intentions aren't to hurt or evil, then you got to remember that too, and God knows that too. So you should find some comfort in that, in my personal opinion. But sometimes, you could turn people off sometimes and push them away from a good thing if you don't use discretion, is what I'm saying. So shout out to everybody, you know what I'm saying? And my sincerest condolences to Oscar Perez, and go out to the Perez family, God be with you, and God rest nuestro abuela's soul. My guy Oscar been going through it, We actually he lost his grandmother. Shout out to the McCullough family as well. He lost his brother-in-law. I lost my grandma. Matter of fact, Oscar had a loss in his family before with his other grandma around the same time I lost my grandma earlier this year. So shout out to them, man. Stay strong for them. That's all we can do, is keep their memory alive and have their strength passed down through us, and we just live for them. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. Shout out to my guy Oscar, dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter.
These biscuits.
I appreciate that. Shout out to my guy Patrick, man. He said, Doc, you're objective. I appreciate you for that. I thank you, bro. I try my best. Floyd and Pac-Man is the last era before online gambling access. People underestimate that's fact too much. That's a good point, pugilism. Who's De La Santos promoter now? I don't know. I don't know if he picked up anybody. I think he was. I know Samson left him. They split, and then I thought I saw something about him going with. I can't remember. Does anybody remember? You heard Benavidez fight Anthony Yarde next? Yes, sir. We talked about that already. Yes, sir. Canelo's Floyd's son was good. I don't remember, bro. I saw something about him being picked up by somebody. I just can't remember who it is. Oh, I was trying to order some food, chat. They hit me with the new price. Oh yeah. Oh, they went up on the prices, huh? Oh, they hit me with the new price. I don't like that. But yes, sir, I'm gonna pull up my guy Oster real quick. See what Oster talk about. We got Oster in the back. Yo. My guy Oster in the building, man. What's good, brethren?
What's up, Doc and Ty and Kenneth? How you kick us out? We was in
I pulled you up, fool.
Oh, you pulled me up. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm on a station. I'm on a station.
Yeah. You on the station, man. You loud and clear. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, sir. You on TV? But if you want, because they're the last three. I'm gonna let Ty get off his what he wants to get off, and then if you want to just talk with all of us in there, that's cool. It's up to you.
Yeah, that's cool. We okay.
Okay, bet. But before we do though, man, I want you to. I didn't know that you had the channel. My fault for not paying attention. Y'all check out my boy Oster, man. If you could tell him where to find you at, and this is his name in the chat right now. Y'all follow my boy Oster, man. That's my guy right there, man. That's boss man Oster right there, man. So show him some love on his YouTube, man. For real, I didn't know that, man. I felt so bad. I never shouted you out, bro. You know, I mean, we ain't the biggest.
Oh, nah, it's all good. It's all good. Because I share everything we post. I share. You see that, right? I be sharing all that shit. I be like, yo,
yeah, facts, man. I mean, you're a real one. I know it don't bother you, but it bothered me. You know, I got to show my brother. That's the least I could do, man. You be holding me down. So shout out to my guy Oster, man.
Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt.
Boss man, right there, man. But yeah, what you got to pull Ty? All right, bet. I'm gonna pull up Ty then.
Yeah, pull Ty. We kick it in the joint.
All right, bet. Yo.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Wait, Ty. Let me make sure. Ty, you wanted your solo go, or you straight with everybody? It's up to you.
Oh, nah. I'm cool with everybody here because they need to hear this.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord, here we go.
Nigga.
Hey, Doc, we over here cooking right now, Doc. I don't think you want to be in here right now, Doc. I think you want to go.
Here we go. Yeah, I heard him say the B-more, brother. I already know what time it is, man.
Hey, yo, Ty, Doc pulled me up. I'm like, oh shit, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, Doc. I said, I'm live. You got me on TV. I'm live. He's like, yeah, shit, get me out of here. I'm going back to the people. Yo.
Here we go, man. Yeah, I saw Dickens got an upset. Yes, sir. I didn't see the whole fight, though. I just saw the highlights. It happened yesterday, Canelo. Yeah. Yes, sir, man. Talk to me, though, Ty, man. Go ahead. Go in on him, man. You know, yeah, thank you, Oscar. Let me spam my GT. Let me pull up my GTD chain out. Let me put my GTD chain out.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
here we go.
Let me make sure. Go ahead, bro. You know, I got to make sure I can block some of this hate. You know what I'm talking about? Ty muted right now. Let me hit this cash app real quick while Ty's muted. Shout out to my guy, Clone, man. Clone dropping the $10 on the cash app, man, with that bread, that cheese, that butter.
They're acting up on me right now. Hold on. They're acting up on me, guys. Hold on. They're acting up on the queue right now. Hold on.
This man Clone says this $10 is for you because you hate kickball and you hate Drake, and they both Canadian. This man here, bro. What?
Send me $10. I hate both of them niggas too.
You feel me? When I hate, he said kickball is kickball's from England, fool. Oh my goodness, bro. Nick Ball's from England, bro. Drake is Canadian. I ain't got no hate towards Drake. That's y'all. I just laugh. I ain't got no. I actually like Drake. I'd say that I like Drake more than Kendrick, to be honest. But I like them both. Though. Yeah. I say I like
Drake is a sucker.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Now yeah, I ain't saying he not a sucker. Now I'm just talking about straight music. I ain't saying Drake ain't no sucker now. Yeah, I ain't no hell no. I ain't defending that, but as far as music,
like
shit.
That shit funny because how people talk shit about Haney fighting and suing. This man got into the beef and then sued.
Oh yeah, with the
imagine.
He said, "Nah, man, y'all pushing that way too hard. Wasn't even that good, bro. Wasn't even that good."
It was some mick to it.
Talk to him, Ty. Yeah. Don't forget to smack that like button for your boy. I appreciate it. But go ahead, talk to me, Ty. Hey, average someone in the building. What's good? Big member in the building. He got that green glove. Oh, I see you with the green thumb. Your leprechaun head ass. What's good, bro? Talk to me, though,
so
Ty.
It's up to me to kick off the player haters ball.
Yes, sir. It's up to you, man. It's a ball in your court, man. You got it.
Look, so Tank is an elite fighter. We know this.
Oh, we know this? Okay, that's
Look,
what I'm talking about. Okay, we know this?
we
Okay.
know he is.
Okay.
Problem is, my boy is underachieving.
Okay.
His
I'm with
fan
that.
base allows him to get away with just giving us some bullshit,
Mm.
some lazy stuff, some Drake
Mm.
albums. My boy just be putting out anything in, people still gonna buy. When's the last time he fought an actual champion for a belt?
Okay, now that see, I agree. I'm with you. I got one rebuttal.
Andrade.
I got one rebuttal, but I'm still with you though.
That 130 super belt WBA shit,
Mm-hmm.
that was a vacant against Leo.
Yep.
So you telling me he ain't fought a actual champion since Pedraza?
That was many a moons ago.
I give him credit for fighting for the, getting the 135 regular belt vacant status when he fought Gamboa. I'll give him a little credit when he moved up to 40 and fought Mr. My nose break every time I fight a puncher.
You don't get no love for Hector, bro? You ain't get no love for Hector, bro? That's your Dominican brethren, bro.
Nah. Hector went outside.
That's crazy, bro. No love for Hector? That's crazy.
The reason why I say he don't get no credit for Gamboa or Barrios is because he had the opportunity to do something with those regular belts.
Facts.
Tank's resume will look so different if he'd have fought Loma literally right after he beat Gamboa.
I agree. I wish that
his resume would look so different if he fought Josh Taylor right after beating Barrios. He wouldn't be sitting here talking about Tank ain't doing shit.
Facts. Yo, can I say something that's gonna
let me respond. Let me respond to Todd. Yeah, I don't have an issue with any of that because I do think that he's okay. My rebuttal would be with the Josh Taylor. I'm not mad now. Everybody has their own opinion, but I'm not mad at somebody recognizing that they don't want to campaign at a division or stay at a bigger division. You know what I'm saying? But some people do. You know what I'm saying? Some people have a problem with Canelo going to light heavyweight and not going back, or just seem like he's selected who he's fighting. So with Gervonta Tate Davis, and people have that same sentiment as far as 140, I'm cool. However, I don't have a problem with that personally. And number two, with the underachieving, I do think that he's underachieving, but I think that he's underachieving relative to the greatness that we want of him. And I know that's what you said, but I think it's important to emphasize that because I don't think he's underachieving just for a champion. You know what I'm saying? I think he's underachieving for we want him to do more and become unified. Like I know I do. I want to become unified because I think he can. I want to become undisputed because I think he can. I want Junto to become undisputed and unified because I think he can. However, I don't think Junto is underachieving relative to Seiya Susumi or Yoshiki Takei because them bitches ain't unifying either. You see what I'm saying? So I agree with you, but I feel like it's important for me to add that nuance that he's underachieving because I think he's great, not because he's underachieving as far as just a regular champion out there because he ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? I think that some people would even say Stanionis because he's relatively unknown. They'll say he's overachieving or you know what I'm saying, by becoming a champion or whoever else you want to say. You know, I'm trying to think who else is a champion right now or even Angelo Leo or Fulton or not really Fulton, but Oshiki Foster. I can't use Fulton, but like Oshiki Foster, somebody like that. You say that, oh, they're doing good because they're a champion and they're holding it down. For Tank Davis, it's not enough just to hold down one title because you're so great. So I agree with that, but it's because of his greatness or anticipated greatness. But go ahead, Oster. Oh, before you go, Oster, one more thing, my fault. Shout out to Oster for dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. I just peeped it.
Sorry. Yo, but what I'm saying, Doc.
Let me read it real quick. He said, I gotta read your message. Shout out to my guy Oster, man, dropping the graffiti on the chat walls. He said, everybody sending in money like I'm broke or something. Nah, hell nah, bro. Shout out to you, bro. And I appreciate it, man. Hey, he said, this money is for you, Doc, and your little man card. Not taking his card. That's crazy, bro. Shout out to my guy Oster, man. Y'all be hating on my boy, man. What? Y'all be hating on my boy, man. Never that. I appreciate the love, though, man. Shout out to y'all for the love, man. Go ahead, Oster. Sorry to interrupt. Appreciate
you. No, I'm saying when it comes to I respect that when it comes to Tank, but my point be this, you know, just boxing in general, like all boxers, like generally a lot of boxers start at a certain weight, they generally just move up. You know what I mean? 90% of boxers generally just move up, at least one weight class. You get what I'm saying? Especially early in their career. So when it comes to Tank, now I can get when he was coming up. I respect that. You could sit there and rock out in that weight class. But when you say things like you don't want to unify and you don't care about belts, when you say that, that's a big statement because you basically telling everybody who wants you to fight whoever that you ain't doing that. You doing what you're doing. And to me, that's like, holding. It's like a hoe. It's like a girl. It's like being selfish. No, I can't make nothing else up because it's a female move. It's a female move. It's like I got this again. I'm that bad chick on the block, or you know what I mean. Everybody this and that, and then you just all of a sudden you just like it's the fans who got you where you at, and you telling the fans. You telling yourself that I'm not gonna fight Shakur because you might not want to fight Shakur. That's fine. That's fine. That's cool. But when the fans start saying like, "Yo, we want you to fight this one," because we talking to you about your greatness.
I don't think it's cool, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying.
I think you should have to fight him, in my opinion. But
yeah, no, you should. From our perspective, you should. But this is what I'm saying. It's in the middle of Tank got his perspective into the fans' perspective, and he played word semantics. He really played them. You ask him a question, and then he'll tell you the story about that person, like who he fought and this and that. When you ain't fighting nobody at your level, the level you at the top tier, you above all of them, and you don't fight them. You fight people under them, and then you tell them they ain't fighting nobody. So this fight will never happen. It will never happen because if you fighting somebody under the top tier, then who else it is to fight? You want everybody on the top tier to fight everybody and beat everybody, and then it just get confusing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I call him Sugar Tank. He can fight. I mean, in the ring, I like to see him, do his thing, 1-2, 1-2, and you in the ring. Right. But Tank, you're not even saying who you fighting. Your rematch, you ain't even announce it.
Right.
That's how much games you playing with people. You didn't even announce it yet. So it might not happen. It's not a fact that that's gonna happen.
Yeah. I will say this though, as far as the announcing go, I don't really have an issue with anything you said. My perspective on it though, with the announcing is, yeah, of course it's him because he's the man, it seems, but I don't know how much is him voluntarily not now announcing it, but it does, like, because it's not a coincidence, right? It seems like it's always some type of hold up with his fights. You see what I'm saying? That PBC had no problem announcing that Benavidez won and this, but maybe it's booking, maybe it's because Pacquiao came back, maybe he had to, I'm speculating now. There's nothing I'm saying for sure. So with that is one thing with the announcing. I do think it's crazy and I think it needs to be announced, but I don't know if I just blame it solely on him. Now the second part was with the fighting other guys. I do agree with you. I don't like it, but you got to say who his predecessor was Floyd. How many times do we say these fighters, Adrian Broner, hell, even Mario Barrios to a certain extent, Gervonta Tate Davis, and all these fighters that come after him are like fighting guys that not necessarily are for quote unquote legacy, but are for, trying to be in a position and hold that position and be the guy, whether you actually earned it or not. And I agree with you though, is that while I'm giving him that little excuse, I guess, if you will, I'm giving him grace. I would say I'm giving him grace in that regard. But I also agree with you is that I don't think Gervonta, as accomplished as I do think he is, he's not accomplished enough to be like, oh, I'm fighting this guy, I'm fighting like a Floyd. Like people forget how many Floyd has fought so many champions. You know what I'm saying? He still has a record for fighting so many champions. So a lot of these guys that try to be in the position of Floyd, and the reason why I would name Adrian Broner is like I feel like their antics, aren't. Their antics don't match their position. Like, yeah, Tank is at the top. He's a money guy. He got that part, but he's not there as far as accomplishments go, as far as like what Floyd was, to be able to be like, oh yeah, I don't care about unifications. No, unifications still mean a lot for you where you're at. You know what I'm saying? It might not mean unification undisputed don't mean nothing to Floyd because Floyd has all this other stuff. But for Tank, yeah, I agree with you 1,000% on that. I would just say the reason why he's saying that, in my opinion, is because of what he sees Floyd, like so many other American fighters in particular, but other fighters as well, not just American, but Americans as well. And then another thing you said too about I would say is that I'm not justifying it now because I want Tank and Shakur, I want Tank and all the champions to unify in every division. But I do think that he's not. I'll give him a little bit of grace when he says, who has he fought? Meaning that if Shakur was to unify against like a Murataya, maybe he might fight him because now he's unified. So what I'm saying is I take that as him saying that no one is doing anything to separate themselves to be a justifiable target. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that none of them are separating themselves. Keyshawn didn't separate himself. Shakur ain't separate himself. Loma ain't separate himself. Murtaya, he just got here. He said, "Huh?" I'm talking about as far as I'm talking about as far as being in 135 division specifically. Not saying their entire career. I'm saying that as far as being in 135 division, if I'm saying why would I target you when you don't have more than this person at this division? You see, I'm not saying it makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying that it should be like that. But at 135, you don't have to fight Tank to be unified.
That's what I'm saying, Doc. See, that's my point right there. See,
you don't have to have a resume either.
Right, I agree, but I disagree with that part. Okay, I'm so glad you said that too, Ty, because I disagree with that part as well. I'm not saying you have to have a resume, but I'm saying that when you are now, I'm not saying the unifications trump everything for me, but once again, like, it goes back to the Frank Martin fight, right? Frank Martin was the highest ranked opponent out of him and his contemporaries at that time, so it's not like Shakur or anybody. I'm not trying to pick on Shakur either. It's not like Shakur or Teofimo or anybody else around that time when Teofimo fighting Steve Claggett. He wasn't fighting a highly ranked guy. Shakur fought Artem Hartunian. That's a guy who lost to Frank Martin, so he wasn't highly ranked. You see what I'm saying? So like when you look at it from that standpoint, it's like they're not doing anything that, even if you want to say Tank's not doing. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to look at Tank, at least Tank is fighting highly ranked guys. You see what I'm saying? So that's the part that to me is what he's saying. No one's making any separation, but a good way for them to make separation is to unify with each other, you know, including Tank. I want them to unify, but I don't think it's just like, oh yeah, well, you know, he's not fighting anybody. I think he is fighting good people. I think Frank Martin's a good. You might not agree. I like Frank Martin. I like the Artem fight for Shakur, but I don't think that was a better fight than Tank. I mean, than Tank and Frank, or you know what I'm saying. I like Frank Martin. I like Teofimo and Jermaine Ortiz. I don't think that was a better fight than Tank and Frank. You know, I don't like Teofimo and Jermaine Ortiz after the fact. You know, after we saw the fight was trash. But going in, I was excited for that fight. But Jermaine Ortiz wasn't. I don't think Jermaine Ortiz is more special than Frank Martin. Now, he had that close fight with Lomachenko. I get the momentum. But as far as just being a fighter, I don't think he's above Frank Martin. I don't think Artem or anybody else record. Even who's he fighting now? Williams Zepeda might be above as far as ranking goes. But I don't necessarily say he's above Frank Martin either. So that's how I take that. But now this is better because now after Shakur beats Zepeda, I don't think Tank can say that anymore because Zepeda was an undisputed number one, and he's an interim champion now, so he's definitely fighting the best competition out of everybody that they fought in recent memory, you know what I'm saying, including Tank. So I don't think you can say that after if Zepeda loses to if Shakur AD beats Zepeda. Let me hit this cash app, and I'm gonna let you go, Oster, and then Ty. My fault. Big Dog Willie dropped some bread in the cash app, not the cash app, sorry, super chat. Shout out to you dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. Shout out to Big Dog Willie, man. He said that's why Tank versus Jake Paul. There you go. See, now you're learning. Shout out to my guy. He said Tank versus Jake Paul. See, get it right. Tank first. You know what I'm talking about? He's a champ. Tank versus Jake Paul is the biggest fight in boxing history, cap. Bigger than Ali Frazier, cap. Bigger than Tyson. Oh, let me get you right. He preaching right now. Hold on. He says the biggest fight in boxing history, Tank versus Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Bigger than Ali Frazier.
Yeah.
Bigger than Tyson Holyfield.
Yeah.
Bigger than Mayweather Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Pure facts.
Yeah.
Cap. You're cap, bro. Tank versus Jake Paul is trash. But like I'm saying, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying, so for Kendrick in here, Ty in here, also, I'm not saying that Tank has an excuse not to fight these guys. I'm saying that if I say that, oh, they're not doing anything special, I agree that they're not doing anything to separate themselves more, whether that goes through Tank or not. I'm saying they're not doing anything more than his opponents to separate themselves outside of being champion. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I want the unifications. But as far as his opponents go relative to their opponents, I don't think that his contemporaries are doing anything special. Even Lomachenko beating Kambosos, that's not special. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we act like it is, but that's not special. Shakur beating Artem Arjun is not special. If Tank being Frank is not special. Murataya beating Zaru Abduliev, and like I said, I'm going to give him some grace. He just got there. It's not special. Keyshawn beating Ernesto Mercado. I mean, Keyshawn beating Jose Pedraza or who's the other guy he fought off Pro Box? These are good wins, but it's not special. You see what I'm saying? Even if you would have fought De Los Santos, it's not special. What's the guy he fought? Medueno. That's not special. So relative to that perspective, I see what he's saying, but I'm with y'all. I don't agree. I think he should fight the unifications. I always want unifications.
I understand. Listen, my thing is that
my bad. No, I talked a lot.
No, that's cool. But what that's cool because with that said, I'm glad you said that because with that said, it only makes sense because obviously these other 3 champs that's fighting, everybody ain't fighting nobody. Tank ain't fighting nobody. So obviously the fights is between them. So if we figured this out, I know they sitting in their camp and they figured it out. So Shakur, he can't fight nobody. And first of all, do Tank want to fight Shakur or Tank don't want to fight Shakur because he didn't fight nobody?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So that's 2 things.
Right.
Yeah, that's 2 things now. So he could be like, Tank over here, I gotta fight you. These people gotta fight somebody, and everybody they fighting is the top of the thing, but they still nobody. So is it in Tank eyes? So if the way Tank seeing it, the only thing that I can say is you gotta fight them, so y'all could be fighting somebody now. So like this, a good example is when Canelo told Crawford, "You didn't fight nobody.
Yep.
Who did you fight?"
Yep.
He said, "I'm about
Which
to fight
I think
you."
is wrong, right? Which I think is wrong.
No,
too.
but I'm just saying. But in a sense, he's saying no matter what he said at this point, you'd have said he wasn't nobody.
I agree.
You so
exactly. That's what I think. Exactly.
You.
I agree.
I'm about to fight you and put blows on you. How about that one?
I agree.
That's what we did.
But see, but the thing that they have in common, Tank and Canelo, is that they have fought people in the past, which that doesn't mean that Shakur hasn't fought anybody or Bud hasn't fought anybody, but they do have more recognizable names on their resume, and that's the point. And sorry, go ahead, Ty. You said you want to add something to that. My fault. And I'm gonna address your point, Big Dog Willie, because I disagree with that.
Canelo can sit up in that open forum and say that because we are signed, sealed, and delivered. We are actually going to fight. I can sit here and nitpick about your resume. Why? Because I'm gonna fight you.
Good point.
Saying somebody hasn't fought nobody and you're not going to fight them. That's
a
shit.
good point. That's a good point. I agree with that. That's a good point. That's a great point. I agree. I agree with that.
That's just banter when you already about to scrap with somebody. You're supposed to say shit like that.
Right.
But to say that and not fight a guy, nah, I'm not rocking with it.
I agree with that 1000%. Because Cinnamon, at least I haven't seen it. I haven't seen him degrade Bud's resume until now. You know what I'm saying? Which, like you said, that's supposed to. It's kind of the, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of how it goes. Kind of formalities at this point. So you trying to nitpick and show you that, hey, we're different levels, and at least they sign. I agree, because saying that because in this part I agree with what Oster and Ty and I think Kendrick said as well. This part I agree. If you're saying that he's not fighting anybody, then that's like implying that Frank Martin fought more people than Shakur, and that's not true. You know what I'm saying? I agree with that part. You know, it's not like his opponents are fighting have better resumes than the guys. What I was saying is that they don't have better resumes than Tank himself. But as far as that's like implying that, okay, Frank Martin, Lamont Roach have better resumes than Shakur or whoever, Lomachenko. No, that's not true. So yeah, I agree with that part. But Big Dog Willie, that was a great point. He said the problem with your argument, Doc, is that Tank can literally choose his opponents. See, he said Shakur can't do that. I disagree with that. I think that Tank has more liberty to choose his opponents, like a AJ, like a Cinnamon. But I think that we seen. So, for example, it's not that Shakur can't, or other champions, not even just Shakur. It's not that they can't choose their opponents, because we know that that's where voluntary and stuff like that exists. But if I would agree with you if you said, like, okay, Tank, it's easier for Tank to choose Shakur and get him, or anybody else, than it is for Shakur to choose him and get him. I think there's a lot of people that would fight Shakur. Like Lamont Roach said he would fight Shakur. What's his name? Now, I don't know if you hold their feet to the fire where they actually do it. We'll see. But there's a lot of people that, what you say, Kendrick?
A lot of people is crazy. I call cap.
I think there's a lot of people that fight Shakur. What you mean? Heidi Herrera said he wants to fight Shakur. What's not Issa. Who did I just say? What's my boy's name? I just said it. Lamont Roach. And even Devin Hayden now, I agree with this now. I know you about to say, oh, it was a low ball offer. I think it was a low ball offer, but at least Devin Hayden put something out there. And if he took the bait, I cannot say definitively that if Shakur said, I would have fought Devin, let me take that money, that Devin Hayden would say, oh, no, I'm just playing. Like, psych. Maybe they would have fought. So I'm saying, yeah, he should have called his bluff. Right. I'm not saying he should have, because I don't mind him. I want to sound like I'm jumping the fence. I've always said I thought it was a low ball offer, so I don't blame Shakur. But what I'm saying is that there's people that have said that they would fight Shakur. Now, like you said, Kendrick, if you hold their feet to the fire, will they actually fight him? Because we've seen Zepeda call him out multiple times. I don't know. That's something I can't say.
See Kid Austin get to the week and not fight him.
Right. But Kid Austin called him out again. So I'm saying that it's not like there's a shortage of people that want to fight or claim. Let me say claim to help Kendrick. That claim they want to fight Shakur. Yeah. Will they actually do it? I don't know. You know, it's yet to be seen. However, to say that, oh, well, Shakur can only fight Joe Cordina because he's a vet. No, bro, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, he can only fight certain people. But I do agree that Tank, AJ, especially Cinnamon, they have more liberty than others because they are stars. So yeah, I think they have more liberties to choose their opponents. I agree. So if Tank says he wants to fight Shakur, then most likely that fight will happen. If Canelo says he wants to fight Bud or Benavidez, most likely those fights will happen. I agree with that part. But to say that they have no options, like he could only fight Joshua Paddy, no, it was circumstantial. It was late notice. But he could. There's some people. If he wants to fight Javier Herrera, I'm sorry. I do believe I give everybody benefit of that. I do think Herrera would fight him. If he wants to fight Schofield right now, I give him another chance. But I don't blame Shakur for not fighting him. But I slightly believe Schofield.
Well, what I'm saying is,
let Kendrick go real quick. Kendrick go real quick.
Doc, the issue with your Tank defense is as far as like him, the other guys not doing anything, right? In that sense, where he's
not
saying
that they're not doing anything. I'm just saying not doing anything to separate themselves from the rest of the field. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Special,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The issue with that is a reciprocated argument, right? Because at the end of the day, what is special in that division? Who's the number one guy? Who do everybody think is number one in that division? Tank, right?
Tank, yeah.
So if I don't fight Tank, then I did nothing special. And if you don't do nothing special, then I don't have to fight you.
See, I agree. That's what people would think. That's not how I think, though. That's why I said that if he beats Zepeda, I don't think Tank can say that anymore. Now, I mean, that don't mean he won't, and that don't mean people will. No, I don't think that's bullshit because Zepeda is.
I'm saying that's bullshit because they're gonna say that Zepeda was never that good.
You're right.
He lost the fight.
Facts.
So,
yeah. People gonna say that now. You're right. No, you're right.
At the end of the day, it's nothing special unless you fight or beat or make a good fight against Tank. What do people consider as Pitbull's greatest achievement? Him taking Tank 12 rounds. That was something special to people.
Right.
So
watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
What'd you say, Ty? What'd you say, Ty?
Get washed.
Okay. Because I was crazy. Okay. Let's make sure. Okay. It's crazy. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Ty. Then we gotta keep it at least a little bit honest. Gosh dang. Shout out to Ocean. Gosh dang, bro. I'm gonna take that because I think he beat Pitbull. Like what? But go ahead, Kevin. My bad to interrupt. Thank you. We got
but the thing is, it's like it's a real reciprocated argument, and that's why he can never lose that argument unless his fans hold him accountable. Because that's who the real problem is. The fans are gonna buy these stupid ass trash fights every single time. So why would Tank want to change? He could sit on top of the throne and be like, "Oh, they're nothing to me." And the
they're nothing to me. It's crazy.
It's like, yes, sir.
Sound like a diva.
He's nothing. Like, bro, it's crazy to me. Like, we can't say that they didn't do anything special because here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
They could go out and fight. Like, let's say Shakur fights and unifies, right? He fights
Murataya.
Anyone unifies. Murataya, right?
Yeah.
Unifies. Tank would be like, "Oh, that's an email champ. He's not even a real champ."
Okay, but but that's our job. I mean, not our, but that's my job, right? And content creators, like, or not just media members, right? That's so when I say, I agree with you. When you say people, I can't rebut that. You know, absolutely, people are gonna say stupid, all types of stupid shit. People say William Skull undefeated champion is nothing. You know, the fight was trash, but that was a good fight in my opinion. So what I'm saying when I say that he can't say that, it's not that he won't say that. I'm saying that I won't buy that. Is what I'm saying, because Zepeda is a guy, because Zepeda is arguably the best opponent out of all of them. Like right now, when I say, oh, he hasn't fought anybody to separate himself, or people haven't fought anybody that's necessarily enough to cause that separation. I don't think that you can say that. You could say that for Murataya versus Abdulayev. You could say that for Berinchik, Keyshawn and Berinchik almost, because Berinchik got a vacant title by being a guy that was smaller in Emmanuel Navarrete. And Shakur for fighting Artem because the opponent that Tank beat Artem. But when he beats Zepeda, who's the undisputed mandatory for everybody, and if Shakur beats him, then I don't think you have that argument. You know what I'm saying? And for me, people go say anything, but for me, I don't think that's a significant win. You know, I don't care how easily Shakur makes it look. If he wins, that's a significant win. You know what I'm saying? And then to me, that's definitively the best win in recent, not the best win between them, but the best win between them in recent memory, I think, would be Zepeda. I mean, as far as merit, to me, that's special. But you're right. People won't say that's special. I agree with you. I agree. But some people say that Isaac Pitbull Cruz not special. But then some people also tell me that Isaac Pitbull Cruz deserves a rematch. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I remember, and remember when we were talking about this. I don't know if y'all remember, but I remember saying this when Tank was like, "Oh, the person I'm gonna fight next is in the room." Remember? After he fought when he fought Martin Roach, it was Jake Paul and Isaac Pitbull Cruz. I said, who the heck wants to see neither one of those fights? Some people want to see that. People, not me. I don't want to see that rematch. I think that, and the reason why I don't want to see it because to me it's a waste of time. And Jake Paul is obviously a waste of time, but I understand that for the money. But I don't like the fight either. So it's not like I'm capping. I think that Shakur. You're right. The general consensus is going to say that that's still not a good fight, but nah, bro, that's merit right there. He's an interim champion. So the people will say that Nye Inoue doesn't need to fight MJ Ahmadali. That's not what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? So like, yeah. So it's like you're right about that. I can't disagree with that. The people always say some dumb shit, but that's people let people be dumb.
And Tank is gonna run with that shit.
Yeah, I agree.
He's gonna run with it, man.
Tank is gonna feed off of that shit.
I'd even say that he creates it. You know, he creates it, and then the people run with it. But you know, we got to see through that. Go ahead, Osir.
I say. All right, when you said this is why I'm just never going with that Tank shit, but it's good for debate. This is good for debate, though. But what I'm saying is, it's for real, though, man, because it didn't make no sense. So now what I'm saying is, like, when Roach said that he want to fight Shakur, right? And this is kind of sense I'm gonna make. Roach said after he fight whoever, he gonna want to fight Shakur after they fight or what the case is, right? And now it's a reason that's the whole thing. When I'm saying it's a reason why Roach said Shakur. Because Shakur is a top tier and it'll work for his resume.
Yep.
So it don't make sense when Tank say Shakur didn't fight nobody. If he can build this person to get a title fight from his name, that kid Austin just played with. That's why when they talk about Shakur like such, I understand where he's coming from. I'm not playing with him no more. Yeah, I'm not playing with him anymore. I done gave him a chance for a title fight. That's like Tank sending somebody a contract and they work out and do the whole shit and then don't fight him. And then ask Tank, let's fight again. So I understand that.
I get what you're saying with that. If I can respond to that part about the Lamont. Shakur is definitely somebody. However, are you somebody to somebody who's also somebody? I'm not trying to put no wasn't Riddle there or nothing. But
no, that's my point though.
Yeah, so Teofimo, let's say Teofimo moving up and beating Barrios. That's something that's meaningful. Boots beating Barrios, ain't nobody gonna say nothing about that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it's still Barrios. That don't mean that Barrios is not good, but is so what I'm saying is that, yeah, Lamont Roach is gonna call Shakur because Shakur shows that he's not only is he a champion, but he's a champion above his weight class. So that means something more than Shakur would mean to Tank. If that makes sense. So, but I'm not. Yeah. So I'm not advocating or buying the fact that Shakur is nobody. No, Shakur to me is the second best, and the only person I have over him is Tank. And I want to see that fight because I think Shakur has a chance to beat Tank. I'm just going with Tank. I don't agree with the fact that he's not somebody. But what I'm defending is, I guess I'm defending the notion that Tank is. How can I say? I think he's go ahead, speak. Let me get my words together.
I'm not defending nothing. I'm just speaking facts.
Yeah.
Nothing because this is clear. This is clear out. You ain't got to defend this.
Right,
this is right. You ain't got to defend this at all. So what I'm saying is, I'm just talking about the perspective of Tank. So if Lamont Roach can fight Shakur, right? If the whole world knows Shakur is number 2. If the whole world know this, then Tank got to be crazy. He just got to be crazy, or he has to be not want to fight him. I'm not going to say he doesn't.
Right.
He just don't want to fight him.
I got my words together, bro. I'm not saying. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I'm not saying that. I know that if Roach fight Shakur, right, and if Roach was to beat Shakur, Tank will love that because that will make his point good.
I agree.
But the position that it'll put Roach in, See, the position it'll put Roach in, it'll show you was Shakur great or not. This is my point. This is the whole thing about boxing. That's why they got divisions and they got titles, to move up and all this there. And we ain't talking about mandatories. We ain't talking about taking him. We ain't talking about mandatories. Tank pick his fights. He pick who he want to fight. He fought Lamont Roach. This is the fact. You can't even deny that. But it's cool though because
I agree with that.
You're in that position to do that.
But you got to tell the whole story though. Tank was. So with the you said here go ahead, finish your thought.
No, I'm just saying. No, all I'm saying is that all that's fine. But we saying where we at now. Where we at now, all the cards is down, everything, you know what I mean? People ain't got no fights, and you still not fighting, not the second, not the third, not the fourth. You in a whole nother division fighting people, and you number one in this division.
Facts. No, I'm with you on that.
Division,
I'm with you on that. But Lamar Roach was a pivot, though. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what about Lamar Roach. Now Lamar Roach looks like a cherry pick because of optics. Because but okay, but what's Nick Ball? And like I said, I'm not comparing to Nick Ball because Tank has more responsibility. But we let stuff slide. Nick Ball ain't shit either. Come on, facts. Yeah, but we ain't saying it like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not when I say we, I'm not talking about me and you. Of course we are. But I'm saying like the people aren't. This man is fighting two guys from smaller divisions back to back. And Yiju Kim, when he fought Tank, well, in a way slightly different because it was a later replacement. But that's how I see Lamar Roach. I see Lamar Roach as a pivot from Lomachenko to Rayo to De Los Santos to the Roach. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just like, oh, I was targeting Roach the whole time. Now, shout out to Ty. I know Ty knows this. Roach and I'm sure Kendrick knows this as well. Oh, so you probably know it as well. I'm not sure. But I don't know if you know that Roach has been on the cards to fight Tank before, so that could be good or bad. If you want to say, okay, bet I had him as a replacement or a possible late notice guy I could go holla at. I know he's willing to fight me, or you can say it as, okay, maybe he's been planning to fight him for some years. So it depends on your perspective on that one. I get it. However, yeah, perspective on that. So however, I think that Lamar Roach should say that, oh yeah, well he's just fighting a guy that's smaller. I think that's not only slightly disingenuous, but also mostly not telling the whole story. But also I want to say this though. I got my thoughts together. I'm not saying that Tank is not wrong for not fighting unifications. Like I said, I want everybody to fight unifications. But what I'm saying is from his perspective, I understand it and I can see how it's justified for him by saying that, okay, this guy is nothing special for me. Just like what Canelo said. But, you know, I'm guilty of also understanding why Canelo says Benavidez is nothing special for me. Not that Benavidez is not special. Not that Shakur is not special. But these guys already are in the position of especially, you know what I'm saying? They already have the special treatment. So if they're not doing anything for them. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, oh, I don't want Tank to fight. I'm saying the opposite. Of course I want Tank and Shakur to fight. You know, I want Tank to fight all these guys. But that's what that's the angle.
We not jacking it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
neither one of us.
It's not happening. I understand your sentiments. But it's not happening.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro.
I'm not flipping on this one. No
hey, Big
way.
Dog really said that's a lot of mental gymnastics, Doc. Go ahead, Ty.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Hey, Ty. Remember you was a kid, right? Remember you was a kid and you used to go to school and there was a bully in there and he used to fuck with you and you were scared. You come home and tell your moms all kind of stories about how you don't want to go to school. You never said there's a bully in there, though.
That's right.
That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. You never said there was a bully in there, though. You just said, oh, I'm sick. I can't get up. Everything under the sun. You know what I mean? But you never said Mars by in there kicking my ass, man. I think he's gonna kick my ass.
Bro. That's crazy, bro. Okay, so let me ask you this. Go ahead, Ty, first before you go. And I'm gonna ask my question. I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget. Go ahead, Ty.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna ask y'all. Okay, so look. So have we never seen guys that seem like they're about to avoid, or they were actively avoiding somebody and they whoop their ass?
Say it again.
Have we never seen people that are seemingly avoiding somebody actively, but then when they actually fight, they end up whooping their ass?
We just seen that with Tia.
Come on now.
We seen
it. Come on now. So we can admit that we seen it a lot of times. So I'm just saying this though. Yeah. If Tank goes out there, what's your ass though? Okay. But Ty just answered my question. A duck is a duck.
That would be a beautiful thing. Okay. That would be a beautiful thing.
No, but I'm just like we don't want to say Shakur. I don't want to hear nothing about Shakur. If he whoops the pay, I don't want to hear no discredit to Shakur. I don't want to hear no discredit. I want to hear amplified credit and love for Tank. If he go out there,
listen, he'll get that from me. He'll get that from me.
Okay.
Do you know why? Both of them will get it. You know why? Because that's what we need to see so we can move on. As a fan,
but see, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. We gonna move on. Nah, bro, we can't move on, bro. No matter who wins, they gotta hold that. That's a career win.
We're gonna move on from that fight. We're gonna move on from that fight.
They can be the best of the generation. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna move on from that fight. We ain't gonna talk about that no more.
No. Oh, sir, me and you. I mean, I'm talking about like we were talking about before, because all of a sudden nobody gives Terrence Crawford credit for beating Spence, but going into that fight, that was the fight of the century. How quick do we move on from that? So if Tank and Shakur fight, we need to hold on to this bitch like we hold on to gosh dang Lomachenko being whoever he beat, because he had career generational wins. You know, when he beat somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's good enough to last his entire career. You know, but I don't know. We should not move on.
No, Doc, but you got to know winning is that popularity today. The good example, if Shakur was to beat Tank, right? You You think they would? You think Tank fans will go with Shakur? Shakur be that guy? Nope.
They
They'll knock him
should
down.
be though. I will.
They'll knock him down.
Yeah, no, they should.
No, I mean we will.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying we will. We will. I know we will. You know what I mean? But the casual fan, they'll knock him down.
Yeah,
like Crawford and Spence.
Yep, I agree.
If Spence would have beat Crawford ass,
yeah,
he'd have been like whoever.
Hey,
but since Crawford won,
quick. I'm listening. I can hear you. I'm gonna go grab my food.
But since Crawford won, it ain't, you know, they the popularity, they don't give it to him, but they do give it to him. He get it. He get that, you know, you get that Shakur Crawford, you get that undescribed hate love. You know what I mean? They can hate on you, but you still pursue. You see Crawford fighting Canelo, you still pursue because now you become that little enemy in the game. Now people want to see you lose for real. So that's why they want to push you in there with people for you to lose. That's why they do that. Yo, Tank fight Shakur. They want Tank to knock Shakur ass out. That's what they really want. They want him to knock Shakur out flat.
I just want to say one more thing before I get up out of here with the other champions having to do something special. I think that's a cop out on Tank's part to just be able to watch everybody else destroy themselves. You get what I'm saying? It's like, all right, y'all fight, and I'll fight. I'll see who comes out on top, and I'll fight them. Right?
Yeah.
But to me, I don't think he's in that. He hasn't earned that position. I think he earns that position if he's already unified or something like that. Then he could be like, nah, y'all got to do something. Like,
bingo.
But he's in the same. To me, if we talking boxing, just strictly boxing, not popularity and nothing like that, they all on the same level essentially.
Yep. I agree 100% with that. 1,000,000%. And that's
to me. That's that weak shit. That's the weak aspect of things to me. It's like, bro, don't sit here and try to sit back and watch everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Shakur fight this person, then they have a rematch, and then Shakur beat them, and now it's looking like nobody can fuck with you because you still got your O.
That's that Mayweather tactic. It's the Mayweather tactic. It's cool. That's his predecessor. It's facts though. It's 100% facts. But now I'm gonna tell you another thing too with the Tank shit. I know once. Listen, remember Keyshawn won for the belt? Remember he beat the dude for the belt? That same week, Tank said, "Why don't Shakur fight Keyshawn?" I said, "The man been a champ for a week. He been a champ for a week. What are you talking about, man? Come on, man. This guy, man. This guy. This guy's funny, man. For real.
That's the play.
He ain't funny. Yeah, that's the play. I'm telling y'all, when the dude said he don't care about belts, that was the ultimate duck for me. The ultimate, because you don't care about belts. So every time you talk about it, man, I don't care about that belt. That's the only reason they want to fight Shakur. I don't care about the belt. Anybody that got it, he don't care about that. I mean, I hear that. It's all good though. Listen, it's all good. It is what it is. You know, we all was a man at one time. We all had our way. You know what I mean? We all had our way one time. Let the boy rock. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: you ain't going down as one of the. You going down as a great fighter, but you ain't going down as one of those people that fought everybody. That's a fact.
I got 3 hot takes for y'all. First one: Tank ain't fighting nobody. He about to retire, regardless.
Yep, I agree with that. Unfortunately.
Hot take number 2: USYK Pitbull Cruz was never better than a C plus fighter. He was good enough to win a belt, but he was nowhere near elite. He fought Tank, and people boosted this man to the moon when he should have never been that high. He was just a replacement fighter that got washed with one hand. And my last one, listening to the conversation earlier, that wasn't no bad offer that was given to Shakur. I got $50 for whomever
in regards to Devin
can name a fighter. Yeah.
Okay.
I got $50 for whomever that can name a fighter, not named Bud or B-Vol, that fought a 3-belt unified champion or undisputed champion and got more than 22%.
You got me.
Well, I always said that Shakur should have took the fight, so I can't even say nothing against her.
He was saying it wasn't a fair offer or whatever. Remember, He just stepped into 135. Only had one fight. What did he have to justify getting more than what he was offered?
That's a good point.
So you saying he was more deserving than Usyk? Usyk was a former undisputed champion moving up.
Even Devin Haney took a low money to fight Kambosos to get the damn belts. But
yeah, now he ain't got the best businesses though. Well, from what they say, you know what I mean. I don't know.
Yeah, I give him a little grace on that just because I feel like when you feel like someone trying to big dog you, bro, I can understand. Not saying it's right though.
Yeah, that's why I said for what they say. You know what I mean. I don't know the you know what I mean, but
yeah, that's why I defer. I defer to especially Todd when it comes to the money. So I don't really pay attention to it. I don't really like to. So. Shout out to D1, man. I pulled you up multiple times, bro. You gotta figure out the Discord, bro. We need to hear from D1, man. I pulled you up multiple times. Slide, yeah. You out. Hey, good conversation, man. I appreciate you contributing, man. Shout out to my guy. Shout out to my guy Kendrick, big member. I'm gonna eat, so I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet.
In hindsight, did that work out for Shakur?
Nope.
He got the WC belt, but
nope.
How has it been looking at 135 for him?
Come on now.
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes you gotta what it called? What's this? You can't be nearsighted. You can't be penny wise and pound foolish. Sometimes you gotta, I ain't gonna say it's bad, but it could have been better. If you assuming if you think he would have beat Devin Haney, it would have been worse if he would have lost. But if you're assuming that he would have won, then yeah.
Yo, you think it would have been that bad for Shakur if he lost to Devin Haney?
Yes. Not to me, but to people. You can't lose, bro. You're American, you can't lose, bro. You know that. That's you black American.
You know that.
Yo, but Doc, man.
Devin Haney though.
That's crazy.
Hey, shout out to everybody.
Dude, cheating, bro. Hey, you ain't just. I'm about to get this man up out of here, bro. Ain't no way you just said that except Devin Haney, bro. Devin Haney got cheated, man. Stop it, bro. Shout out to Thomas in the building. What's good, brethren?
What up, Tom? What up, Tom?
What's good, man? I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm gonna always say he should have taken that 25%. Like he should, like he learned from that 25% with the call outs with Kid Austin. And you see what happens when you do stuff that you probably normally wouldn't do. Now, he wasn't 25% of what I'm always going to ask. And then Bob immediately said there was never an offer. Mm-hmm. Remember, they were on Top Rank at that time. They were their champions, right? So Bob himself came out and said there had never been an offer. And even though they are the quote-unquote DHP, they don't make fights. So there never was an offer. And on top of that, because Bob always speaks the truth when it comes to his fighters. I ain't going to lie. He be doing some wild stuff, but when he talks about his fights...
Get him.
So was he speaking the truth when he was backing Jay Prince before all that? Before they petitioned the WBC? There was an offer.
You believe that there was an offer, though. You really believe in an offer.
When you got Jay Prince and Bob Arum backing that and then turn around and say there was no offer, so which one was it?
Hey, let me interrupt real quick. I'm eating. I'm going to let y'all keep cooking. But shout out to D1, man. D1 has made it in the building. His first time on the gosh dang chat, man. We always got to salute those as the first time, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to D1. My very first time. What y'all know about that immature? Shout out to D1, man. D1 finally made it to the chat, man. Shout out to him. Talk to us, bro. What's good?
Thomas is talking.
No. Mm-hmm. And then we're gonna let Thomas and Ty finish up. But we just want to let you introduce yourself, man. Welcome to the panel and all that stuff, man. Let them know about you, man.
What up with you boys? It's D1, man. Angry White Man.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? We're pretty good. I was trying to let Thomas finish talking. I must have had both windows open at the same time or some shit. I don't know, bro. This Discord link is weird to click, bro. It's a lot. It's for somebody like me that don't know shit about no technology, dog.
I appreciate you taking the time to figure it out, man.
Hey, yo, D1, I was the same way, man, when I got on it. I was the same way. They was yelling at me. I'm like, I'm trying to get on, man.
Shout out to OC. Figured it out.
Remember
over
Dr.
here.
Strange?
I'm over here writing in stone tablets still, bro. I'm stuck in the fucking Stone Ages, dog.
Stone. Put in Rosetta Stone at Mickey Freaky, bro. Go on and say something, man. Come on, talk your talk, man. I already know what I'm gonna say, bro. Cause like I say, man, I understand that, you know, he may cap a lot when it comes to some other stuff, but when it comes to the fights, and I don't give a fudge what my man said, freaking what's his name? Jay Prince. Jay Prince getting caught up in some litigious lies. So I don't never trust that Mickey Freaky. So go ahead, continue.
And this the reason Shakur keeps pushing for like a turkey backs fight is so that Jay Prince gets a bigger payday, because as soon as he comes to pay-per-view, Jay Prince's payday is only as big as the guaranteed bag. It's 20% of the guaranteed bag. That's why he's pushing so hard for it to be a turkey fight. And let me just make a phone call you, somebody's having call, all that shit is so Jay Prince don't get cut out of the back end, bro. There's a reason they take that phone call with Tank, whatever you guys want to call it. But to me, Tank's team doesn't reach out to Shakur's team to do anything but make a fight. They damn sure weren't calling to see what the fucking weather was. And people are denying that shit like it didn't even happen because Shakur said he denied it. All right, well, teams don't call other teams unless they got a deal in hand for them. And the reason Shakur is trying to push for the turkey shit, like I just said, is because of Jay Prince. But they're very good at what they do. Stay out here and front some shit. Tank don't never come defend himself. He just would rather us talk, whether it's good or bad. We're just talking.
Talk to him.
Bro, shit right there.
You really don't give a ass.
Everybody dies, bro, to see. Tank ain't worried about that kid. He ain't dodging that kid in no way. If anything, it's the other way around.
Woo! Hey, you see Thomas and D1 pulled up. Kendrick got up out of there. Come on now, Oster. Come on, Ty. You're getting hot.
Listen. We could say we could do that because the fact of the matter, Tank is not picking to fight Shakur. If he sent the deal, and it wasn't a good deal or whatever the case is, he ain't send another one. It ain't recorded. He ain't sent another one. He ain't trying to fight Shakur. Not Shakur.
But what is the Tank's fault to appease a B-side that ain't even close to on the same playing field as far as ticket sales and gate numbers go? Is it Tank's job to fucking get Shakur?
What I'm saying is that on the first call, Tank know that. On the first contract he supposed to send, he knew that. So that cannot be the reason now. It can't be the reason. If you say that he sent him a contract.
Let's Ty get in there real quick, please. Go ahead, Ty.
What was Floyd take?
Hold on,
we gotta start holding the A side accountable. Because when it was Bud and Arrow, everybody got on Arrow's ass. He was stadium status.
That's a good point.
Yeah, he gave up concessions that people say he should not have, but he made the fight. The problem thing is he not making these fights.
Okay, now but before that fight,
he's a B-side trying for more, bro. What would Floyd do to fight Oscar? What would he do to fight Oscar?
Take him back. Do you want?
I mean, there's been multiple times where B-sides take what the fuck they're offered when they're offered to be great. Like, why didn't he take it just because he knows he will outbox fucking Tank? I'm taking any deal they offer. It may never come again.
That's respectable. Look, that's respectable.
Hey, Doc, you ever heard of that movie Everybody Hates Chris?
Yes, sir. Everybody
we know everybody hates Tank, so you know Tank gonna be to blame for every goddamn thing. Just go back to context. Since we talking about that fight, and I'll go back to what I was originally saying. There was always interviews, and there was always the topic of Tank. And out of Shakur's mouth, before that interview dropped from what's her name, dude from Steven Espinoza, there was always, he know better than get in the ring with me. He ducking. He don't want that. But then right before that interview came out, he had another interview, and he said, he's not ducking me. I'm not ducking him. That fight is gonna happen.
Happen eventually. Yep.
And then a couple of days later, the interview came out. So that shows that energy has shifted and changed. No longer do I need to attack him through the media. No longer do I need to do this. Something had to happen. So I know we like to say the man lies, even though he's a CEO of a publicly traded company. But that energy shifted. And then it was, he's not ducking me. I'm not ducking him. That fight's going to happen. We just got to wait. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Going back to the Devin Haney thing. I mean, honestly, you saw the Kambosos fight the very first time. My man looked like he was on He-Man, right? Skeletor. He looked like he was Skeletor. Shouldn't have been fighting. That was the point of his no return for that weight division. He had to fight that fight. Then he said, I could fight Tank during then, right? But my man said, nah, he got 3 fights with us. He's going to fight 3 fights with us. Then came the rematch. He still said, oh, Tank. Whenever it was time, well, we just waiting for Tank. Tank got to do this. Tank got to do this. They're signed to fight with Bob, and Bob will sue that ass. So had to fight that one. And then Loma, well, we just waiting for Tank. We waiting for a good idea. So then before that one comes in, you got my main man Shakur stepping into the ring, and then now they got this thing going on. And they gave him a bogus ass offer just so they could look like, okay, well, we did something to show that he never wanted to get in the ring at 35 with that brother, man, because he was depleting himself to get into the ring. That's probably why the fight with Loma was close as well.
Let me rebut this right here.
Go ahead, and then we go hit D1 and then Oster. Go ahead, Ty.
Angry White Man, I agree with you with the niggas not taking that B-side money. Only thing I can say back to that is there was other options. Shakur, he wasn't being realistic, but Tank still could have gave his other guys. Now Thomas Hill, you said a lot. So, all right. Bob, he'll try to go make some moves. He'll put out certain statements. But the minute it don't work, he'll come back a month later and try to switch up and say something else. We see this all the time with him. But as far as Devin, when he was at 35, yeah, Bob could have sued him. But in his contract, Kambosos was obligated to fight for the belts. But he could have just vacated them joints. Tank said he didn't care about belts, care about fights. So that's still a realistic thing.
But at that time, did Devin Haney
belts move?
But at that time, did David care about belts? Wasn't that the Legacy Tour?
He already won Undisputed, though.
Yeah, but we won't be talking about, if it had not been for Bob Haney, and I'll let you, I apologize. If it had not been for Bob Arum, people wouldn't know Devin Haney to be the fighter that he is right now at this current sport. The thing that makes him, quote unquote, the only fighter who can retire right now at Undisputed, of his contemporaries, is the fact that he made Undisputed, and that happened through Bob.
Nah. Lou DiBella made Undisputed.
Yeah,
Bob was just the bag man. Lou DiBella made that fight.
Yeah.
Shout out to the conversation.
Made a lot of fights.
Right, you're right. It was in conjunction with the person who had all the belts, though, right?
The person who had all the belts was a Lou DiBella fighter. Lou DiBella is an open contract that he didn't have a network to stand behind. He just partnered up with Bob.
Them saying they would drop the belt situation, and that rematch was for that. I don't buy that shit at all. You can't get out of that contract.
Go ahead. Cook up. Wait. Hold on. You were done, Ty? My fault.
Nah, he wasn't done. I interrupted him. Go ahead.
Me too.
No, I was gonna let D1 go. Oh, you said you are done, or you got more, Ty? My fault. I didn't hear you.
Nah, he was cooking.
You know, Devin had to get that 360 deal just to get them belts.
360
It wasn't
deal.
just Bob and Top Rank. It was Lou DiBella Promotions, because that's where Kambosos was signed with. Kambosos ain't signed at Top Rank until he went to get the IBF belt later on.
I wouldn't be surprised if Lou DiBella doesn't own a piece of Devin's career, a piece of Cambosa's career, all from that deal, bro.
That's
He
what he
had to
did.
do a lot for that fight,
Yeah,
bro.
true.
Like, and people don't understand, like, there's still mafia members getting pieces of kids' career
Talk
for
to
as long
'em.
as this sport will fucking be a sport, man.
Talk to 'em.
It's a dirty game.
Come on
People
now.
are getting points off of careers that you would never think, bro. The top of the top. Fucking Floyd Mayweather had somebody skimming off his career,
Come on
taking
now.
points off every fight he's ever been in, bro. Or else you get the other end of that contract, and that's lights out. So this is a dirty ass game, bro. Fucking deals are made behind closed doors, dude. So much shit is going on behind the scenes. I just try to fucking sit back and watch it all unfold. But now I'm talking shit on the internet daily. They gotta pay attention. It's just kind of crazy, bro. Boxing's getting nuts. Did you guys see Tank Davis's Twitter page is like turned off or something? I've never seen it do anything like that. I thought the rematches were fucking it.
Yeah,
And then Lamont.
they say he does that when he about to have a fight. He shut down his Twitter
Yeah.
and IG.
I thought he turned it on when he was about to have a fight.
Yeah, no, he'll talk trash at the beginning. My fault. I said that wrong. So when he's about to have a fight, he talks trash, and then once he's getting locked in the camp, they say he turned it off. So when he goes dark.
Because I was nervous. I even had a live stream this morning. I was like, damn, bro, if this dude fucking dodges the Lamont rematch and goes fights fucking Jake Paul in November, I'm done. I can't be a fan.
Thank you, D1. And see, that's why I be talking about. I talk about the boxing fans, bro. A lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us, whether you're a Tank fan, Shakur fan, we can all agree that we like boxing, man. I'm not going for no nonsense, bro. That's why I said, bro, he has to fight Roach, because the only reason for him not to fight Roach would be that he's worried about losing. That's not a good enough reason not to fight somebody for me. You know what I'm saying? So
Doc,
you got to run it back, bro.
But that's Tank's fault. He put himself in that position.
It's gonna always be Tank folk, bro. Hey, no matter what. No, real rap.
I'm just saying, no, it ain't that. It's facts. That's it. He put himself in that position. He picked Roach for them.
But it was a pivot, though. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was Loma first.
Any one of them guys.
Yeah, it was a pivot.
As tough as a fight as Shakur Stevenson, as tough as Devin Haney, as tough as any one of them.
So go back and say what you were about to say, Doc. You was just about to say it.
That it was a pivot for Lamont Roach. Yeah, the initial target was unification with Loma, and Loma hurt his back. You know what I'm saying? And then we see he retired now, and then he tried to get Rayo. That fell through, and then De Los Santos fell through, and then it was a Roach. Now I'm not saying not to be disappointed, because at the end of the day, regardless of Lamont Roach having multiple fights at above 130, which he has, regardless of him being a champion, he's still looked at as a cherry pick or whatever because he's bringing him up. So I get it. I'm not saying be excited for the matchup, but at the same time too, like I think D1 was saying, Lamont Roach is not a scrub. You know, I wouldn't put him on the same level as Tank. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't put him on the same level as Shakur. Don't get me wrong. But I think sometimes we need to draw the line with we need to be able to show discernment between a fight that we're not anticipating, we're not excited for, and a fight that's a bad fight. I don't think Lamont Roach was a bad fight. That's why I thought it was going to be a close fight in the first place. I didn't think it was going to be this close. I didn't think it was going to be a draw. Don't get me wrong, but I thought it was going to be a late stoppage, like 10th or 11th round, and be competitive throughout. You know what I'm saying? Because we know Lamont Roach.
What I'm saying that is it a fight that the people wanted?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. I agree with you. Yeah, no, I agree. But okay, but did the people want Naya Inoue versus Ramon Cardenas? Did the people want Naya Inoue versus Ji Joo Kim? Those are replacements, bro. Those are replacements.
Now it is.
See, this is where you're gonna lose him, Doc, because it's Tank, bro, and it's gonna always be Tank. He always gonna be the villain. But let me ask you this, Hosters. The fight that the people want, given the fact that we can now transition to those quote unquote fighters and those promoters that are giving us those fights, can you please name the fight since that was it? It ain't gonna be but a handful. I'll put it to you this way: how many fights have Shakur? Because we're measuring him against his contemporaries. Gave you that it was the fight that you wanted.
You talking about Shakur?
Good question.
You talking about fights in particular? Because say it again, because I'm driving. So
he said what fight in particular have we seen?
What fighters?
Yeah,
and what fighting promotions have given us the fights that people want? And I'm talking about and corresponding with fighters his contemporaries, Tank's contemporaries, the people that he should be fighting. Because the only fights that y'all really want to see is him with them. And it really don't matter about what fights they do. Really, it don't never get that same energy. So which are those fighters and which fights did they give you that you really wanted to see?
Now, time.
You skipping out. You skipping out.
Me giving an answer into a.
Yeah, you skipping out a bit.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. You good now? I'm about to say, boy, you conveniently skipping out now. Hold on, hold on.
I
You found out you ducking.
Into my lip.
No,
I'll mess with you, bro.
No, I'm saying, listen what I'm saying is that I can't answer.
Yo, you going through a bridge or something?
Man, God saving him, man.
You know it's both.
That's divine intervention, man. God saving him from embarrassing himself. Man.
Hey, yo, bro, let me get a break.
No, listen, you hear me?
Nah, it's very difficult to hear you though. It's skipping out.
It's like you're going through bad connection.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So you're on the net.
No, I'm stopping. Stop. You hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You hear me now?
Damn, we heard you and then you went out and now we hear you again. Like what is it? When Debo come, I'll be quiet.
No, I didn't say nothing. I
Okay.
I'm should have asked me that.
No, I'm waiting for you to answer.
We answering, fool. It's your phone. You can't get mad at
Okay, now listen. What I'm saying is no, I'm asking you.
Yeah, it's going in and out.
Hey, it might be a little truth to that divine information, but hey, Ty said he would like to answer.
So you can hear me now, Doc, right? You can hear me, Doc.
Yeah, we hear you and then it goes out and then we hear you again.
Could you hear me, Doc?
Yeah.
No, listen, what I'm saying is this. It's bullshit in black sense. So me answering that question, like, definitely you can, because every fight is some bullshit. And you got some fights that you see. That's a granted. Mm-hmm. But the point I'm making is that all fighters don't have the ability to fight. They fight. All fighters not like that. That's just certain fighters. And that's one of the ones that we talking about. We're not talking about people that got to send the contracts to the camps and get all the bullshit. We ain't talking about those fighters. We talking about superstar fighters, like you brought up Canelo, Mayweather, Tank.
I would agree with Mayweather, and I damn sure would agree with Canelo. I don't think Tank has gotten to that level yet, but I mean, I will put it to him because I want to see the fights too. Hell, I want him to fight these people. I want him to be proven that he's the overhyped job that everybody else.
I think Tank is at that level. Tank could pick his fight.
If you're not,
I think he might have more liberty than others, but I want to say that it's like I mean I already talked about it earlier today, so I don't want to sound like a broken record.
Exactly what I just said. He got more liberty, but they ain't by a landslide. The mother
exactly, Thomas. Exactly. Let me let Ty get in there. I heard Ty trying to answer something. Sorry, Ty. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, what's up, Ty? What's up, bro?
Oh yes, sir.
Still angry white man.
Ty in the building,
my God.
Man.
But to answer Thomas Hill's question, I don't need Tank to be out here and be Hercules. I don't need none of that. I ain't asked for nothing crazy. I'm being realistic. I understand some fighters is on other networks. Certain programs ain't opposed to, working with certain programs. I just want Tank to fight whoever is 2 through 7 ranked at 135. That's all I need. And I don't look at Lamont Roach as a cherry pick. I think I said this before on this platform.
You have. That's
Dude was a WBA champion at 130. It was his given right to move up and challenge Tank.
Yep.
He ain't pull him up. He had fights at 35. This ain't no scrub. This ain't no poo putt.
Right. Ain't no poo putt. It's a fact. But we said that. But that's the thing. I'm not mad. Like shout out to Oster. I'm not just saying Oster. I'm not just saying Oster, but anybody who feels like that. I'm not mad at anybody not being intrigued. Just like Skull and Canelo, right? If you're not intrigued by Skull, okay, we want Canelo versus Benavidez. I want Canelo versus Benavidez. But I don't think that we should equate that just by default. Oh, Canelo's not fighting Benavidez. Okay, so whoever he fights is trash. Tank's not fighting Shakur. Okay, whoever he fights is trash. But that's what they do. And I don't think that's, what I'm saying? To me, it just shows that your boxing, not even knowledge, but just your boxing awareness is very limited, bro. Like, sometimes we should acknowledge that too. If you don't know, every fight's not a bad fight because it's not two of the top guys, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
you don't know one of them.
Right, exactly. Yes, and a lack of familiarity is not synonymous with a fighter being bad. I'm just like, it's not, bro. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean they're bad, bro. It's crazy. No one knew Bivol. No one knew Bivol until he mollywopped Canelo. Did he suddenly become good, or was he always good and then now you just saw him? Come on, bro.
Exactly.
So we got to factor that in as well. Like I said, I'm not talking to Oster. I'm saying speaking in generalities, not towards anybody.
Yeah, not to you, Oster, at all.
In general, but you know what? In general, Doc. In general, when it comes to that, that's boxing. Like nobody knows all the boxing.
You're right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like Friday night fights. I mean, that's how I say it. So I don't be taking that shit personal.
No, I know you
nobody
don't,
know all the boxers. No. I mean, I'm just kidding it, right?
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? So when it come to that, some people, could have thought Lamont Roach was a cherry pick. Some people knew some history. That's why the shit is crazy like this. What I'm saying is I ain't even care about Lamont Roach at this point. We just care now. Because, you know, when you step in the ring with certain people, that popularity comes, you get part of that. You get part of that popularity. So that's what I was saying.
That's why I agree with that 1,000%. But I will say
so
this,
now
if
they
I
talk
can
about
add.
Lamont Roach like they was talking about him before. No, I'm talking about other people. You know how people just kick, like you just are making your points you just said.
Yeah,
they talk about Lamont Roach now like they was talking about Lamont Roach last year about all his other fights.
Right.
I get that. You know what I mean? So everybody acting like they knew about him now, so they trying to judge it.
But this is
not
the thing, though,
judging
to what you said, though. To what you said, and this is just my opinion alone, right? I think that it's fine not to know all the boxers. Boxers is not like a league, you know. It's not like a NBA or NFL where we have a schedule. We know who's going to fight on Tuesday, who's going to fight on next month. We don't know that. So I'm not expecting everybody knows every fighter in every division. However, if you're going to make a statement as bold as to say somebody's trash, I think it's your responsibility to be able to definitively support that. Right. You can't tell me an undefeated fighter who's simultaneously a champion like William Skull is trash simply because you don't know him. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem. It's not that you're responsible to know every fighter, but if you're gonna bestow a label as trash and bum and cherry pick, then I think it is your responsibility to know who Lamont Roach is and know that he's a champion and know that his last fight against Fago McCrory was on freaking Pro Box that you could have watched it because it was free. That's your fault. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that this dude is trash because you don't know him, but you have every opportunity to know him. You see what I'm saying? I think
and he was fighting for free.
And he was fighting for free.
For
free, bro. For free. There was no paywall. There was no, you know what I'm saying? There was nothing to stop you from watching that, bro. It was free on Pro Box. You could have at least seen one fight of Lamont Roach.
Lamont can fight. He just don't got the style that's, you know what I mean? He's not going to go get you and shit, so it's not exciting.
Come on now.
He just
don't stop him.
Come on now.
And that don't stop them from supporting and watching other people's fight, though, man. So, you know, it's attached to Tank. Unfortunately, that's what it was. So now, Lamont Roach at the first, he was gonna get the black flag treatment. But after that, man, they gave him the full carte blanche. Here goes the trash open. You know, we're gonna put some stuff on the floor for you and everything, man. We gonna have parades. Matter of fact, you got somebody in the chat right now because of Lamont Roach talking about hair grease. Jay Paul and his favorite fighter got a fight coming right around the corner, dog. He ain't saying out one thing about that, dog.
Shout out to Big Dog Willie, man. My guy.
Shout out my guy, Big Dog, right? Show you how to fan for Shakur like only a fan can, bro. Hey, my question is for Ty, though, bro, because he plugged in.
Yes, sir.
I thought, what was it not so that Canelo did send some type of offer or whatever to Benavidez and he turned it down, or was that fodder?
Offer. David Benavidez, his father, and Samson Lewickovich had a chance to, you know, as people say, you know, activate their mandatory at the WBC convention 2 times.
Yep.
He chose to go a different direction.
Yep. And I like Benavidez too, you know. But
yeah, me too. He's my second favorite fighter. But that's facts, bro.
That's facts.
It is what it is, bro.
So we don't give Benavidez that. And I know Ty's plugged in because, you know, he was absolutely right about that. What's her name? In association with Top Rank, Lou DiBella was the reason why that fight actually did come together. No doubt about that. Just the vehicle, the machine that is necessary was Top Rank because they got to have somebody that's going to fit that bill for TV time. And that's what he insert Top Rank in. And, you know, he wanted the belts. Right. And he figured, hell, man, we can get Loma. He always wanted Loma with the belts. This nigga was calling Loma the greatest thing over sliced bread and Muhammad Ali.
I like Loma, but gosh dang.
Can PBC announce this fight already? Niggas been signed.
I know, bro.
Yeah, we in the gym.
I don't know.
People been started. Can't. Taking Roach is a thing. Let's just go ahead and put the promo out there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, bro, but like
I don't know
it
what
was
it is.
scared this morning, bro. Real shit. I thought the fight was canceled. Tank talking around with his Twitter page, the tweets from yesterday about the fucking court shit. They ain't letting me do nothing. No shit's up. I was fucking panicking, bro.
Well, I know it wasn't
I'm
because
just glad I
said
didn't
he
buy
purchased his tickets.
Yeah, no, you know I be buying tickets fast too. I lost 500 trying to get out. Tank Roach
L-Dub don't usually be wrong about fights, and he said he got his tickets already. So I knew.
Oh, where?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Who said they got their ticket already?
Solid card.
L-Dub, he said he got his tickets already. So I don't know.
And you said D1, you said you lost some money when you trying to
I
get
was
some
trying
for
to
Houston.
get out in front of the Houston shit. I was trying to get out in front of the Houston shit.
Damn.
Reservation.
Let me correct it. Maybe he said that he's putting up his money for his tickets. I don't know, but he said that the ticket, that the fight
That would have probably media credentials. You know what I mean? So he would get his ticket first.
Damn, man. Shout out to D1. And see, that's the problem I have right there. Is like, you know, when people do go out their way to, you know, what's it called? Reserve some hotels or book their whatever it is, Airbnb, or make travel accommodations. And this is kind of putting people out, you know, but yeah.
It's a lot, bro.
Yeah, it's
a lot. I'm
25.
But I got
know exactly what you talking about with the Houston thing. Because I was trying to go there. Megan Stallion was not trying to move her date.
Who was that for? For what fight?
Tanking Roach.
Yeah, Tanking Roach.
And I ended up popping out in New York City.
Oh, there's a lot of people who blame him for that, dog. I didn't know. Meg Thee Stallion been wrecking brothers' career like a mug, dude.
Yeah, no.
That's crazy.
Bag was swinging.
Man, one time in toilet, that's crazy. Hey, this man Thomas, bro.
Boy, about to get out.
You about to get out?
I thought so. I thought I heard some shit about that.
No, man, you can't be shooting.
That man can stay quiet. He should have been stiff like a mug.
Y'all think he shot?
Yo, is my shit fucking up? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, sometimes it goes in and sometimes it goes a little low, but nah, we hear you.
This motherfucking phone sucks, bro.
Nah, it don't suck that much. Go on and talk, baby boy. We got you.
Yo.
Yep.
Oh, now you got that echo. We hear you loud and clear.
Hold up. Let me take my. Give me a few seconds, fellas.
Nah, do your thing. But yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Oster. Besides, what fight would you want to see Shakur after Zepeda if he wins? Just curious.
Tank.
Besides Tank, sorry. So outside of Tank, for Tank too, like me, I like to think about other fights. So outside of Tank and Shakur, who would you want to see Shakur fight?
Let me see. Be a good fight for Shakur. I would want to see Shakur fight. I can't say need to fight him. Hold on, I'm checking this stuff out.
Because I'd be cool with Murataya.
No.
I would love to see Murataya too, and I would love for him to stick it to Bob because of that too, bro.
Yeah,
because you can
exactly that part right there. It's a top rank connection. That part right there. I would
because because
somebody was.
No, go ahead, Austin. Go ahead.
What you say?
No, you was about to answer. Go ahead.
No, I didn't. That was somebody else talking. I'm checking this stuff out at the store real quick.
Oh no, do you think?
I said Shakur got to focus, dog. Shakur better focus on Zepeda because he's easy task. I hear everybody talking about how he's gonna tend to easily beat Zepeda. Y'all got him fucked up. Like real talk, he's gonna have to fight. I think Shakur is one of the best boxers on planet Earth. There's really no debating it. But I just don't know if he can fight like that. Now he's going to show us he's either going to run from it or run to it. We're about to find out. And if he beats Zepeda up, like y'all say he will, he's got to go and he's got to be up to top 5 pound for pound.
I'm telling you got to be up there for sure.
For me, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely, if he beats Zepeda, I definitely, because right now sometimes it depends on what day you ask me. Sometimes I have him like 9 or 10. Sometimes I have him just outside of it. But I'll put him in like, if he beats Zepeda, I think I'll put him in like 10-9 for sure. 9 or 10 for sure.
He's my number 8. He's my number 8 pound for pound because he purely off boxing. There's not too many guys that could go in a 12-round boxing match and outbox Shakur. He knows distance. He knows this fucking game. Got great feet, fast hands. The kid can box.
Absolutely.
I got questions about the fighting part.
Yeah, I like to see that anticipated, man. I love it. I love that.
This July 12th, this should answer so much questions. And if he handles Zepeda the way he should, catch him in between shots, knock him out, because he's chinny, bro. Zepeda chinny as shit. I've seen him like he's chinny though. So Shakur stop him, bro. There's no question the Tank fight.
If he stops him, oh boy.
Yeah.
If he
Tank
stops
fight,
him, bro. You said
now it gets made. Now it's on. But yeah, he could lose.
Man, Shakur about to do the dirty dance with Zepeda.
Yeah, I think he has a, I mean, not to sound too general here, but I think he has a good chance to go either way. Like I think Shakur is gonna beat him, of course, but I think it's a very good fight, man. But I do think Shakur could make it look easy too, potentially, but it could be rough too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like I really see it going like in so many different scenarios. Let me hit the chat real quick. Mr. Grandy says Jack Catterall is a patient boxer, but sometimes way too patient. I agree with that. He almost gets complacent in the ring to the point that he can be boring at times. I think he just bores his opponents into making mistakes. I like Jack Catterall. He's never really boring to me, but I do think that he's too like you say, he's just not active enough to where fights are closer than it has to be. I like Jack Catterall. I thought he should have beat Barbosa beat him. I thought he was going to beat Barbosa going in. I had Jack Catterall beating Barbosa going in. I was really surprised by it just seemed like a lack of effort. Like he does that sometimes, so I agree with you.
Mundane fighter.
Well, Barbosa fought his fight too, bro. I think Tio got him out of his head, bro. That's what I think about that fight. But I think Barbosa just a very good boxer, and he fought his fight that fight. And like you said, the stuff with Catterall applies.
Yeah, man.
Yo, fellas, I got a split, man. Thanks for having me, Doc. I appreciate y'all.
Already.
So the next time I'll hit the link more.
Figuring out the Discord, baby boy. It was good to have you up here.
Yes, sir, for sure, man. More often, man. I appreciate you for taking the time to figure it out. Yes, sir.
All right, fellas. Be good and safe, man.
Yes, sir, man. God bless, bro.
But yeah, this is my problem with it. If they can't, for me, if Tank at the Roach, if that goes like I believe it's gonna go, I want nothing more than Shakur. For Shakur, if that Zepeda fight goes like I believe it's gonna go, because I think he about to do him dirty. I want nothing but Tank Davis. That's the fight I would like most. But if not, I would love for Shakur to stick it to Bob, because Bob tried to stick it to his. The only champion he truly wanted to ever have all the belts was Loma. That nigga was campaigning for Loma to get all those belts.
Yep.
He had a star in the making when he had Shakur at 30, and he did not want him to get Valdez's belt.
Yep.
He was vehemently against it. Why?
Yep.
Why? I mean, this Mickey Freaky is a
fraud. You know why. Mm-hmm.
So I want him to stick it for that, for him not doing right by him when he was his fighter. I would love for him to petition to unify that fight.
Yep. Yeah, so like for Shakur, that's what because of everything you just said for Murataya, that's why I want that. I don't think it'll happen, but that's what I want. And then for Tank, I think Tank has a lot of options, man. I like if he could get T.O., I would love that. If he could get, just with him going with Turk, if he could get with Turk, then I think that a lot of fights are opened up. I would like to see him versus T.O. Or him versus Murataya, or him versus even Kid Austin. I'll be cool with, with him being in the mandatory position. He's not the mandatory, but he's number one. You know what I'm saying? That mandatory position for WBA, I'll be cool with that as well. But there's a lot of options, man. Oh, so were you ready to say something, bro? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here now. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm back in the car.
You good, bro? I'm about to slide soon.
Yeah, I would like him to fuck. I like Shakur to fight Frank Martin.
Hey,
because Martin.
Hey.
I like him to fight Frank Martin.
So you think he would go to 140 or?
I think Shakur should be. I think Shakur should be at 140 now. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think.
I think he should be at 140. I think he'll get better fights at 140.
I agree with that.
Because people won't. People, you know, at 140 try to act like they don't respect his game. Don't respect the power, none of that. I think everybody be trying to fight him. 140 because he a good name. But I would say only reason I would say Andy Cruz, but only reason I ain't gonna say that because he just got in his little. You know what I mean, he ain't gonna get no props.
Yeah,
kicking his ass.
Yeah, he wouldn't get no love for that. I mean, he should because Andy Cruz is good, but yeah, he would. He would because I think Andy Cruz what 5-0. He only has 5 fights, so they're gonna say, yeah, they wouldn't give him no love for that.
He would no love for that. They're a dog for that.
That'd be a good fight though.
It didn't matter for long.
They going dog him when he lose.
What would you say? What you say, Ty?
They going dog him when he lose.
Ooh, you got Andy Cruz over Shakur? Talk to him.
And this is me giving my honest opinion and my biased opinion.
Hey. Oh boy, say you got Andy Cruz over Shakur. How you feel about that, Mr. Grandy? Andy Cruz over Shakur, man. You heard him? Ooh,
name a Cuban he beat. Oh wait.
Hey. What'd you say? Name people Shakur beat? That's crazy.
I said no, name a Cuban he beat.
Oh, name a Cuban.
Wait.
Oh.
That's really why Herrera talking the way too.
Ooh. Yeah, he said that.
What do you say?
He said name a Cuban that Shakur beat. He ain't never beat no Cuban fighter. That's why Javier Herrera talking how he talking, because he Cuban too. They said Shakur gonna struggle. Yeah, you kind of skipping in and out, Ty. That's why I've been missing what you're saying sometimes. Kind of skip it out.
That's one of those nasty Mickey facts. It's a fact, but it's kind of Mickey.
Right.
His whole boxing career, he's never beat a Cuban unless it was in the gym.
Because even Robisi Cuban too, ain't it?
Robisi the one that beat him.
Oh Lord!
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Oh Lord!
Did you say Mickey Facts? Are you talking about the battle rapper?
Hey, Mickey Facts.
No, I'm saying it's Mickey because it's like one of those things. It's like it's not really legitimate, but it's true.
Right.
Oh, got you. Okay, for sure.
Oh Lord! Don't tell me, my boy Robisi. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Don't do Shakur like that.
Don't win the fights.
Hey.
I don't like it, but it's true.
Hey. Javier Herrera said
you talking about dragging somebody in a gutter, boy. I don't know how Shakur. Yeah, you talking about dragging a motherfucker in a gutter.
Let me ask you this though, Oster, because I'm gonna go back to what he was saying about, because you remember there was a history between Cruz and Keyshawn, and Keyshawn did not want to really entertain it. And you look at all that energy, that tough energy, he didn't really have that when Cruz got that fight, won, and then went up there to try to dap him up, and he had that look on his face, and then he went to go dap up. What's her name? He didn't have that energy that he be having with all these other ones. He be trying to big boy or son up.
That's because he knew it was up. If he'd have acted like that, like how he acted with my boy from Sicklerville, he knew what would have happened. And he not in the back room with no poop ups.
He got that pressure with him. That pressure. That's tough.
Yeah. They be knowing what's up.
And he want to know Wu Albright, huh?
Whoa.
Hey, y'all crazy, man.
When they be getting pressed, you be a different story when they be getting pressed. When they be in those little press conferences and motherfucker press up on them.
Yeah.
And their whole tone changed. Yeah.
For sure, that was the case with Frank. My bad, Ty.
You right on time with it.
That was the case with Frank. Facts. Frank cut the interview short to pull up on Keyshawn. He said, who that is right there? Oh, that's Keyshawn. Hold on, Keyshawn.
And just the difference of look between Keyshawn's look and Frank Martin's look, man. One looked serious, one looked like, we just joking.
Yeah, facts. I agree. And he tried to switch it up once he realized the camera's recorded and stuff like that. He's like, let me get bucked out.
Yeah, Keyshawn. Keyshawn got that little tick. You know that nigga. You know he half-ass crazy, so he got that little tick. You know. So he might be laughing. He be laughing and shit. Don't know what's supposed to be crazy.
Oh, man, y'all crazy, bro. But Shaq, I'm finna go ahead and call it, man.
Person,
go ahead, Ty.
Keyshawn is
Hey, let
not
me
like
ask you a
that.
question. Let me ask you a question, Doc.
Yo.
How you feel about the answer? How you feel about the answer Shakur said after Schofield knocked
Tim Farmer.
7 out? Yeah.
What you talking about? When he was like, oh, that win didn't really mean nothing. You talking about that when you kind of downplayed it?
Nah, he said, man, Farmer know better to go in there with these kids. You know, these kids got a bunch of energy, man. You're supposed to wait them out. You go in there with them.
He knew he was gonna come out hot. Yeah. He said that after he said that
people,
you don't really get too much
yeah,
credit.
but people hated on. I don't know why they hated on that comment. That was a cool comment to me. He didn't knock him off. He just said, "Yo, Farmer." He basically said Farmer was an asshole coming out there with that boy. Like, you know, that boy throw bomb.
Yeah, but I think people didn't. If he would have said that first, I don't think that's an issue. But he said that after he said the one. Yeah, he said first. He said, "Oh, that win don't mean nothing." You know, he just got him out the water. He said something. I have to go pull it up and look. And then he followed up with what you just said, that you know Tevin Farmer should have waited him out. He knew he was gonna come out with energy. I thought that was a good assessment. You know, what I'm saying, being a veteran, yeah, Tevin Farmer, I think approached it wrong. But the first part I didn't like. You know, I think that was a good win. You know, but like I said, I'm not mad at Shakur because of the history with Kid Austin. You know, doing what he did. So I'm not too mad at it.
Yeah,
but you know.
Yo, do you know, Doc? Do you know that Farmer talked in an interview for 2 minutes and he got knocked out in 2 minutes and a half? He didn't even fight champion. That's when you talk about right there, check your ass can't cash. That's why I be telling you motherfuckers, y'all be capping. Y'all keep it up.
Hey, the face off was longer than the fight. Also,
that's wild, bro.
The whole face off. Just him talking. That's what he was talking to them one time when he talked to both. Remember when he called the father over because Farmer was just over there running him out.
Hey,
I said this nigga talked for 2 minutes and got knocked out in a minute and a half. That's crazy.
Y'all wrong.
I'm glad you said that because before you slide, especially with you and Ty up here, man, I wanted to say that, man. You know, it's nothing wrong with what he said, but it's just the way he framed it. He said something foul before he said what was true.
Right.
He also gave that same advisement to Abdullah Mason. And it shows you why that fight was a payday. Not gonna go the way many people think it possibly can go. But I'm gonna say this, bro, with regards to this, and especially to with Ty being up here too, because he's a boxer. That show that fight with Farmer and Kid shows what happens when you don't respect the opponent or the ring, man. And I think that's what happened. He got dealt with when you do that, and he's just not as special as he think he is, where he can kind of get by with that type of stuff.
Right. That's a good point.
Hey Doc.
Yes, sir.
Hey Doc, you know how you used to play the video games, right? You know, you play Madden and shit. You say it's a Madden guard when you do dumb shit like go 4 for 20. You know what I mean? A Madden guard. I'm gonna get a pick 6 right now. So that's what I say. It be shit like that. And when Farmer was talking, and I'm like, yo, this dude, I don't think Doc. I'm not Ty. I don't box. But do you think he did at least one push-up for this fight? I don't think he did nothing. I really think he was just chilling. I don't think he did a push-up. I mean this shit, man.
No, I think Farmer was prepared, man. I just think, hey, he ain't know it was that hot, man. Sometimes that thing hot. You know, somebody ain't know that thing was hot. Yo, you gotta remember, man. Kid Austin had pent up energy from the hospital bed from months ago, man. He couldn't wait.
Do a push-up.
You couldn't wait.
Nigga, I'm talking about from kidnapping, trafficking, from Rico, from all the it that happened to him because of Shakur, dog. He had to let that stuff out.
Everything. That was just a whole bunch of pent up energy. Poor
hospital fees.
Facts. Hospital fees. Gosh dang, sabotaging of the passport. Everything, man.
I'm just telling you, he brought all that shit out. You get that chick. You know, you get that chick, Doc, and you finally get her up in the hotel. You be like, bitch, I've been stressed all day. You about to get all this.
I'm gonna wear that thing out. I'm gonna wear that thing out. Yes, sir. Well, fellas, man, I'm gonna go ahead and slide, man. I appreciate y'all rocking for real, man.
Hey, man, shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Bodega Ty, my main man.
One thing, Doc, real quick. Sorry, real quick before you hang up. That on the thing, that member, the member chat. The 5 membership. So if I buy 5 membership, I can send it to 5 of my peoples. That's what that is.
Yeah, that's what it is. But it goes randomly. Yeah. You can't select.
Oh, it go randomly.
Yeah. Some whole shit. Yeah.
So we could get some assholes in there, right? Now we ain't doing that.
Yeah, it goes. But it usually goes to like. I don't know this for sure. But what I noticed, the people get gifted are like people that are like recurring that frequent the stream. You know.
recurring in the chat, recurrent chatters and stuff. I never really see
Yeah,
anybody
is that one of your features?
definitely picks the people that are recurring,
right?
But it picks them
random,
randomly.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, it's random. Okay,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's not your feature. That's a feature that come with it.
Yeah, that's that's you too. That's not me. I wish I could make it so you can pick. I don't know why they don't.
Yeah,
you should be able to pick. I think that's crazy because I think more people be.
That's what I thought. That's why I said
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know why.
That's what I thought before I bought it.
Yeah, I
was gonna buy that shit.
Yeah, man. I
Yeah, and I was
appreciate
like,
it, bro, but yeah, it goes random, man. It
Exactly.
still helps the channel, but it goes to random people. You can't pick. At least not to my
knowledge. We might get 5 psychos, man.
Yeah, on Twitch you could pick. That's why I like that. On Twitch you could pick who you want to give to. But
okay.
Yeah, Twitch you could do a whole lot more than you can do on this bad boy, and you don't get copyright at all, dog. Don't make you figures don't care. Twitch is about that bread. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
That what you call it? That bread, that cheese, that butter.
These biscuits, yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. But go ahead and give us a closing statement, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I'm gonna go right in order. Go ahead, Thomas, and then Oster, then Ty.
Hey man, for sure. Shout out to my man, Dr. P. Shout out to the Doctor of Boxing Talk. Shout out to the platform. Shout out to the chat, man. All the people that come in here and debate, man. You know, it's all about trying to find reasoning in the things that we find in common. So with that, man, I appreciate the chat. I definitely appreciate the panel, man. I love every single brother up here, man. Shout out to the angry white man for finding out how to make the damn Discord. Hey. Shout out to my man, Bodega Ty, for being straight fact simulator and knowing the plugs and stuff like that. Shout out my man Oster for being the fine gentleman that he is, and shout out to the doc that's about to hit the muscle ups, and I'm out.
I appreciate it, bro. Shout out to Thomas, man. Mr. Thomas Hill, that's my guy right there, man. Good dude, good brother, man. Articulate, intelligent, and just overall dope, man. Shout out to my guy Oster, man. Talk to me, bro. Don't tell me about no Terrence Crawford. Don't tell me about no Terrence Crawford shit.
Regular. I got to keep that in the universe. You understand what I mean?
Lord.
Got to keep that in universe, but I think everything will be a good fight, and I love this channel because we kick it. You know, we kick it and we agree to disagree.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And we live with our points. You know what I mean? We ain't no followers. If you feel one way, you feel that way. You still got love. You know what I mean? As long as you come with content, you know what I mean? Just don't come talking. No, you got to come. You know, got to have clarity. Whatever you say, and that's what we care about. That's it. So it's one of the best channels. Well, it is the best channel.
Man, thank you, brother.
My first channel is my first channel that I'm on. And I'm still on this motherfucker. You hear me? No homo, but
thank you, brother.
It's a good channel, Doctor. You did a good thing. You did a good job, man. Yes, but sir, you know, just for the real closing statement, Crawford in 8.5.
Hey, that was a fake closing statement, chat. The real one was at the end. He's trying to butter me up real quick. Hey, man, it's a great channel, man. But I appreciate it, bro. Thank you for the kind words, man. Also, check out my boy Oster too, man. You know what I'm saying? OG Oster in the building. He has his channel as well, man. Dope content. And join the Discord if you haven't. He puts a lot of his stuff in the Discord as well in the recommendations. So go check it out, man. And shout out to my guy Oster, man. Appreciate the love. And like I said, all the dope perspectives. Like I said, we ain't got to agree, but like I said, my boy be coming at it from a logical standpoint, and that's what we just talk about. We discuss, you know what I'm saying? So I do have the pleasure of having if I do have the best channel, which I appreciate that, I have the best people to have a channel with, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, man. Like I said, a bunch of logical, dope, intelligent, articulate brothers, man. So y'all keep me on my toes and keep me make me better as well. So thank you. Talk to me, Ty.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to all the brothers that came up today. You know, I had to get the gaps off. Y'all come up here, y'all gotta pick a struggle, man. I see nobody wanted that $50.
You feel me? They ain't want that bread. About the challenge you made about Devin Haney, right? Devin Haney and Shakur, I think it was.
It was just a name somebody other than Bud or B-Ball that fought a 3-belt unified champion or a undisputed champion and received more than 22%.
They received more than 22%. Ramon Cardenas had us.
Nope.
Nah, I'm messing around. You know, he got pennies. Well, pennies relative to
that boy ain't even getting 20%.
Facts. Yes, sir. Free Diddy. Look at Mr. Grandy. Crazy. Yes, sir.
And my prediction.
Yes, sir.
when my boy Scooter beats Oshaki Foster. Scorecards, the final scorecards will read 8-4, 8-4, 7-5.
Sheesh. 116, 112, 116, 112, 115, 113 in favor of Scooter? Or sorry. Cool Boy? No, it is Scooter. Yeah, you switched. You went from Cool Boy back to Scooter. Yeah, Scooter. I was right the first time.
He always been Scooter since a jet.
Yeah, always been Scooter, but then Cool Boy, then you went back. Yeah, my fault. He said you dropped the Cool Boy. So you got Scooter. What'd you say? 8-4, 8-4, 7-5?
7-5.
116, 112 two times, and then 115, 113. Ooh. That's a solid win right there. That's a
I got one more prediction.
Go ahead, bro.
I got one more prediction. Berlanga losing.
Hey, bro, chill out. See, now I might have to kick you out, bro. You all.
Berlanga 5th round knockout.
Talk to him. Big Berlanga coming in there, dodging all the hams of Shiraz's punches just like this.
Yo, Ty, we betting one like, Ty.
All right. Shiraz, Turkey gonna be crying. His uncle gonna be crying. His dad gonna be crying.
Talk to him.
They gonna lock Berlanga ass up.
Hey, yo, did you see your man? Hey, Ty, did you see your man shooting the man? Did you see your man shooting the man in the press conference? What's wrong with Berlanga, man? Why you keep doing that?
Bro,
Why you shooting that?
Bro, Berlanga
What is wrong with you? Hey, Doc, I gotta give it to you. The nigga is a clown. I like him because he's a funny.
That's what I'm telling you, bro. I don't know how people don't like Berlanga, bro. I don't, bro. If you like to laugh, you can't be mad at Berlanga, bro. If you like to laugh, bro, you gotta like Berlanga, bro.
I've seen it. The scary part is like,
bro, I don't even, and he's not even doing it to be funny. It's just him, bro. He really think he doing something, bro. That's the crazy part. I don't think he's trying to be funny. That's the crazy part, bro. I just think, bro.
I think he's a nut.
He's a nut, bro. He's a nut. Go ahead, Ty. What'd you say, Ty? Sorry.
So, Oster, he wasn't rocking with the pop.
Nah, hell no. I'm sitting there like, yo, if your motherfucker put his hand in my head like that, I'm like, yo, you better stop, man. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you?
Bro, he let out. First, he hit Shiraz with the Smith & Wesson. Then he hit Edgar Eddie Hearn with the gosh dang 100-round drum.
Hey, Doc, and then he talked to him, stood up, walked away, and turned around and did it again.
Yes,
like, yo, this nigga's crazy.
Bro, that was, bro, when I saw that live, bro, that was a highlight. That was a highlight of the press conference, bro. Berlanga's funny.
I knew you was there. I said, Doc is laughing like a motherfucker
bro,
for that.
Yes, bro. I was crying, bro.
Y'all ain't got no switches over there in Riyadh.
You feel me? Yeah. You feel me?
Yo, he ain't throw no jab, no uppercut. You know, they put their hands up like, what I'm gonna do? You how everybody throw their This nigga put out the gat.
He put out the gat.
You gotta search him before you fight. You might get hit. You might pull the gat out.
The handgun and the AR, bro. Everything, bro.
I'm telling you.
My prediction, I got Shiraz by either stoppage or UD. Berlanga is a C-level fighter. I don't think Berlanga is I would say he's a C-level, but I don't think Shiraz is much, to be honest with you. But I'll say B for Berlanga. It depends. But yeah, I definitely don't. I'm not picking Berlanga because, like I said, I like him. I'm not confused by his skills. I'm not picking him because he's just some beast. But I just think that he's better than Shiraz. Yeah, I just think he's better than Shiraz.
He said you ain't confused now.
Yeah, I ain't confused now. Don't get it twisted. You know, Shiraz's best wins are what? Tyler Denny, and no disrespect to Emma Williams, those are his best wins. You know, shout out to them. And then yeah. Berlanga, at least he's been in there with Canelo. You know, no, it's not a win, but
you know, there you go. That's what he said. There you go.
Yeah,
that's why you know he's gonna lose. Counting the loss.
I'm telling you. No, but I mean, but he does. He did beat McCrory, so we'll see, man. Hopefully he's locked in, man. But yeah, I'm not mad at anybody picking Shiraz. I think Shiraz is the better boxer for sure. But I think Berlanga is good.
I never understood somebody recommending a loss. I never understood that, man. I wouldn't even speak about this shit.
I feel you on that. But I just think it's just like, you know, just experience. You know, at least he ain't going there and get smoked like everybody thought he would. He lost though, for sure. But I don't think he
none of that matters. Because when Berlanga knock out Shiraz, he can never walk in the store and say, yo, I'll let me get the bacon, egg, and cheese turkey.
Yo, I'm getting off, bro. Shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all rocking, man. Time crazy, bro. You be easy, man. God bless y'all. I should be off for the late show. We got stuff to talk about, but if not, then I probably couldn't find nothing.
Peace out, player.
Yes, sir, man. God bless y'all. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all rocking as always. Shout out to Cannabis Education Entertainment TV. Says salute, fam. Salutations to you too, brother. Oscar Perez said, I want $50. Give me $50. I want $50. Shoot, hey, I can't even say I want $50. My boy Oscar hooked me up with that big 50 already, man. Shout out to my brother Oscar, man. You know what I'm saying? Big love, man. Shout out to all the love I get, man. Shout out to all those wonderful dope brothers in there. Oscar didn't pull up today. Oscar pulled up today. Yep. Oscar pulled up today. Dope brother. Kendrick, dope brother. D1, dope brother. It was his inaugural pull up too. You know what I'm saying? His inaugural dialogue on the channel. You know, so shout out to Mr. Thomas. You know, Thomas Hill pulled up, dope brother. Oster, dope brother, pulled up. Kendrick, dope brother. Bodega Ty, dope brother, man. Shout out to all the dope homies I got that pulled up on the channel. Let's run through this. Shout out to all the members as well, man. Big up to the members. Shout out to Oscar for dropping the $10 on the chat. Ty for the $10 on the chat. Oscar for the $5 on the chat, man. Y'all went crazy. Clone for the $10 on the chat. Ty with the $5 more on the chat. Man, can you imagine? Well, we a small channel. Imagine when we grow. How much love we gonna get in the chat, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ty for the $5. Oscar for the $2. Oscar for the $5. Big Dog Willie for the $5. You know what I'm saying? And we got Clone for the $10 in the Cash App and Clone for the $10 more in the Cash App, man. I got a lot of love for our channel being small. Imagine when we grow. If I have 100 Ties and Oscars and Clones and Big Dog Willies and gosh dang, man, Osters and man, shit. Shout out to Oster for the $5. Man, boy, we be going and growing, man. Shout out to y'all, man. We really do this full time. So we trying to get there, though. We gonna get there, though. Good Lord willing, man. Y'all be easy. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to smack that like button. If you haven't done so already, shame on you. Smack that like button. What the heck? What the heck? Oh, shoot. I clicked the wrong thing. Smack that like button and that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you haven't done so, shame on you. But most importantly, remember with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.